Understand who you are, because if you think you are who you think you are, then you got the liability. You know, so you have to understand who you are. And that's the first thing. So we have some versions, yeah.
Yeah, I took the long way around. I started in '83 with the IRS, and I didn't file till '93. I hired a guy that was a previous IRS attorney. And I told him, you know, what I wanted. I argued
IRS
about,
attorney.
Yeah. so he convinced me to file returns, which I did for '93 and '94, and I haven't filed since. But I've been uncollectible, and every time they write me, I turn around, write him back, and I said, "There's a mistake. There's some mistake here because I didn't receive any taxable income, and whoever told you that, you need to get hold of them because there's a mistake." So it's just been continuing on.
Here's the thing. Now, Boris brought something to the forefront on that Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Now, you aren't in Washington, D.C., but that name resides in Washington, D.C. with the numbers. So you have to understand now, even though you can walk out of that courtroom, you got to watch, because they can go into those accounts and take whatever they want, because who's the name belong to?
Here's
It's them, exactly. It's their property.
Exactly. But here's what they're doing. They seize your person and property under a state of emergency and international law.
We better turn the camera on.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Well, there's more guys coming. So
Mine's already running. We'll go over it. So the statute, your statutes, your codes, all your Supreme Court cases, all your case laws, crap. Either you know international law or you're screwed. In and where we are in Pinellas, they did the foreign trade zone. Used to just be around the post office near the airport. It has since expanded to include the courthouse and the jail. That's an international zone. If you don't know international law, you're dead. This is why we came in the way we did, because the birth certificate is actually a simple treaty of protection. The only thing we haven't done is ratified it and endorsed it and give it back.
Give Caesar what is Caesar.
Right. And this is this. I talked to the Indian nations, and I told them the same thing. Y'all wouldn't have been screwed. You all wouldn't have gotten screwed out of anything, or felt like you got screwed, if y'all took the treaty you all signed in Washington back to your tribe for endorsement or ratification, then you flip it over and you make it payable back to them, and you go redeposit it with them.
It's the code.
That would have bound the treaty, and they would have been subject to then the United States would have been subject to the treaty.
They had to fulfill
But
their
they
contract.
didn't do that because the Indians didn't know who they were dealing with.
They gave the
They're
tickets for
still
the
holding
code,
on
but
to
they
the
didn't come and
original
get the
bonds
code.
and the original treaties, and the only thing I can say to them is, why are you holding on to uncashed checks?
So they could still do it today.
They can still do it today. But
Sure.
the problem is,
They're all
the only
factions.
problem is you got the Cherokee Nation, who I've been talking to, and they have 16 different factions. So they're splintered within, which means they're screwed without.
Right. So they need to come together.
So they need to come
Oh,
together.
so
And I've been
divided,
I
we
talked
fall.
with them, and that's the final thing I've ever said. Final thing I said to them was, until you all get it together within, y'all are screwed without, because y'all got to come together as one people before you can
Sure.
rejoin with. Rejoin.
Well, because that's how it was
whatever.
written.
Right.
What was written is
They could have done that in the '70s when they took Alcatraz.
They could have done everything.
Yeah.
They could have done it right at the beginning. So what we've done with the birth certificate is what we've come to understand is they register and record an estate, which is just property, interest in property, or interest in the land. You're the inhabitant's land. And then they convert, and then they give you a business trust to interface with the public
which
trust.
is your name.
Which is, the all capital letter name.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a business,
all capital.
it's a
Which is
trust.
the vessel you're riding.
It's
in
an
this-
actual
on
trust.
a sea of
And
commerce.
when you go through the IRS process of getting an SS4 for the name, and you use the Social Security number as the responsible party, they will give you an EIN number, tax exempt based on that name. And then from there you do all your businesses. You also have to go and claim your minor accounts, which I believe are done up at the state level, the registrar. To do that, we've got this right off Treasury Direct. I talked with them, they verified it. You go and open up a Treasury Direct account using any old checking account, but it has to be tied to a Social Security number. That'll establish your primary account. And the reason you do that under the individual is because an entity can't do it. And if you're an individual, you can take your sons and your daughters and even your nieces and nephews and other people who haven't claimed theirs, and you can make minor accounts and get custodianship over their accounts.
Till they
till they become not minor. Minor is just someone who hasn't claimed their securities, by the way.
Should this account you set up be one of your current accounts, or should you
I
set up a
use
brand new
I use the
account?
only account I had, which was my simple checking account.
Yeah, but should it be separate? I mean, if you
I
use
would
that every
recommend
day-
I would
Non-interest
recommend that you do
bearing.
it separate.
Yeah, that's
As long as you do non-interest bearing, so FDIC can't come in and fuck with it.
Oh, because it has to be
You want to keep it
okay.
out. You want to keep it out of the insurance system.
Mhm.
So
Everything is insurance.
So if you keep it out of the insurance
So if the
system,
FDIC,
Now-
if it's federally FDIC, then they have
right,
capabilities
you
to access
just,
it.
They have
yeah, I just
jurisdiction
have mine with
over it.
Bank of
Okay.
America. Use a simple checking account.
Something that's not tied to a business account.
Yeah, there's something that's not tied to business.
And non-interest bearing.
Yeah. So what I did, and then you go in and open it up. Then what you do is you contact public debt. You go on 1048. And 1048 is lost, stolen, or destroyed bonds. And this is straight out of their mouth. They don't expect us to know everything about these securities. All you need is a date range, your name, all variations of it, and then first, middle, last, first, middle, initial, last, first, last, whatever you want to do. The complete social security number and addresses that you resided at. So what I did is I talked to him. I said, so I can use from the birth year to now. He said, yeah, just put down your date of birth until now. We'll just search the whole record.
Are you guys understand what we're going back and getting, like we're claiming here?
You're claiming all right. The purpose,
So we need to. I don't know where
Right.
everybody's at, but
the way the Banking Act is set up is if
Go
you
back
go
1864
Banking Act. What the Civil War was doing is you had the English and the capitalists, wealthy English capitalists, they called them in the books.
Right.
They were coming in, they were buying up the natural resources, shipping it out to foreign lands, making the shit, coming back, selling it to the people. They were using only IOUs to do it, and they were thus the money wasn't going into the treasury, it was going into their pockets. So it was undermining the whole fucking system.
Sure.
The whole bank,
Sure.
the whole economy is being abolished. The manufacturing business up north was being denied the natural resources from the South because the South was doing it all. Lincoln used slavery as a pretext because that was slavery.
Right.
The slavery was not the binding of the man there, it was the slavery by the bankers doing what they were doing, enslaving the nation.
Right.
So what he did is he created an Emancipation Proclamation, which freed everybody, by the way, as long as you agreed to certain terms. And the terms was, the United States government will buy everything you do
they were the
with your
clearinghouse.
life.
They were the
Whatever you're going to do, they've already purchased. That's the purpose behind the registration of the birth. It wasn't to enslave you. It was to register the purchase of their property, the estate,
Which is you.
which is your interest.
It just
Which
gives
you
control
do,
over
not
everything
you.
you do.
It's interest. It's a usufruct in you. If
Right.
you are the
Will you-
subject of the
Will you
usufruct.
explain the usufruct?
A usufruct is this is one solid ownership of land. The usufruct
is what produced.
gets what's left after the naked owner uses what he
We
has.
are their tax. We're their tax. They have to take care of us
Basically what
first
it is.
before they get the profit.
Yeah.
And if we say we're that property of the United
Then you
States,
become the usufruct of the bankers.
Right.
So what it is right now, your accounts are naturally set up to be where you're usufruct. And it all goes along with the Greek and Roman myths. You have the Egyptian times, you had the scales,
Right.
you know, with the weight of a feather
Yep.
in a man's heart, and you had the Anubises, the lawyers, and then you had the wolf, and then you had the judge, and then leading in one of the sinners. Same thing going on today, only now it's they use the goddess 8. The priest of 8 are the holy men that go out and trick other holy men into committing sins and transgressions against the god. So 8 can judge them and to deliver them to the river Styx for judgment by Hades. So they can go through their death and rebirth cycle. Now, in order to get across the river Styx, you had to have coins, and the family put the coins on there. What you have are the priests of 8 coming in. They're eating that coin. They're taking it because that's the punishment for your transgressions against the gods. You're claiming ownership of their stuff. You're claiming the glory for yourself, and that's not the way it goes. The glory goes to the gods,
Right.
or God. Depending, it's all the same.
Sure.
God doesn't matter which.
Right.
If you're going to go monotheistic or poly, it's all the same shit. You do all works in the name of your God, not for yourself.
Right.
So when you start claiming the glory for yourself, like you go to Federal Reserve, that's claiming glory for yourself. It's an empty glory. It's empty profit. It's false profits.
Sure.
And everybody's chasing those false profits.
Absolutely.
So what they have is they have it set up where you're a fallen god. So therefore, in 18 years, you've been exiled. You can't speak for 9, and then you're exiled from the council of God for another 9. So for 18 years, you're in exile. So after 18, you become majority, so you can go and reclaim your shit.
Just pretty deep
It
shit.
really is. It
What
really
the
is.
But
It really
Well, it
is.
goes back to you're
So-
not really an adult till you're 18 years old.
well, you're really adult, so you can handle your own affairs. You can do
Yeah.
a minor can become an adult at any time.
Right.
All he has to do is understand what's
But
going on.
Exactly.
they always just go to the 18
Emancipation.
age.
Right, but 18 is just the natural legal age. But
Yeah.
at 18, you're responsible for your own affairs. Since you don't know your own affairs, you're a minor, which is a ward. And you're incompetent, so you're an incompetent minor. So they come in these court cases and all these other crap things, all these bonds and other shit they're doing, they deposit them up in the federal court. Federal court takes it, deposits it with the Treasury via 28 U.S.C. 2041, which is deposits of monies or other things go directly to the Treasury. Then the owner puts in a bid for ownership of those entities, those securities and the monies, and then they get them out. The court case at the local level is the bid for those funds, because it's a bounty contract. It's an unsecured bounty contract, and they're securing it via you come in and you start arguing. You start claiming, you start saying, no, this is a bounty, you just argue with them, and it's done, because you just transgressed. The lawyer, the priest of 8 is coming to eat the substance out of you, eat your usufruct. They're dead. The dead have no rights. They just eat the usufruct out of the land. So they eat your usufruct, your time. That's the only commodity you have on this planet. It's time.
Sure.
Only limited quantity, therefore it's unlimited in value. You have unlimited liability, that's an asset in their world. So that's why you have you just accept it all. Now, when you go in and do these treasury directs and you get everything set up and you start doing the 1048, that automatically rebuts presumption of minor, incompetency, and death or abandonment. They can't go in and do a 1099-A and claim any abandoned funds. It's an impossibility because you're out here doing the investigations. At the same time, you take your birth certificates and you put a simple affidavit under Minnesota Rule 220, which just states that I'm a registered owner identified in this document. And I want the minor account dealing from there and put into my treasury account. You send that up to the registrar or whoever registers the birth. I think in New Jersey it would be the treasurer. In Florida it's going to be the registrar. Whoever would certify the document.
Registered here.
Registrar.
Yeah,
I think it's registrar here.
But certain states don't have registrars, so I'd say it's have treasury and other places they go.
There's registrar here.
Yeah, registrar.
So this is what we've done, and this is where we're going with it. Like I said, it's the latest 14-minute update
That's awesome.
because everything just keeps flying towards us, and we've gone from.
That's cool.
We're actually at the beginning. Everything everybody has heard up until now has been us reversing and going through it, finding out where we gotta go, and everything else is just the effects of what happens. That's why a lot of it doesn't make sense.
Well, it doesn't
A
make sense. You
lot of it
understand
doesn't
though.
make sense because we've been looking at it reverse, backwards, going through.
Right.
So now we can turn around once we get up to the point of initiation. We're at the point of initiation with the birth documents. We're seeing what they do with it. Now we're coming into understanding, okay, there's a minor account. I have to claim that. There's linked accounts. These are what this is what the courts are doing. They can't create minor accounts, but they can create linked accounts where there are custodians over. The minor is always the owner of the securities. If you don't assign the reversion, the minor will get the tax.
Have you guys done any UCCs?
Because
Not yet.
No.
He's getting ready to.
No.
okay, yeah, because the reversionary interest is an interest that happens at death or upon reversion. The securities themselves are just papers. Those were supposed. The purpose of the securities were to get issued from the Treasury, go out, settle the matter, go back. That's it. That's all they were supposed to do. But since we didn't know about the minor account, they just went out. And thus you get the capital gain tax on the security because this is capital. The securities are capital. So the security is supposed to capitals remain with the United States per the rules of usufruct. This capital must be safeguarded at all costs. That's the rule. The state is the usufructuary, which means anybody coming to administrate this estate to get anything out of it takes on the role of the state and must protect this capital at all costs. Which is the one using it, provided the one using it isn't claiming it for themselves, because that would be a piracy of the capital, and now their international obligation kicks in, and now they're the ones in honor with international law, while you're the one trying to kidnap and pirate this thing away to use over here at the Federal Reserve, resulting in a national debt. Thus it becomes kidnapping and man-stealing on your end. But if you come in and understand that there's a contract or a treaty to be enforced, The birth certificate is the treaty awaiting your ratification. Your ratification comes when you begin using the birth certificate in conjunction with the Social Security account. You get the minor accounts all in your name, then you got your driver's licenses and all that other shit, so you can open up other bank accounts and all the other crap. And now the driver's license itself becomes identification of the protected party, not of someone they can rape.
We got people getting pulled. Matter of fact, me, I gave them I've got a Florida driver's license that's it's expected. What do? They suspend it since 2009. I was up here in Michigan, got pulled over by Dearborn cops around 12 at night. I guess I ran a red light or something. I handed him this is 2 days after I did the UCC up here in Michigan. He goes back, I'm like, shit, I'm in my dad's vehicle. I call him up, I'm like, I just got pulled over. He already knows my license situation. So I try to find a place to park so it wouldn't get towed. So anyways, he takes my license and he goes back, I'm like, oh shit. He comes back and he's looking at my license with his flashlight. He goes, well, he's talking to me, and I'm like, my God. I'm thinking he's going to hand it to me. He's still talking to me, handing me a expired, suspended driver's license and said, be careful and drive. They don't keep, they keep those things.
All right.
So that
I got
UCC
a couple of people that
is
have been helping
important
down
to
where
put
we
in
are.
Yeah.
A girl and her boyfriend, and they're 19 and 21. Have done nothing, know nothing. I filed the UCC for him. He was driving along one night, and there was a checkpoint up the road, and he was speeding. And he decided he didn't want to go through the checkpoint. So what he did is he made a 3-lane transfer and got off the road. And the cop followed him for like 10 miles or 10 minutes, forget exactly what it was, and went. Just left him alone. I got another guy I've been helping who just got on probation, and he filed the UCC that we have. And he got pulled over doing 70 and a 50 or something like that. And the cop pulled up to him and said, slow down.
No shit.
Got in his back in his car and took off.
No shit.
Yes. Just happened 2 days ago.
So you gotta
So
let it
So,
go.
so basically all the law enforcement and government computers that share
They're all
It's all tied in now.
Well, see,
once it hits one of them,
Right.
Yeah.
What we're also doing is with all our UCC fines, the acknowledgement goes up to the Attorney General
Right.
of the United
Right.
States. The reason we do that is because that's where they have the alien property, or they had the alien property custodian's last known location was there, because it's actually, I think, been dissolved into like 4 or 5 other areas. But the Attorney General retains that custodian account, or the custodianship of it, so that's why we've been sending them up there. And any updates, we just send them all up there. We're like, you guys need the record. It's here in your record. If you want to rebut it, you can come in and remove it. Anybody can touch a UCC. You don't have to have a special filing. You can come in and cancel any UCC you want. I just file cancellation and understand who the secured party is. And the way we have these UCCs filed is we don't put the United States down in anything other than the assignment. The computers of the UCC make it the secure.
Of it, man. It
Anytime-
spits out the results, man.
Anytime,
Boom.
anytime you fill out a UCC 1 and then you do a full assignment on a UCC 3, whoever you're doing the full assignment for becomes a secured party. Which means you can have debtor and secured party the same party on a record. Just not on the initial filing. We've done it.
No shit.
We did
You
a
guys
3-party
what-
transfer
what-
with him and his brother to the, he was arrested and his brother put up a $1,000 bond. So we took his brother's interest, assigned it to him, and he was listed as a debtor on his brother's UCC. So he suddenly became a debtor and a creditor on the same one.
No
With the
shit.
state being a debtor because they were making claims to the bond, and then we assigned it all over the United States. Now the United States is a secured party, with him being a debtor, the state being a debtor, and him being absolved and acquitted of any further obligations, but the court still not. They still have a debtorship. So they're making claim against the United States for performance.
I don't know if you guys seen a UCC I did in 2008 where I made the hospital a debtor. All right, well, I used to just sit there and think, well, what's going on around me, And I said, well, the bankers run the show, right?
Sure.
Who invented international banking?
Rothschild.
Knights Templar in the 11th century.
Oh yeah.
So I went back to that primitive technology and I said, well, what was their mission statement back there? And I kind of looked at it and I said, all right, now if I brought that technology forward to today, what would it look like? So I said, now I've heard the term you're worth your weight in gold, right? We've all heard it. So I'm like, all right, you're worth your weight in gold. Now so I said, well, when Jim spit out at Providence Hospital, right? They did the certificate of live birth and sent it to the state, and I got a receipt of a person. Do you know the difference between a person and a man?
There is no.
What? All right, man is created by who?
God.
Person is created by who?
United States.
The state. Is there a difference? Yes.
Huge.
Right. One has the value of gold, and the other is a debtor, right? So I said, wait a minute. Jim got spit out in Providence. Providence recorded the value of this man being born, and I got a receipt. So I put on the UCC as a debtor, I put the name, and then for address, I put Providence Hospital, Detroit, Michigan. Now I stopped paying a mortgage. The attorneys for the bank seen my UCC I filed into the county, put the hospital down as a debtor. They served the hospital through the Secretary of State of Florida. Within 2 weeks, the case was dismissed. Within a year and a half, the mortgage was dissolved.
Yep.
Wow.
No shit.
Yeah, it
I
showed
got-
up.
Wow.
It showed up on the record.
I'm like,
One of
so
our
we
other buddies
spent
found it.
we spent this
And
whole
we've had-
time reverse engineering what
this-
happened.
We
and
had
figured it out.
we had 5 documents to go on. The complaint, the affidavit of loss original they sent up there,
Are
the
you shitting me?
dismissal,
Dude,
the voluntary
I wish I knew you when I lost my house in
And,
California
dude,
a couple
I-
years ago.
anybody in
and then
foreclosure, let me
the
know.
county recording of the
I'm beyond it. They took it.
This is what we've
We
had
could
to go
probably
on.
do it soon.
And
How
we
long ago?
plugged it into the
2012.
the philosophy
It was
that I
sold?
have.
Yeah.
And this is what's come out.
Immediately.
And like I tell everybody else, we went down to one word, using one philosophy, and we went right from that point.
They were
right down
pretty
to
smart
usufruct,
too.
And we took the philosophy out of the Dark Crystal, the movie The Dark Crystal.
Right.
And we went from there.
That's awesome.
And we went from there.
They're
What I
telling
found
us in
out,
the movies.
and what I found
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
the
they're
Dark,
telling us.
the Dark Crystal
They're telling
is the
us.
story of the Bible. Believe it or not.
Really?
It's all about a unification back into one. You get separated at Adam and Eve, so the shard comes out of the initial light crystal, comes the shard. Now you have the dark crystal and you have the shard, and it gets separated. So the job is to put it all back together. This is why a lot of people fight, and a lot of people I talk to, they want to talk to me about common law and this and that. And I go, I don't give a shit about common law. I don't give a shit about admiralty law. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff because all of that's going back
It's
into
all
one.
coming together into one
It's
spot.
all coming back into one because that's the only way the crystal gets united, the crystal within, the light
Right.
within. You have to put it all back together because the fall of man means his crystal is sharded everywhere. So we're all scatterbrained. We're all scattered about.
Well, which is
that's
the
a
intent,
scattering
so-
of the tribe,
sure.
the scattering of the mind.
Sure.
The tribe, the mind. So you got to put it all back together. And along
People
the
wonder
way-
why they're so fucking confused all day.
That's right.
I mean,
you got to put
seriously.
it all back together.
It's all,
And it's
They
because
got you all-
they're being advertly enticed to all these other directions to go.
No, absolutely.
And they're using the sins of man, and they're monetizing them. That's capitalism.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's all they're really doing. The priests of 8 are out there eating up the substance of man,
Gotta love it, right?
and they're just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and you can just see it everywhere. I mean, it's amazing when you look at
So,
it. That it's everywhere.
what happens? What happens if you own a business and you're going through all this? What happens at the end of it after you file your UCC, and how does it affect you owning a business?
It shouldn't.
Shouldn't affect anything.
No, it shouldn't affect nothing.
What does it happen with any of the business debts? Any of that stuff?
All those business debts and
another
everything else will still
we
be
got
part
two
of the
going
business.
up
You can always
now.
rework that.
Probably enough.
What you want to do is you want to get
I
your
don't know how long we're
self,
gonna run.
Right.
get this part fixed
here.
Right.
before you touch anything else.
Okay, so I can
Because
still
the Social Security
just
number
put
when
the
you're
card
carrying,
is get
Yours
fucked
takes the card?
going through all this, and
Well,
then
here's-
something happening to the business because of it.
here's the thing.
that'll all be separate.
Okay.
Well, you got to watch.
business is a separate entity.
Right. But
Or
now,
separate
if
piece
you
of
get
paper.
if you start screwing around with the IRS and doing your 1099s and crap like that without doing this first, then your business is going to get hurt.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I want to know. Because I don't want to fuck with
right,
any
right
of the
now,
business.
right, because right now all you're going to do in the end of this is when you get all these accounts set up and they do their searches and you get all that stuff, you're going to use that as your negotiation tool to enforce the treaty of protection. Because what you have to do is you have to surrender a tribute. So what you do is you get rid of the revenues and you give that back to the Treasury. Once you give that back to the Treasury, all your debts, your grandfathers, your ones before you, gone instantaneously. All your family line is absolved, you're absolved, and everything else. It's the same thing King George did in 1760. 1760, King George took the entire revenue of the Crown Estate and put it over to HM Treasury. In doing so, he absolved the entire kings of all their debts. The whole monarchy went debt-free at that point.
No shit.
And his personal debt, gone. The cost of running the civil government, gone. It's now become the treasury issue. And this is what they've done here. They built the same system here for everyone else. They did it
They don't know
16
about it.
years later. Nobody really understood. Nobody saw what was going on. But the last line of the Declaration is the key. In a firm reliance upon divine providence and a mutual support of this Declaration, we hereby pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. They pledged everything to this,
To each other.
to each other. Not
And
to
you
the
know-
government.
you know, a
But
lot
they
of these-
created, now they created the government to protect that. But if you're not going to buy into it, why should they protect you?
No, you're just a belligerent.
Right, because the Declaration itself created an international trust that all nations on earth are bound to defend and
And that goes
protect.
back to the
Which
next
means
step.
anybody who has a birth certificate can join.
Right.
Which
So we
is
can take
what
the
we
whole
meant by
country, teach everybody to do this, and take back our government.
it. You can do. I can teach any country on earth where the IMF went in, and they can take back that country. They'll make it United States of America. It'll be another state within the United States.
You notice the enemies of the United States are not part of the IMF.
Because it's
Right.
you go back to the Spanish. How do they say United States? Estados Unidos. Estados Unidos is States United.
Yeah.
The United States.
Well, that's why way back when they used to say these United States too.
Right.
Not the United States of America, and that's
Right.
changed.
These,
since
yeah,
that
these
time.
United States. So it's everybody's estates united under one common declaration,
Right.
wherein they pledge everything to the government that's going to protect those rights. It's there to protect property in defense of the self-evident truth, which is why we come in with our UCCs and we have it on there that all property in this thing is subject to claims and defenses under the Declaration for protection and defense of that truth. As state as administrator, usufruct, and then quiet enjoyment remains with secured party. It doesn't matter who the secured party is because quiet enjoyment will always be there. And secured party actually doesn't take effect until death or abandon or until you give up the property, because that's what version is. Reversion is just something that happens at death or abandonment.
They know about my court case right now.
Oh, yeah, he has a court case right now, driving on that same driver's license over
Down in Florida.
down in Bartow, and he was arrested, put in jail. It was fucked
Is that
up.
outlet work?
We got a phone call. I got a phone call from him. He's getting pulled over. We had to mobilize everything. We had 5 people. We're all going up there. Only 2 of us have driver's license, just in case cops screw us. So we go get his car and his brother, and we proceed to go to the jail. We have no idea where the jail is, so we stop off at a liquor store because someone knows where jail is there. And so they take us down to a bail bonds lady. This bail bonds lady that he delivered us to just happened to be on the phone with a guy who was in his cell,
In my holding cell.
and we had no idea.
Well, actually, I just got done talking to her and giving her my brother's number. I said, hey, can you call him? And then this guy's calling but must have been a list of them, and he was back on with this lady, and that's when they
And that's
came.
when we showed up.
He goes, hey, I think your brother's here on the phone. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so we pull in there and they're getting ready to do their bond thing, and each of us, I don't work. My buddy's a student. His wife has a job, but she doesn't have. It's just all. We have 5 people there.
Nobody's got driver's
And
license.
there's 5 people getting one bonding the other, and they go in there, and she comes back out. We're like, where is she? Goes, well, they're going to keep him. I'm like, why? She goes, well, he's yelling and screaming and everything else, and I keep because he's saying he's incompetent and this and that. And I was like, his.
All right, so
mental
let me
health
give you
stuff.
this. So the cop takes me to the jail, and the first thing you come to is some chick, saying, "Are you suicidal or you want to kill somebody?" I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about? Are you suicidal?" I'm like, "What are you?" I'm putting yes. So, anyways, I'm in there in the jail, in the cell, waiting and everything, and I found out I got bonded out. But every deputy I went in front of, I said, "What if I don't do it?" They go, "You got to do this." I go, "Well, what if I don't? Then you're not getting out. Then I'm doing it." All right, just qualifying each act I do.
Forcing you into doing
Yeah,
it.
each act I do, So when I'm finally getting ready, I'm whistling the whole time, and this one deputy just got pissed off because I was whistling too much or something. So he decided to let me wait and everything in this one cell. So when I get out, I said, I need your name and your number, your employee number, and then, so he's like, he said it real fast. I didn't get it, so the ladies got me getting ready to sign the bond thing. I said, well, what if I don't sign it? Then you're not getting out. I wrote the J, and then they all grabbed me and put me in the cell. Said I refused to sign. Then they told the bailiff, the bail bondsman, that I was yelling and screaming and throwing shit around.
No
They
shit.
lied to the bail bondsman to revoke the bond to put me in for 3 days with a blanket around me with, oh.
But what
Yes.
happened was we
Yeah,
have another lady we've been talking to, another woman. She gave us a Supreme Court case that we put together. I put something together and faxed it over on that Sunday. And then it was I forget the name of the case, but it's if you ever get held for incompetence or something, and you have a family member there who's ready to receive you, they can't hold you. They can't do it.
Bond or no bond.
Bond or no bond, crime or no crime, it's irrelevant. It's a completely 100% irrelevant. They cannot commit someone who has a family member ready to receive.
No shit.
Yeah, and I know that's right because
For somebody that's being held as
it
an
just happened to
incompetent.
be in Florida, and it just happened to be the same place they wanted to send me to for 10 years or whatever. And that's where we first started with this was.
But this case,
It's
Polk
facing about
County,
10
man.
years, and I went before them and said 2 sentences, and they revoked the signed orders off the floor of the court, and I went, holy shit. And I called up my buddy Batman, who was helping us out, and we came up with the 4 corners. It was for the record, I'm here for that matter, because there's a mistake, how can I deal with y'all honorably? Well, where's the proper notice so I can deal with y'all honorably? 2 orders got revoked off the court, and the next week we went in, I said the same thing, and said the same thing, and then suddenly it's just been stuck, it was stuck in a cycle for like years. And it's been going on for 9 years. I got a 9-year education.
Right.
I got a 9-year education. I know a lot, I know everything I do is first-hand knowledge. I know what the shrinks are looking for. I
Sure.
know what they're going to do in certain events. I know if you go in there and you treat them like a witness and you just ask them if they have a claim, they're going to go right down the road of incompetence, but they're not going to declare it because to declare it means they go into probate. To go into probate gives you the right to go into the same record to do an investigation and audit of the record for the purposes of discovery for the initiation of a claim and recoupment for property that may have been transferred. We found all this on a one-page probate book, or one page out of a probate book. Found the entire operation of every court case in America.
No shit.
It's on the website. I titled it the 3 Fecences because every court case it's about misuse of trust property. You got some guy coming in on a complaint, which is just some dude saying, I didn't like the way he was using that trust property, and now you got to come in and answer why you were using it that way.
Really?
And the defense is, well, I have an interest in this matter too, as I appear to be one of the registered owners on this document. So I have the right to do this. And to prove it, you just go, okay, we're going to initiate a claim, and we're going to initiate a complaint ourselves as someone as heir or expectancy of the estate or something like that, as a spoliated owner or a user, entitled, whatever you want to call it. And I was using the property because I have the right to use it. I'm one of the registered owners. I'm a spoliated owner, I'm a naked owner. I have the right to disposal. I'm coming in there and use it. You don't like the way to dispose of it, I don't give a shit. Because anybody who makes a claim in the courtroom is the use of property. Because they're saying, I have the right to the profits of the estate, and I don't like the way they were using it. And anybody making claim is making claim to the property of the estate, the fruits of it.
Right.
There's the use of trust. So they have to put up a bond. But what they do is they come in under a wardship and claim your estates, and they use the security, they issue the security from the Treasury. Don't tell anybody about it, they make an abandoned claim to it when you don't claim it. Because that's the payment for your bringing you to the river of Styx so you can cross and be reborn.
So the main thing is claiming
Because the
that value.
object here is to get your spirit to rejoin with Christ. The name is Christ, he's stuck in Hades. He needs your spirit, so you give up your use of your salvation to him. And you do so by taking the security that you were going to get, endorsing it back to them, to give your spirit back, because that's the intent of the instrument now, is to go back to them and absolve the debt and allow Christ to rise up from the dead.
Great.
That is crazy.
So, when you use that terminology, are you using an analogy, or is that actually the way it's written?
What?
Christ in all these documents and raising.
Analogies.
Okay.
Analogies. That name is your Christ and that is your Savior. It
It's
saves you from burdening the
But
debt.
this whole concept is based off the ancient Egypt concept of.
Oh, it's based on Sumeria. It's based on Babylonia. It's all the same. It's all the same mythologies.
Mhm.
Even the Bible is the same mythology as
No, yeah,
Egyptian
Bibles,
and Greek and everything else. It's all the same.
Yeah.
So once you understand that Buddhism, Muslim,
It's all the same shit.
it's all the same
shit.
philosophies.
Same story.
So everybody has all been fighting over superficial bullshit.
Exactly.
My God is better than your God. I don't like the way your God dresses.
It's the
I don't
same
like the
shit.
color of his skin. I don't like the fact he has a red dot in his head.
Right.
You know, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
It's superficial bullshit because in the end it's all the same.
The
Treat
military-industrial
yourself,
complex, man.
or treat others as you would
If
treat
there's no
yourself.
controversy, they don't exist, so they have to keep controversy alive.
And if you take
The
controversy,
court has no jurisdiction if there's no controversy.
That's right.
It's that simple.
And if
The
you
court
take-
has no and if you go in there and agree with everything,
Yeah.
what's the
but
problem?
now if you look at the term if you take the syllables of controversy, you have con, which is a confidence game. Trover is an actual legal proceeding wherein property is delivered from one party to the other who rightfully owns it. And the suffix sy denotes that it's done with unclean hands. It's done for nefarious purposes. So you have a confidence game to switch property
Makes
from one
sense.
hand to the other under nefarious purposes. So in other words, controversy just means dazzle with bullshit.
Yep.
And that's all these guys do. They just make claims and you come in and argue. And we've come in and gone, no, I accept and I want my shit back. And when we come back, I did. That's how I answered all my paperwork. After the first 2 or 3 years of doing Winston Strout and Jack Smith and all the other fucking bullshit.
Who's all been that round?
I've read it all. I
I
partake
put on
in
all
it,
of
but-
it, and it just makes no sense because in the end, how the hell do you enforce it? How the hell do you prove it? And the only thing I ever got out of it was one funny incident was in a room full of 6 people. There was the state attorney, her assistant, some other dude, some other watcher, some other guy from USF, and a shrink. And I was sitting there, and the dude had a stack of papers probably twice as high as this, of everything that I put in. And he takes one piece of paper out from about this point, and he goes, "Do you want to explain this?" And this was when I was doing novations, using dollar money orders, novating the offer and doing $1 a month. And when they didn't do it, they breached a contract, and I had it at $150,000, which is 3 times the bond. And he goes, "You want to explain that?" And I looked at it, and I looked at him. I go, "Is your name on it?" He goes, "No." I go, "Does it concern you?" He's like, "No." "Do you want it to?" And he goes, puts it right back in his stack, and we continue. But yeah, so that's really the only thing I got was one story.
So where do these guys start? Where do you guys start from here?
Well, that's what we really want to try to figure out.
Right.
One is was the first one to catch on to this only a couple of months ago. Okay, I started to listen to Bailey and Boris on the radio,
YouTube.
talk radio and stuff. And then I caught the videos and everything. It just kind of opened up my head as to all the shit that didn't make sense at all.
Yes.
The conflict that was going on. Now all of a sudden it makes sense.
Sense. Exactly. Same thing happened to me.
Right, and so I actually got your address off the UCC one. So I sent him a letter. I didn't know how to contact him, and I said, what would it take to get you to come up to Michigan? Well, I get a call a few days later. He says, "I'll be there next weekend." So I said, "Holy shit!" Because I was planning on getting the material to these guys, the videos and stuff, and then kind of getting them up to speed a little bit because mostly.
I
don't
still
think
don't want to watch
any
the
of these guys-
videos because in there,
Oh, absolutely.
there's one document that I recommend everybody look at and understand, and I call it the star diagram. And what it is, it's just a simple star. You've all seen this.
Yep.
You've all seen this, right? It's still the foundation of everything because you have the intent, which is your spirit.
I remember seeing that on the video.
Yeah. You always go. Your fire is always the spirit is the intent. The fire is always the desire. Why you're doing it, and the reason you're doing it is in this war there's walking wounded. So you're coming in under the 1864 Hague Article 5, which I believe is the one where it says where the generals of both belligerent armies will appeal to inhabitants for their humanity, and if you remain neutral, your house will not be touched, and you'll be exempted from billeting of war.
Right.
In doing that, you understand that you have to follow the promise, the air, because you're going through Satan's world, and Satan's world is all based on promises and ego and crap like that.
Promise to pay
But that's the
later.
gatekeeper. That is the gatekeeper of this whole thing. This is his world. Make no mistake of it. This is the world of the ego. This is all built by ego and
Sure.
greed. And
I agree
it's
with that.
basically it's all built by ego and sin. Everything down here. So that's why you're put down here to purify yourselves, because the next golden age you can't have any impurities, and gold itself is only 0.99. So you're going through his world to get rid of that last jot and tittle. Is basically what you're doing. So when you understand that your spirit defines your desire, that you become the instrument now. You're turning yourself into the instrument of instrumentality of God, or your creator, whatever you believe.
Sure.
To carry out his will. So you're turning yourself into his weapon, his conduit.
Just a tool for it. Sure.
Conduit. So in order to do that, you have to put it through the fire. And like any good blacksmith, you have to take the metal, you put it in the fire so it melts down, so it can be shaped with the air, the intent, the hammer. Then you put it in the water to revitalize it and harden it. Because if you don't harden it, it just breaks, it brittles. But that also grounds it, or basically when it hardens it, it solidifies its intent. And then it can become the actual instrument. Now you have to walk that same path, being the instrument. So you're going to be put through the baptismal waters, and it happens in admiralty, which is just contract. It's actually the law of the currency is admiralty, and what they did with the Banking Act and the Emancipation Proclamation, Civil War, is they made the way the country is now designed is the people are the currency.
Right.
And Rothschild, he comes in and goes, well, give me control of a nation's currency. I care not who cares to make the law. All you have to do is keep people fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, they've done a good job.
You don't have to control any of the markets, any currency, anything else. Once the people became the currency, all you do is keep the people ignorant.
Yep.
That's
Guys,
it.
are they familiar with letter 12?
Oh, the currency letter. Y'all read that one.
1864.
That's on the site as well.
Yeah.
Letter
IamSomeDude.com.
The guy that was
It's called Carry Currency Letter.
Associate of Lincoln's.
Lincoln.
Yeah, it's his
okay,
financial
yeah,
advisor.
yeah.
And that's where we're at today, is running everything through the Treasury. You're no longer enemy of the state.
Yeah, so
Right.
It's beautiful.
So when you run through the waters and you're baptized and you're washing the impurities off, you still have to go to the fire because there's still impurities left. You can't get to all of it through the water. So you'll steam them, you'll water, you'll fire it, you'll walk through the fire. And you understand that you're not going to be harmed for this. This is just to remove the impurities from the soul because you're here. You're here because you made a transgression against the Creator, some way, some shape, somehow, some form. Now you have to put yourself back together so you can learn how to be a creator once more. This is what the job is. This is also for the young souls so they can come in and do it. But we keep reborning, we keep going through the same shit because we keep doing the same state. Right,
exactly.
More repent. So now it's time to repent or change the way you think. And the only way you can do that is to burn off all the old. I call it the Armageddon of the mind.
That's the tough part.
Right. And,
That really is the
and
tough
once
part.
it's ignited, it's done. So someone's got to ignite it, and I'm it.
Yeah.
I'll ignite it. I have no problem with that. Chaos is good for man. It needs it. He needs it to keep going. If he gets stagnant, it's over.
You got to have
Let me do that.
It's a tough road, man.
But
It's
once
a
you
tough
you
road.
understand that the
Well,
fire,
now it's tough. So.
It
Right.
is.
Exactly. And there's no end.
Like I said,
Right.
once I became aware of what was going on, there, half of the load I carried around disappeared.
It did. It did.
The other half I'm still working on because things come up and I want to respond from my old emotions and stuff,
it's a new way of thinking. It takes a while to get
Yeah.
over. This isn't an overnight fix.
Well, now he's
This
got,
is
in
the way I'm
Pinellas
thinking.
County, he's got the incompetency, and then we have Beach House Jim. Anybody hear Beach House Jim?
Yeah,
He's
he's
got
on
the
the video.
incompetency. I was getting jealous about these guys I want that. So then when I got arrested and everything.
Basically,
Now I'm finally getting there, man. I'm like,
what the
damn.
what the
You should have
accountant
seen
does
us.
is,
It was unbelievable.
it gives
coming out
you
of the
a
courthouse,
shield
that
while you're
video.
going through this. They can arrest you. They just can't hold you for more than 3 days. They can't put you in jail. Yeah, they can't do anything.
The police,
with
only the sheriffs arrest you. I mean, detain you.
you.
Yeah.
The police just arrest you.
The sheriff's in charge of the jail.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So now when you're going through the fires, then all those chains, like you said, will begin becoming brittle because you're no longer putting them back in water. So it becomes they ground out to the earth, so they break free from the earth. Now the problem people are having is they don't want to make the deal with the devil, and they don't understand the deal with the devil. The deal with the devil is very simple. You surrender. You give up all hope of salvation for the benefit of others. And as soon as you do that, God protects you.
Sacrifice.
Devil will underwrite your existence here and free of disease. Just because his ego is, I can still convert you.
That arrogance.
That's arrogance.
So you beat him at his own game.
Ego.
You know where I got that whole idea from? Constantine, the movie.
Really?
The last 15 minutes of Constantine. That's when it hit. I was like, holy shit, there's the contract. I was like, that's how you do it. You do it, sacrifice it for everyone else.
Right.
And if you notice in the movie, he sacrificed it for who? The girl.
The girl.
The
sure,
feminine
sure.
energy.
Yeah.
The feminine energy. So it's everything you do in this whole game is an act of surrender. It's an act of feminine energy into a masculine system.
Which is tough because of what they've been taught.
Right, you're taught to fight, which
Taught
is
to fight.
to keep a hold of it and protect
Yes.
it. But reality is the only way you protect is to let it go. And letting go is a feminine act. So you let go. This is all feminine energy you're injecting into a masculine system because everybody's been masculine with it and fighting it, thus it's starving. A starving masculine system will seek out and destroy everything to
Like a
find
fucking
something to
zombie, man.
protect, including itself. And any guy who has been through one of those emotional ringer relationships
Sure.
will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Ooh, why do you gotta keep
Right?
Because that's the truth. That's where it manifests.
pounds on that one.
Yeah, right.
But that's where it all manifests within yourself, so you can see it. Everything that goes on, everything that manifests within you and without, is so you can have an example of what either it is you're doing that's right or what you shouldn't be doing, that you don't want to go back to. And that's what this whole star thing is all about, is where you don't want to go back. But people are stuck in the fight. They don't want to give in, and know that they have to surrender the ownership. You have to give it all up. So what they do is they get stuck by going back into the water. But what happens when earth and water mix? You get mud. When it goes back through fire, you get hardened mud, which then becomes callous, which overcomes the heart, which becomes a hardened heart. And now, by fighting, you just harden your heart, or you keep getting stuck in the river, the Hades River. Hades is just a river of hate. I mean, river Styx is the river of hate. And like I said, the gods would take an oath on it, and if they broke it, Zeus would make them drink the water. They go deaf. They go silent for 9 years. They get exiled for 9 years, 18 years. And so you go, so you have to do that. And if you're not giving it up, then you have to protect and defend every aspect of it. And this is where I tell people, if you're not ready to surrender ownership, then pay your damn bills and defend your property.
And shut up.
And go away.
And shut up.
And shut up.
Yeah. What do you own coming into this world?
Nothing.
What do you own when you leave this world?
Nothing.
What makes you think you own anything while you're here?
The 1%ers.
I'm just passing through. How can I help you?
But yeah, so that's going through, and then it'll allow you to ascend or rise above it all, and so you can fill your true purpose. And that's the whole purpose behind that star diagram. But I do recommend it because it has all the international laws on it that we use. That's still the foundation for everything today. I haven't deviated in like 7 or 8 years, or however many years we've been doing this. We went through this path, and it's been a slow process. And people are like, well, when's the enforcement? I go, it'll show itself when it's ready.
Yeah, the information was kind of like this, and then it's like this, and now it's like
and people
this,
think
man.
it
It's
changed,
like,
and people who haven't
like a
talked to me
laser
in like
beam.
months or a year or so, it's all changed. It's like, no, it hasn't changed. It's still there. The same stuff is still there. It's just
whittling it down.
It's just whittling it down, whittling it down. I mean, we had it like so. We're going backwards, and it's like walking backwards through the dark. All you can see is more light illuminated from what happened when you touch the darkness.
Right.
So as you're walking backwards, you're feeling around and doing whatever you do, and then suddenly what you see, the effects as you're walking backwards. And you see the effects go by, and that's why everything appears to be all screwed up. And people are like, "Well, what do I do next?" I was like, "That's my point. I don't know yet,
Right.
because we're not at the beginning."
Sure.
And people are like, "What do you mean beginning?" I was like, "Because what you're seeing are the effects of what we did.
we're feeling around in the dark.
Right.
We've been here before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we keep getting put back here because we're not doing the right thing.
Correct.
We didn't burn
So
off
for
the
18 years, we keep repeating itself.
It's like hitting that
Like
chute
18,
throws you at the
then
beginning
you-
again, or throws you 10 steps
Yeah,
back
number
because
of man.
you hit the wrong
18.
button.
Yeah.
And 9 is completion, and we're supposed to be doing it. And we were supposed to have this done a long time ago. And all this was set up. We didn't complete delivery, and that's the only thing that's wrong. We just didn't complete it.
And when you go down this path, you're protected. You're protected.
Yes.
Because you're coming in peace, they can't touch you.
Yeah.
You got the white flag. Now, I experienced that in this court case that I'm going through now. That county court was coming after me. We were putting stuff in, and they were just saying,
fuck you, if you're not here Monday, we're arresting you for the jury to pick the jury. Well, this was 2 Thursdays ago. And I kept telling Boris, I said, we're gonna need to move this to Fed. We're gonna need to move it. So a couple weeks before, maybe a month before that, I got a hold of a paralegal, and I said, I wanna move something to federal court. She goes, yeah, let me do some research and everything. And meanwhile, we're still going at it, and I'm like, Boris, they're not fazed by none of this. So that Thursday, we went in the morning. The judge says, be here Monday or else we're arresting you. I said, we stopped at federal court on the way home, found out what we needed to get in there, how we needed to do it, went back to the house. He touched it up. We went, put it in. That next Monday, that judge was a whole different man.
Really? We got it in.
Oh my
We
God,
got it in.
dude.
We got
Because
it
you
in.
know what you're talking about.
We got Big Brother to say, little brother's fucking around down here. You
Yeah,
can
we,
just
we
straighten him out.
got it
Boy,
into
did they
federal
straighten
court.
him out.
I mean, I talked to people out west about this stuff because we did it under a seaman suit.
Didn't have to pay anything to put the case
through
in.
42
Nice.
1983, which is how you do personal suits in federal court. Title 42 1983 renders any violation of any exercise of any right of personal offense to the one who's being done against. And the seaman suit is you sue the citizenship for performance by the trustee who just wronged you. So that's how we came in. And nobody, and as far as we know, nobody's done it. We went in there, and I have no idea what I'm doing. We made this all up on the way home.
It's
On the way home, we're just
It's
like, all right, we
crazy.
talk to our buddies, and we just make it all up, and we go, all right, let's go do it.
It comes out of his ass, I think. I don't know, man.
So
Seems to work.
yeah,
It does.
seems to work. And so we go down there, and we had everything, and we just go, what else do we need? And he gave us the rules of procedure for removing a case out of federal from state to federal. It was like 3 little sentences. Like, wow, that's really easy.
No shit.
So we went home and we just typed up shit. I just used the same wording out of all my other documents because pretty soon it all just
Same
flows
thing.
together. It's the same shit. I mean, how many times can you say, I've done this, you didn't? Or where's the performance? How many times can you actually say that? And so we
You know
just
what?
went through and just listed everything they did.
He puts on it. We put the judge down, his name, not as judge, just his name, registered agent.
Yeah, we call him registered
The
agent.
prosecutor name, registered
All right.
agent, and the chief judge name, registered agent. So
Yeah.
we're going back to Big Brother, right?
Yeah. And here's another thing. All attorneys have to be registered as registered agents.
You guys
But-
know about
All right.
registered agents?
No.
Title, go to FARA.gov.
Who is
It'll
it?
tell you everything.
Who's got a computer up? Anybody?
FARA.
You got a web. You got a web. here?
That's U.S. Department of Justice. They'll tell you. The whole thing is on there.
And what's it called?
FARA.gov.
FARA.
Foreign Agent Registration Act.
Okay,
Now
gotcha.
here's the trick with the Foreign Registration Act. Anybody who is registered as a foreign agent cannot be a public official.
Ooh.
Yes.
All lawyers have to be registered as
Conflict of interest.
as registered agents. Therefore, no lawyer holding a public office is actually holding that public office.
including judge.
But that's
Including
under, is that under what
Including
law,
the
though?
president?
FARA,
But what it,
Foreign Agent Registration Act.
but then how do they end up being who they are?
Because you don't know.
They're
the
operating a
question.
corporation.
Yeah.
They're not public officials. No attorney is a public official. There are no public officials. No public official should talk to be fucking touching your property and putting liens on it. That's not what they were created for. They were created to protect and defend a property, not lean it up and put you as liable for it.
That's what all government's
All right.
created to do.
Public official. If they're a registered agent, they're operating for a foreign principal. I'm the foreign fucking principal. I'm foreign to that government.
So every
I am.
That's
congressperson.
I'm a foreigner brought into that jurisdiction.
You are, there's no question.
That's the international law contract.
Yes.
You're a foreigner brought into the
You're meat and
jurisdiction.
potatoes, and they're
through
not.
one- through our- and it goes. It's book. The operation of the international of the contract is Book 1 of the Law Nations, Articles 192 through 199. Book 1, yeah. Book then 104, 105, 107 through 109 of Book 2. And
You guys getting that?
and
Yes, it's being recorded.
and then what you do is you put 12 USC 95A at the bottom of it. Then you take all those same things and you flip them over and you read them backwards. So you take all those, you take Book 1, 192
Right.
through 199, Book 2, 104, 105, 107, 108, 109, 132, 133. Then you take 12 USC 95A, then you go backwards. 132 or 133, 132,
Right.
109, 8, 7, 5, 4, 99, 9, all the way down to 192. And what you see is the entire operation of the Treaty of Protection. It's enforcement, it's operation, what you have to do, your rules underneath it, your duties underneath it, what happens when you become silent when someone tries to do something. Everything is spelled out. That's the international treaty, that's the treaty of protection that your birth certificate is predicated on.
Oh, I forgot, on this lawsuit in the federal court, he put John Doe from 1 to 100. He forgot Jane Doe. So I went into the court that Monday.
They're all women.
They were all women prosecutors. I'm looking over there. I'm like, oh, they're all women. Because I remember I go, oh, you forgot to put Jane Doe. I'm like,
but
they're
what
all
was also
women,
interesting is we got the letter for the room assignments where they were supposed to go. He wasn't supposed to be before the judge. He was supposed to be before another judge.
Really?
So,
and the judge made a point to say, now, you know, any other judge would have put you in jail. All right, Judge, you were nice to me. All right, whatever, man.
It was just.
And when he was
house to the end, right?
He was like, he was frazzled, man, because I went up there and did the four corners for the record. On and for the record, I'm here for that matter. There's been a mistake. Where's the proper notice? So I may handle this matter in honor. And he looks at me, and he goes, "What'd you say?" I'm like, you know, I'll see this again. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, baby, I'll put this on the record again. And I rattle it off, you know. And he started talking about, well, he goes, you know, we reviewed your paperwork with the toe prints and the fingerprints and the colorful papers and everything, and we're going to put you in what do you call it? Incompetency. And I said, objection. You know, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's what I want. So then I'm like, then he started talking again, and I said, what evidence you have before the court that I have any further obligation in this matter? And he kind of stopped and everything, and he started again, and I said it twice, and he never answered me, not once.
Yep.
Unanswered questions.
Yeah, once you put the reversion on the UCC,
And it's all recorded.
and it's all recorded and everything else. I mean, you get that down in there,
And that's what I'm going to say to the. And when I go to the doctor, I'm going to say
You're
the
done.
same thing.
I mean, if
But
the
I've
evidence,
got a little twist I'm going to do there though with the
Right.
claim.
Right.
You know, the judge. I asked the judge if there was a claim, and he never answered me. So I'm thinking he's sent me here to see if you have a claim on me. Do you
Yeah.
have a claim on me? No. Do you know anybody who has a claim on me?
y'all learning from my mistakes of going through all that, because I went through 7 or 8 shrinks, and it wasn't until the last one that I go, shit, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So they used the first one.
Really?
Yeah, they used the very first woman that I ever talked to, just the court psychologist. But they put me through like 7 or 8 other ones. But like I said, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, so everybody else doesn't have to.
See, if you don't,
Thank you for that, by the way.
And I'm trying to, and you know, so y'all, you know, because
if you don't
Sorry,
defend their
thank you.
property, then you're incompetent to fight with them. And if you're competent to fight with them, is there any controversy?
Right.
But now, last night what we got with the courts, I mean, this is just huge. That all your circuit courts are abolished, and they're only district courts. So all your circuit courts are just basically corporations, and they're dumping their shit into the district court. They're getting cash advances off of it,
Right.
and then they come to you for collection on the capital gain tax and all the other shit. That's all the punishments, the statutes, because that's you bought the security. So
No, that you said circuit courts in Michigan. Circuit court is like the county court.
all those courts are done.
What about
They're
municipal courts
only
as well,
district
the
courts.
local
They're
courts?
only district courts now. And all these
That's
guys,
the
all these
federal
guys
courts,
are
yeah.
corporations.
Federal. Yeah.
I mean, we found. I mean, they one lady, the same lady, Donna. She traced it all down. Judicial courts are operating out of basically University of, state of Florida State University,
Which are where the bar
which
association
is where the bar association is located too. And they paid like $500,000 or so much in taxes last year. So what they're doing is they're acting as if they're courts, but they're running under falsified bounty contracts, and since they've already been paid for it, they're coming to collect for it. So they're bounty hunters, they're pirateers, they're actually Pharisees instigating rebellion and treason egregiously. Pirate.
Right.
Pirate is also P-I-R is a holy man, and 8, of course, is the goddess of 8. So you have the holy man of 8 going out to eat the substance of the people.
consume the substance.
Yep.
What do you play the game of basketball on?
Court.
What do you play the game of tennis on? What court? What game is being played in that court?
So
Right. Court.
So when you go and we also have I'm going to only use the all. It's the Act of 1911 that did this. They tell you exactly what to ask for from the courts. All journals, dockets, books, files, records, and other books and papers delivered in the matter are yours for inspection.
Sweet.
Along with, if you couple that with UCC 9-210, which basically is you want an accounting, a request for the accounting, a request for the collateral. If they don't give it to you in 14 days, they lose all interest.
And that's what we did in my case over there. They
Yeah,
just
14
ignored
days.
it. Yeah.
They lose all interest in the matter.
So let me ask.
Now what you do then is you come in under UCC 3-305 and 6, initiate a claim in recoupment because they negotiated the account as if you were a minor or an incompetent. So you do a claim in recoupment.
But you do that after you do your first UCC, right?
You don't even need UCC to do this.
Really?
You do a claim in recoupment because the case was negotiated as if you were incompetent and you're coming in to reclaim the instruments negotiated through. You do a claim in recoupment to rescind negotiations, reclaim instruments and profits, or proceeds. The instruments will always go back to the United States. That's their securities. It's not for you to have. The proceeds, however, are for you to use because those are ill-gotten gains by the one who withheld it, which is the courts who got it, the corporations.
You're their tax.
So there's no way to get through that through the IRS then? It's through the
You
courts.
probably can. We don't know if there's a way. There is a way. I think there is a way if you go 3949A. If you're going to do a 3949A, which is an investigation, you need to attach a 211 to it because you have to make a claim for the monies. And if you don't make a claim, then they're not going to count it as being received. Same thing with your tort forms, your Form 95s. You have to put a 211 with it, or they won't consider it received. There has to be a claim for some monetary money.
You know what? That
or
might be the way to
distribution of
do it.
funds.
Because the IRS can go anywhere and do anything they want. That
Right.
might be the way you get the accountants to go and do an audit. Is what you're doing.
Now,
You know.
like I said, I'll leave this here too. This is about the minor accounts. And what we think is the minor accounts are held with the registrar when you're born, because it's all operational law. In Florida, they've indemnified the registrar from all acts. So the registrar is the one that does this. They have to set up the minor accounts to an individual because an entity can't do it.
Right.
The Treasury Act won't let them. But if you don't contain control of the minor accounts, then they will constantly consider that name a ward of the court, and the judge will administrate it in favor of the one who makes the claim, because you have no standing. You're just an incompetent.
Right, you're an incompetent.
You're a
Sure.
minor. You don't have any standing to bring claim. But once you get it all done, your Treasury Direct account, then you go get these minor accounts. Then they can no longer then they should no longer be able to administrate the estates. You couple that in with that UCC filing, that tells them to keep off your ass. Afterwards, we're looking at taking everything down to Secretary of State through the FAR registration and registering the Secretary of State of the United States to negotiate the Treaty of Protection for us. So
Really?
he'll be the point man and be our registered agent.
Going back to Republic.
Yeah, we're going back to we're Republican. Because right now it's
Yes,
all
we should.
Republic. Yeah, you're
Right.
a Republic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
And in
So
the
now-
Republic, it was,
And all-
it was
and all
a representative
Republic-
government.
Right.
And all Republican means is to repurpose.
Right.
You know,
That's really all it means.
You know how a pirate ship was governed? It was a democracy.
Mob rule.
Right. Oh yeah, my rule.
So
What do we have now?
mob
It's
rule.
been mob rule for
And who's the president? The Knights Templar, right?
Right.
Remember the Bushes?
But if
Knights
you have,
go
if
back
you
to
have-
Knights Templar.
but also,
They're the pirates.
since it's
They're
also mob
skull and
rule,
cross.
from you is your usufruct. But in doing so, whoever takes your usufruct renders you naked owner with respect to them, because that's the only position left. So you don't have to make any claims. Everybody does it for themselves.
Right.
As soon as they start making claims, they become usufruct. You take position as naked owner. You have disposal rights. They have to give securities, make accounting, pay taxes, settle all claims, and keep things in repair. The second they don't do that, they automatically go in dishonor. Now all assets they had, or now all assets resulting from that event, now become yours to collect. Even if they don't, even if they never profited. Yeah, man, usufruct. I mean, I told
Yeah,
everybody,
that's a huge
man,
word,
the way you remember
That's
it is,
huge.
is whoever claims the usufruct is a fuck.
It's a good way to remember.
You so fucked.
Right.
And we were given that word, so when we meet the devil or yourself, and you can look at it in your ego, when it starts taking over, you can look at him in the eyes and go, buddy, you're so fucked.
Anybody got questions along the way here? Or?
Well, one question before I go much further. You still living in Dearborn?
No, I've been down in Florida 35 years.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad lives in Dearborn, so I was just coming up to see him.
Okay.
We came doing cartwheels out of that courthouse, and I'm like, dude, we're going to Michigan. We'll go next week.
Well, yeah,
We had another guy.
It's
he
a standard MO.
Yeah.
Each time we've run down, each time we apply the philosophy and you follow it, it's the standard outcome.
They wanted to give me 60 days. Every time I was in that courtroom, 60
wanted
days.
to give me 10 years,
60
so-
days. Yeah, in 10 years.
10 years, and the way I tell everybody to prepare for your court cases, if the threat of jail is there, is
Clear
you
the
don't
books.
think about your court case. You prepare your affairs and get all your house in order. And along the way, you think you got a couple questions. There's only 4. It's, can I have your name? Do you have a claim against me? Do you know anybody who has a claim against me? And what evidence do you have to show this court I have further obligation in this matter? That's it. So you get your affairs ready and you think of 4 questions. Other than that, you don't even consider anything else. Your paperwork has already done its job. You put it in there, they ignore it, you don't care. You put in there. Oh, also, when you put in paperwork, endorse the back. Pay to the order of the United States without recourse.
On everything you put in.
Everything you put in.
We're doing business
Why?
with who?
Because that paper. Because remember.
Because otherwise,
Right. And that's to see when you sign your birth certificate. That's how you sign it, right?
The clerks of the court shall deliver the clerk of the district courts for all the respective districts all the journals, dockets, books, files, records, and other papers belonging to any matter connected with said court. So anything you put in the case is automatically going to district court. So why not just put a pay to the order of the United States there? Once they get it, you're absolved of discharge anyway.
relying on 12
Because 12 U.S.C. 95A is assignment, transfer, deliver. There's like 27 different ways to do this and no way to screw it up.
Nice.
I mean, if they even put an idiot clause at the ass end of it, saying if you've done anything in good faith in connection with this, nobody can be held liable in any court for it. So if you didn't go to court because you thought you were absolved of duty, you can't be held liable for it. If they hold you liable for it, then they're just trying to force that debt on you when you've already been emancipated.
They're just trying to beat them up.
Yeah.
what we found too is the driver's license makes you the person that receives process for that entity.
Right, and
You're the
that's,
representative of that entity.
well, actually, until you set up with the Treasury Direct account, you're going through the Federal Reserve side of the Social Security number. The
Okay.
Social Security number has that Federal Reserve account on the back. You do a Treasury Direct account, attach that same Social Security number, it defaults to the Treasury Direct side.
So that's opening up that separate account.
Right, let's open up that separate
The
account.
other side of the coin.
Once you do that, your driver's license no longer is a registered agent. It's just, oh, okay, that's the guy who's
Just
protecting
an
me.
ID that
It just becomes an
protects
ID just to give the psychopath so he doesn't shoot you.
Right.
Because he's not trained any other way.
Yeah, he's
Right,
trained.
yeah, no,
he's
yeah.
trained to work off that computer, and if that computer doesn't
And
have
that's what I
anything,
told
he can't make a
that's
contract.
another thing
with
I
it.
told that room full of attorneys that day, the state attorney. I looked right at her, I go, you know, the only reason I have one of your little pieces of plastic is your psychopath with a gun doesn't fucking shoot me. And they never rebutted that he was a psychopath, so they all
Right.
agree.
No question.
So,
So
No,
no,
that's-
what is the account that you have that you set up through Treasury Direct? What can you do with that then?
Anything your heart desires.
all right, now that what you're going to do with that is you're going to go in and do the form 1048 to have them do an investigation. And you're also going to contact the registrar, whoever registers your birth, to tell them to switch over the minor accounts. Once you have all that in place, then you no longer are a minor. What it can also do is you also use anything that's in there is going to become the underwriting for everything you do. So it's basically going to turn it into a debt sucking mechanism because all you're doing is changing one debt for another. One evidence of indebtedness, one security in exchange for another United
You're just
States
moving
security.
digits, man.
So a court case, an order comes in, pay the order of the United States. That's just an exchange of a security, so I want the security underwriting this. And what I told someone is, if you do that, I think the court will come back and saying this is an invalid security.
See, once you get set up, you're going to have infinite amount of digits to work with.
Yeah.
Because you're no longer dealing with the Federal Reserve side where you have to earn. You've already gave at the door. So now it's kind of like, Boris got a good analogy. Here's 30 grand to open up the restaurant. All I want is to be comped. I don't want my money back. Just comp me every time I come in.
That's right.
That's basically what we're doing. We gave the reversionary interest over to you. Now comp anything I want. But now that's why they had to put
But you have to have an account to do that.
Yeah,
you have to have the account.
Right.
And you have to connect into the Treasury to have that ability.
And it's all
to do
commercial anyway,
Right.
after a certain point. And like
Now-
I said, the UCCs that we've got filed I believe this has stopped 2 people from getting pulled over and harassed. Just based on that. One, I know it has because it's all they got filed.
it. Right. We're not stopping there because
No,
we
we're
were
not
there.
stopping.
No.
Now, on the UCCs, when we set up the accounts, you say minor accounts. You know, I think we need to define. Right now, when we say minor accounts, we like minors as children. Is that,
MINOR, yeah.
yeah. But is that really the same thing when you say minor accounts in that terminology? Or is it just accounts that are associated with
A minor account
that-
is a custodian controlling it. So it'd be
Okay.
like the state sets
Right.
one up, And then
It's
what
like I
you
have an
have,
account for Noelle. She's a minor.
Yeah.
Right. Exact same
right.
shit.
So what you have is at the state level, they said they register the birth and they set up this minor account. Now the custodians become Department of Health and Services, the Department of Children,
Correct.
the hospitals, all
Right.
those people who are taking care of the child, the actual physical child.
Sure.
So when they come in and take the child away from the home, they're actually protecting that child and his interests in those accounts from the custodian that's currently using it because of abuse or whatever else. The reality of it is you never set it up, so you have no claim. They're coming in to protect their interests.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's not about the children. It's about
No.
their interests.
Right.
That's why you always want
And the
best
children
interest
is
of
the
child.
state's.
Right.
And that's
So-
why you
so-
hear the statements that they make about the kids aren't yours. They're
Correct. So that's why you have to come in and claim those accounts because that allows
Yeah,
you
that
as a parent to come in and claim your minor,
Marriage
come and
contract's
put those under
contract
your
with the state,
custodianship
so
out of their hands.
Giving
Right.
them
And as long as they don't have it, they have no way of going into it to get because all they're doing is just giving service, and they're getting paid for services rendered. They're going through those accounts to get paid.
right.
So you just want to take all those accounts and put them under your custodianship, and now they can't touch them, unless you authorize it. It takes it out of their hands.
Well, to go back to the birth certificate, the state of Michigan says that they don't register the child, they register the event. So what took place at that point there was the creation of an account.
In the account,
That
exactly.
value of man being born
Now,
was deposited. Now the law, it's called the
How
book
fucked
copy.
up is that? You get a
If
life
you go get a birth
certificate,
certificate, you
they
got
give
two of them,
money.
right?
I mean, that's
You
just-
got book copy and you got
It's
birth
not, they
certificate.
just expanded on
So that book copy
the
was
old
the
English
deposit
term
of that
that
value.
they used to
Then
be
we
land.
abandoned at the state level.
The monarchs
We
used
need
to
go back,
control
claim it,
everything
set
through
it up,
land,
boom.
and they progressed to the next
Right.
step. Well, let's take it away from land, and now let's take it to the people on
Right,
the
and
land.
now what they've done
And let's
is
control that.
I still believe when all this was done, they had it all set up at birth. Someone went and challenged it and said that's involuntary servitude, so we have to do it this way. That's
they
what I
have to
believe.
do it.
That's what I believe
Because then it goes back to slavery
of stories
thing.
where
Right.
people could take
Right,
their social security card and get what they needed.
Right.
It was like a
But it doesn't happen like that anymore. So
Yeah.
somewhere along the line, someone challenged it and said it was an involuntary servitude to force everybody to be that way.
Right.
Which is right. That's perfectly 100% correct because it denies free will.
Right.
You cannot deny free will, so they're going to give you free will. They just didn't tell you there was a second. There was another way to go.
Right.
Nobody told
Oh yeah,
you.
you didn't ask, we're not telling.
Yeah.
They're not hiding it. They're just not teaching it.
Well, what did mom bring to school to identify you? The birth certificate. So that made you a slave. Here, learn how to be a good slave, son.
More so today than ever.
Yeah.
Not really, because all it is just you haven't completed delivery. You can say on that name all you want.
Right.
And in fact, I let them call. I must be the only guy on earth that doesn't give a flying fuck when anybody calls him. Because here's the deal: any name you're going to call me, I'm just going to add it on to the. I'm just going to add it on there and go here. The reversionary is surrendered. Have a nice day. I don't give a shit. You can call me whatever you want. It's just, I don't get the glory from
resolved
it.
in any court in the land.
Yeah, I don't get
So-
any glory from it, so I'm not the one glorifying someone through it.
Right.
You're just here.
I'm just here.
Right. For the group's sake, let's say that they're not involved in a court case, but they do their paperwork
That's no fun.
and stuff. Well, that keep the
This is all designed to go behind the scenes, guys. If you're in court, it's because something's screwed up. Because that's public. They're not going to discuss this in public. They will never do it.
They don't want to. They don't want to have these
They
conversations.
can't.
That's
They
why.
can't.
That's why they put you
Really?
incompetent. Because now you don't talk in the.
It's not, we're dealing with
Gotcha.
you're dealing with trade
Right.
secrets,
Got
man.
it.
You
Right.
can't. They're not going to discuss this.
And
in
the
court.
people behind you's thinking this, but really you're the one. You know what's going on.
Right.
But it's amazing how they
Right.
set this
So
thing up.
the whole thing,
Right.
if you're in public and you're dealing with this stuff in court, there's a tightrope you have to walk,
Sure.
and it's a very narrow one. And I know how narrow
I'm
it gets.
sure. I'm sure. Well, that's where the fear factor comes in. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I know how narrow that gets because
That's a good diet.
you got to
Right. Yeah.
you got to push it right up to that limit, and that's why we're so glad. When you get the incompetency, and you want to do when I got it, it allowed me to push the limits that other people couldn't.
It's almost
I mean,
like
I can live pushing right to the edge. You just then getting pissed off and just be walking away from it.
it's almost like you're carrying a white flag, and it's like, all right, don't cease fire while you're going to the other side. They're like,
I
all
know.
right, he's going the right way, leave him
Right,
alone.
and basically,
kind of
what I
thing.
found is the things I would do, which would just we already dealt with that earlier today. That's what the responses would be in the courts. We dealt with that earlier. I mean, I went through years of I'd walk in, sit down, some attorney would come out and goes, "We rescheduled your case." I'm like, oh, okay.
So what do these guys
Walk
need to
in
start?
30, 45 minutes late. Oh, we rescheduled your case. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, who gets that shit sent to them every time they walk in? And that's what was going on.
So where you want these guys to start at? I mean,
Well, the only other question I really have is, I mean, you've gone through this whole route and everything else. Other than being in the court, have you been approached by any other entity?
I have been approached by one, but he was part of that court case, and I'm not sure what his purpose was. I did screw up a lot. You know, like I said, I screwed up a lot. I should have been done with this a long, long time ago. But you know, you make mistakes, you live, you learn, you understand more, so you can help other people through. But I did get approached by that one guy, but nobody else has come forth. I get yelled at a lot when I call these agents. They hang up, they give me runaround. I mean, it's just all kinds of stuff. But lately, I have found out simple handwritten letters under just simple stamp get the best results. By the way.
Yeah, I've known that for years.
I don't do certified mail. I don't do registered mails because that appears like you're looking for, appears they're going to get in trouble for it or something like that. So you do a simple handwritten letter under regular stamp and just ship it out to someone. And I actually get more results from that than anything else. I did have the state attorney's office call me up one day. I wrote down regarding an IRS matter that we're dealing with on the 22nd. They're going back in to see about what they're going to do about the incompetency. But I wrote them up and told them I wasn't a party to this matter. And they called me back up a couple days later. And they go, who else have you told about this? So I go, just everybody else on the name there. And they go, okay. I guess I didn't tell the right people because they didn't take care of it. So probably should have told Secretary of State and some others.
Right.
So we'll just handle it my way.
A good thing to understand too is since we're the receptor of processor, we need to give it to the secretary, and that's what we really found out about my foreclosure that was dissolved. Is we found out that the attorneys for the plaintiff, the bank, did my job by notifying the Secretary of State. So we finally reverse engineered it that any process you get, you forward it to the Secretary of State. What does she say in care of Secretary of State next to the name?
Next to the name, like a court
And that
case,
goes to the principal and gets.
The only problem is we sent it all to the Secretary of State, and the lady on the other line goes, "There's nothing here resembling
That was
process
the
of
case
service."
that I'm just dealing with now. So what they're doing is they're not giving us proper service. Remember
They're not
the
getting
four
proper
corners?
notice.
Where's the proper service? I get it now because they're not giving us
Right.
proper service.
They're not giving you proper
to do our
service to
job.
forward off
So
to
how
the
are we
actual
liable
agent.
if they're not giving us the right paperwork to do our job and provide it to the Secretary of State?
So you're still hanging on them no matter how they look at it.
We're giving all
They're
kinds
hanging
of
themselves.
throwing them all kinds of liabilities.
So we
Right.
brought that up in the federal court too. It was like, hey man, we forward everything out to the Secretary of State to deliver it to the principal agent. Secretary of State called us back saying there's nothing here resembling service of process, so it appears these guys are just simulating legal process.
I'm telling you, Judge.
I mean, we that's how we came up.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like
Shit.
like we
I'm
did
like-
this according to the law.
He was just.
This is what occurred. This appears
he
what they're
just
doing. I have no
frazzled,
reason to
man.
believe otherwise.
Right. Right.
You know.
So I think that's an important thing with anything doing with the courts is get it. Who's the entities? The states. Get out of the way. Don't say I'll take care of the state. Get out of the way and get them together. Let it take
them
care
have
of
it.
business.
Sure. Let them.
Right?
have it.
Where's the evidence that I have any further obligation anymore? I gave it to them.
Now, how
Do you
does
anticipate anything, hearing from anybody when you set up the account with DTC? And
I'm not going to set up an account with DTC. Just Treasury Direct.
Okay.
I'm not going in any of that other stuff because that's none of my realm. I mean, that's all for them to deal with. That's their end of the usufruct, the bonds, the DTCs, all that shit. That's all their end of the whole deal. And I don't.
So
I don't
you just need
belong
that
in
personal. You need a personal checking account, non-interest bearing. Once you have that, you can take that account number, link it with your Social Security card when you set up your UCC.
No, your Treasury Direct.
Yeah, your
Treasury
Treasury
Direct.
which is done through that.
Yeah, and then after that you contact them via email. What they're going to do is they'll send you back an email saying, we need this information and the bond information in lieu of knowing the serial numbers that must be provided, a specific month and year of purchase. When I was on the phone with the guy, I asked him if I don't know, can I just start at the date of birth on the birth certificate and go forward? He's like, yeah, just put the date of birth up until now. Then I go, Social Security number. He's like, yeah. I go, names. What if I don't know all the addresses? He goes, look, we don't expect y'all to know everything about these securities. Just give us a date range and some information, and we'll go find out what's out there.
And all you need is the one issue.
These guys have been very, very.
That's the one you're looking for.
very
That's
helpful.
the one that's got the value.
Right. These guys have been very helpful in
Really?
what they're doing. I mean, very just upfront, helpful.
That was Treasury.
This is Treasury Direct. I don't approach this as trying to separate something. I approach this as turning that Social Security number into a debt-sucking mechanism. And this is entirely just a business venture for me. I don't get into the Patriot stuff. I get very pissed off when people start doing that. I'm like, I don't give a shit because it's not where I just don't care. I got out of that a long time ago, and I approach it like this, and I'm still going on with it, and everybody else who's left and gone off their own way have been running into dead ends. And I'm like, well, we're still going. We haven't run into the dead end yet, and we're almost where we're supposed to be. It just took some time.
Right.
Now, how does this work? We get those accounts set up, we get all that stuff together. Obviously, like I still have a mortgage right now. If I get that set up, I can.
Should be able to take that mortgage and dump it in there and buy securities through Treasury Direct to pay it off, or
Yeah.
redeem the security behind it.
Okay, and that's for assets I already have right now.
Because on your mortgages and your loans that you've gotten, what should have been done at closing is to put pay to the order of the United States without recourse on them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that should have been done at the closing table or when you get
No,
your
I
car
remember
loans and
seeing
everything
that.
else. Yeah, and that would have stopped all the loans because then the promissory note would have been deposited with the Treasury. They would have converted it over to the bank. You would have gotten a check back. We know people who've had that happen.
No shit.
They got a check back for the promissory note from the Treasury. But what you do with that check is you also take that and deposit it back with them and tell them to retire that debt because debt had to issue for that check to issue.
So you can't take that. You got to give that debt. You got to get that check back.
Oh, sure.
Well, if
you
wanna
don't
keep
want
it
it.
at zero.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
it's
zero.
Exactly. You got to keep
I mean,
it.
you don't need it because you're not going to use it because anything you buy out there is a debt. It
Right.
has a security already attached to it as evidence of indebtedness.
And that was
anything you
that's my
swipe
next.
as an instantaneous. It should be an exchange transaction of securities. Your security for their security for that for whatever like.
Yeah.
27 cents for whatever. It's still a debt obligation. It's still a
Right.
security. It says 27
Yeah.
cents. But you don't know the accounting of the 27 cents. It could be $27 trillion on
Sure.
the ass end of it.
Sure.
Because in actuality, when you're talking about debt, 27 cents is worth more than $27 trillion.
Right.
Yeah.
What moving forward? All your paperwork's done.
Associated to that card.
It's unlimited credit.
Oh.
And because
Okay, that's the part I was trying to understand.
because you're not doing it in your name, you're doing it in the state's name.
And the state has issued you that you have unlimited credit.
Right, and it's the state of the United States.
So you
which
can
is
walk up and say, I want to buy that car here.
Yes.
Swipe it.
And what we're
Or
gonna-
write a check against it.
Yeah, what I always approached this as was I understood that in order to do what I wanted to do dome homes, build dome homes, take one
Yeah.
torn out, do the dome home thing, and I understood in order to do that I had to take it out of commercial realm. That's all I knew. This is all a result. That's what I started. I didn't start because I had legal problems. I didn't start because I had
Right.
notions about the IRS shit or anything else.
Right.
I wanted to do this. I wanted to go into because building wooden square structures in high wind zones is fucking retarded.
Right. No, I'm with you there.
I mean, I don't know what people. It's just one of those things
Right.
you keep thinking over and over again, and once start people seeing something else. And I kept telling people, all you have to do is show the people something different, and the people will surprise you.
Yes, I
Yes.
will agree
They're
with that.
not ignorant. They're
Nope.
not stupid. They just haven't
They
been.
just
lack
need to
of
be
knowledge.
They
shown
haven't
right.
been showed.
Lack of
They
knowledge.
haven't been shown a new way of living.
Yes.
So this is the only way they know.
Exactly.
So you have to show them a new way, and you can't tell them. You can't preach it to them because they're like, well, what's in it for me? Because that's the way they're conditioned.
Right.
So you have to show it what's
That's
in
how
it
we're
for them.
raised, right?
Right.
Me.
You
Talk
have
to
to
any
show-
business coach. What do they tell you?
All right, so let me
Take
let me
care of
ask you,
yourself.
starting from zero
Mhm.
and moving forward, steps. What would a person take?
All right. First step. This is what we're coming up with. We send the birth certificates off for authentication for Taiwan or Canada. Doesn't matter.
Taiwan or Canada?
Yeah, Taiwan just because there's no signatory to any international treaty, or Canada just because they're not a signatory to the Hague. You're still going to end up with the same document in the end. It's going to be a full faith and credit. So you take that to the state. When you get that back, you send it up to the United States Secretary of State to re-authenticate it.
Secretary of State.
United
The
States.
state secretary of state.
Except for if you're in New Jersey, New Jersey goes to the Treasury and then the Secretary of State of the United States. All right, now in the meantime, while that's getting done, because that takes a little process, you do your little UCC1.
Which goes to the state.
That goes wherever it records. Whoever records the UCC. Some people have counties. Some people go to the Secretary of State. It all depends. Like Florida goes to a separate corporate. They've outsourced it to
Well, they
another
do.
corporation.
I think here they do it both county and state.
Okay. Then that's how you do it there. Just get your UCC1 filed and the UCC3 assignment when that's done. Set up your Treasury Direct account in the meantime. Let's see what else we got to do. There is a simple affidavit, Rule 220 Minnesota Rules of Procedure. Give you the outline of that.
When you get your birth certificate certified from the Secretary of State of the United States, does that need to go attached to the UCC, or is that just
no? That doesn't. That's going to be used for another purpose.
okay?
What we're looking at that one is with you in conjunction with the FARA registration with the Secretary of State.
All for an agency.
Yeah, and because we want him to negotiate the treaty. And what we're going to do is that's why you, also with your birth certificates, you write whoever registers them in your state and tell them you want to transfer the minor account to your Treasury Direct account.
Which you should have that set up before you do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have to have it set up
Right.
for that.
But that goes back to my question: if you don't have any minors, then because I don't have any kids.
Well, I do it. I set mine up
Just in
that way
case.
just in case.
What if
Because you can now what you can do
Who was that?
is
Record that one.
for your parents and other stuff you don't know. You
Well, that's
can
where I
always
was
go and
kinda-
claim. You can always put a minor account in there. And
That's why I was asking
theirs.
for the term definition of minor before.
Minor. Definition of minor. Minor means an individual under the 18 years of age. The term minor is also used to refer to an individual who has attained the age of 18 years but has not yet taken control of the securities contained in his and her minor account.
So it's everyone.
still a minor, you can be 100 years old.
That's
still be a
why
minor.
I wanted that definition earlier.
Yeah.
That's
Who was that recorded with?
and that's anybody in your family who has your family.
Or you can do anybody. You can do your friends, your family, some guy down the road, the homeless guy down the road, and help him out, take care of his account, and teach him along the way so he can go back on his thing. You can, what the minor account allows you to do is buy and manage his securities, but the securities will remain as the owner of the minor. The minor.
you're just
will
managing
be the owner.
for him.
And the reason you give up the reversion is because that minor account's a trust, or as part of an estate. And if the corpus does not surrender the reversion until or before or after death, the entirety of the estate will be treated as taxable. Commissioner versus estate of field. You have to give up the reversion. That's the one thing that's going to save you in all of this. Because if not, then you're going to pay the taxes on the securities when they come transfer the minor account.
Sure.
So you kind of want your UCC in place before you do anything with the minor accounts. That way that they know the reversion is there. So the comes on and says, no, wait a minute. Reversion of this estate has been surrendered to the United States. This minor may be an owner of these things, but he's not the grantor of that trust. And he may be the grantor, but he's not the owner because the reversion is elsewhere. Reversion goes back to the U.S.
What did you say record that with?
What?
The moving the minor account to the...
Whoever, I think it's whoever registers the birth.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be like like us, it's a registrar in Florida. Some places it's the county.
I'm not sure if it's a registrar or vital records.
Yeah, so it's going to be an individual.
You sure it's not the county? 'Cause I
Whoever
thought
signs the document.
I thought
is
the
gonna be the one
county
who
is
holds
the one
it.
where all births are registered.
Okay.
Right, whoever signs off on the document is going to be the
State
one
of
that holds the
Michigan.
account.
State of Michigan.
Yeah, state.
Is it state of Michigan?
Yeah.
So it's going to be your registrar. Like I said, whoever signs off certifies it.
So you could claim every person in this country as a minor that hasn't done the UCC.
Yes.
As long as you got their social
What I
security
get, what I
number.
But you're
get.
not going to get their money, but you only can manage.
No,
their-
but
No,
but you could
I understand,
release
but you
them
could
all.
release them from all of their
Exactly.
debts.
So
Hold on,
as we sit here,
Hold on. You could, but you won't be able to get the transfer done. Because first you have to do first you have
You
to
have
do
to have the birth certificate.
Nope.
No.
First, you have to be an authorized signatory in order to receive them, because they're going to do a signature check. And if you don't have valid legal, either it's yourself or it's another legal representative, and there has to be evidence of it. So you can claim everybody's minor account,
Sure.
but you ain't gonna get them transferred.
No, but if you get them, let's just say for shits and giggles, you want to be a great guy. Right? You want to take 10 homeless
Facebook.
people.
You want to give you a power of attorney.
You have them make power of
Boom.
attorney.
Power of attorney, then
Right,
you come,
and-
then you can take control and custodianship over their
And
minor
then
account.
eventually, at the end of it all, they'll
They-
get their own little card.
They'd kill
and
me.
they go,
They'd kill me.
Yeah, they'd start.
The 1% would just make me disappear.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically.
That's why I asked the question
You do
earlier.
this. You do this for yourself and your family.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but you
don't
teach
want it.
others.
well, that's
Teach them.
There should be no gag. There should be no non-disclosure agreements with any of this because it's all taken out of the laws.
right.
And it's not like I'm making this stuff up.
No.
It's right out of their law.
Right.
I just read the law. I mean, I'll talk to the guy. He's like, he goes, I go, yeah, I'm just in here to collect my minor account and everything else so I can be, on minor. I go, yeah, I finally read the law. He's like, really? You read the law? I was like, yep. And he goes, okay. They're just waiting. We just haven't done it. And we wonder why everything's all screwed up. And it's like, well, look in the mirror. Just understand that you're the problem.
Exactly.
And you're.
That is so.
And
That
as
is
long-
so
e- e-
opposite of
e-
what they're teaching.
Yeah,
You know,
and
it's
even if you don't think that way, just understand that you're the problem, and you now have something to work with.
right.
I mean, that's all it is. Because if you look at everything else as a problem, it's so big it overwhelms you,
Amen to
and
that,
you
brother.
can't take any action.
Amen to that.
But if you understand it's just me, I can change this.
Right.
This I can change. I can fill this hole inside here before I even attempt to even touch the hole without. And once all these holes start getting filled here, then you don't have to touch the without because then it takes care of itself. It's like any road, man. You fill up one pothole, it's great. You fill up all the potholes, you don't need to resurface the road.
Right.
Looks like mine, exactly, except for that name and everything.
Yeah.
My birth ticket's on the card.
Okay, so what's the next step then after
Well, you have to
moving
do
the
a
minor account?
Well, you have to do a 1048 tab and search for the bonds.
1048.
Yeah, it'll be a search for bonds. I have the information here you need.
Oh, okay.
And as far as that goes, we're not sure after that. Like I said, we're making it all up as we go along.
Nothing's come out of his ass lately.
Yeah. The last 14 minutes, nothing shot out.
Did you guys ever read the important information? This certificate is valuable.
Valuable.
How valuable is this? Anybody know?
It's infinite.
Just like
It's just a bond. Looks like a bond, don't it?
It is a
every
bond.
day the stock exchange closed.
I tell you something interesting. A couple of years ago, I went down and did a DBA on that name with the county.
Right.
Okay, so the other day I said, I better dissolve this. So I sent in it for dissolution, and they sent it back, and it's identical to this.
Really?
No shit.
Yep, dissolution of name.
You gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I mean, they have everything out there. We pull, like I said, I keep on telling people, man, we follow one word, yes, right, one philosophy of the Dark Crystal. I get most of my information from movies and cartoons.
Right.
And
Oh, yeah.
and I have
There's a lot of
philosophy-
information in them.
And I have a philosophy I follow. The law, I do not follow. And this is what everybody else has brought to me. Everybody else has brought the law to me. I don't follow it. I don't study it. I don't search it. I don't even like reading
The
it.
law behind the philosophy.
I hate it. I hate talking about the laws.
I know.
Right.
A lot of it just
Fucking-
can't make,
it's just,
can't make
it's
sense
annoying
out
as
of it
hell.
anyway.
But once you start looking at things certain ways, then everything else just starts showing up. And it's just been amazing how much has actually just clicked right into this. I mean, stuff you never even thought would be related is related. I mean, it's just like, holy shit, we didn't think that was related. I mean,
The pieces just start falling together, man.
It's crazy.
and it's been these last few months, this last year, it's just been amazingly just so fast with the way it's coming.
That's cool.
And
It's gotta feel good too. I mean, seriously. I mean,
No, I mean,
you guys, been running this shit for years. It's gotta feel
the
good.
results aren't as fast as we like them, but the information coming down the pipe means when we get a result, we've already got 3 different directions to go with it, and all 3 different directions lead to the same outcome. So we know that it's all getting predictable.
Right.
So we know that you do certain things certain ways. You approach it the way we approach it. You just keep sticking on 1295A. Eventually, you're going to get to that point where they're not going to be able to go any further.
Here's what's amazing to me is the fact that, all right, the name's got like $800,000 lien with the IRS or whatever and everything, and you know, and you used to be afraid of them, you know, but the path we've been going, you know, when we put that case in the federal court, I wasn't thinking about that 800,000. I was thinking about that. What was in front of me was the 60 days.
Sure.
All of a sudden, I go to Boris. I'm like, Boris, we put that in federal court. That's federal IRS. Who's going to be at the courthouse when I show up Monday? Is it going to be federal agents? I didn't know what was going to happen. But it was an amazing thing when you walk. I was sitting outside the courtroom, and then somebody walked into the courthouse, and the prosecutor lady looked at me. I'm like, wow, she looked at me kind of funny, you know. And then the judge was sitting there, and he looked at me. I'm like, wow, what's going, you know. So I walked in, and it was like a whole different world, man. There were no Fed there. There was anybody there other than just, listen, we need to put you aside here because obviously we have a problem, and that's what they did. They went incompetent. Because that's all you can do in state court is competence. All the
Which is just so
Yeah, the state court.
so
the state
ass
court-
backwards.
Well,
It's
no,
all it
the state-
is.
The state court is incompetent.
reflective pool, you remember?
Yeah,
Federal
yeah.
court is where
Ass
you get
backwards.
discharged. You're only going to get discharged on federal level.
That's
You're not
yeah.
going to get it at the state level.
State
Right.
is, they're just.
Well, that's why I was asking
administration.
about the IRS, because I've got an opportunity to meet with agents here locally. And I thought that might be an opportunity to try to work through them to
Yeah,
the
you
IRS.
can do that too.
I like the 3949
You
too.
can do 39, but that goes to Fresno.
I like that. That's a good idea.
CID.
Get the accountants out there to find the bonds. What's
It's
going
funny.
on?
It's funny because my involvement with the IRS was nil until I went down to the CID to talk to them about this.
Yeah.
And then they send the local agent out to fuck with me.
See, I've already gone through these guys. The CID. Listen to this. The CID was looking for me, and I've got 29 rental units down there, and I've got one guy that helps me out to do the maintenance on them and everything, and these two guys from CID, a black guy and a white guy, show up. He goes, "Where's Enron?" You know, blah blah blah, and he'd be like, you know, he called the black guy Obama and everything. He didn't. He was
Nice.
He was just fucking with these guys. So I had the perfect guy.
It's a Russian. It's a Russian and
And
a
then
black dude.
they got with one of my tenants, and she said, yeah, he's supposed to come by and get a rent check this day or something. So I guess they had two cars, two guys over here, and I never showed up or something. But remember I was talking to you about that mortgage that was dissolved? All right, they were looking, you know, I didn't know about this mortgage. My other buddy in New York says, you know, Jim, you got a mortgage. I'm like, what? We went and looked. I'm like, wow. So anyways, all of a sudden I thought, you know, I haven't heard from those the CID guys. And about the same time when the mortgage was dissolved, they stopped looking.
Really?
Here's what I think happened. Because of the fact that the what do you call it? The Secretary of State was notified, and it went that route. I think there was now the presumption of me being the principal was no longer the case anymore because of the way it went with that mortgage. Because right when that mortgage was dissolved, they stopped showing up. So there was a completion of a circuit there
Sure.
that got them off the thing.
Sure.
So it's just amazing.
But they don't
stuff.
tell you what the hell it is.
Oh, that's
No,
not-
that's
we-
why we're
we got-
feeling in the dark, baby.
Right.
We reverse everything. We reverse engineer. What happened?
We got a lady who she filed a UCC3. A month to the day after she filed the UCC,
Oh yeah.
she gets a call from Texas. Evidently, she has an airship in the second most productive oil field in America, the 11th most productive natural gas field in America, getting ready to be number one when the brine mining operation goes into place.
Which ain't good.
What she did when she investigated is found out that the attorneys in Texas and California has falsified all the probate
Fuck yeah.
from the amount from the time her grandmother died until now. But she would never have known this if we hadn't filed that. They had to contact
Oh
her.
shit.
That's wild.
So
That's
You're,
insane.
you're pressing buttons when you're putting this stuff in. You're
And
So
you know,
your
moving-
oh, yeah.
relatives
Oh, yeah.
from past might have
You're
told
taking-
something
you're
old
taking-
to them.
You wanna hear
something-
something?
You want to
Your
hear something
life.
even funnier?
It's your life.
Do you know who this woman is?
They've been living off of you.
Oh.
Jerry Kane's widow. You know Jerry Kane?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
really.
It's Jerry Kane's widow.
Donna
I've
Lee?
been talking with her. I've been talking with her, and I've got her away from the whole.
He's got
fighting
a about
aspect.
face,
Oh,
unbelievable.
And she's
man.
about face, and she's all good.
Who's
she
Jerry
just wouldn't
Kane?
believe it.
Jerry King was going around teaching people about.
He was teaching people how to finish the contracts on mortgages
Right.
to get the
And we
mortgages
think
settled.
somebody had him killed.
And what Donna found is that he was going through Arkansas on his way home, and they stopped off at the Walmart like they always do. But before that, there was a little stop off in the middle of the interstate between 3 Mexicans and the local officers. The 3 Mexicans killed the son or the cousin or the nephew of
The
the
chief.
local chief.
Oh, it was a son.
And it wasn't like it was a
son?
shootout. This was a triangulation shot kill. The head was literally blown off his body.
No shit.
Yes. The video that everybody saw has been altered and falsified. And taken it to 3 video experts, and they can show it.
No shit.
The video, and then what they did is it was all a Fast and Furious operation.
Of course.
The Mexicans were
Of
using
course.
AK-47s. They were in a white van with an orange top. Jerry's driving a white van,
Not orange top.
not an orange top. His son and him did have a weapon, but that's just for protection, and it wasn't fully auto. But the witnesses even said there
What
was
the
3
fuck?
Mexicans. They were shooting the fully automatic weapons at these cops. What it was we believe that since that officer in that area has been notified by the feds and has had various complaints for human rights abuses and racism
Right,
and other
right.
shit, and he's very nepotistic with his family, we think that was a message saying don't put your family members in this position.
Wow.
And that was something else. They sent a message to him.
So they ended up cornering Jerry and his son
So
in the
they ended
Walmart
up in
parking
Walmart.
lot and gunned them both down.
Yeah, I'm gunning them both
Wow.
down.
Oh,
It
And
was
use that
one of
other
those-
incident as
Yep.
the reason
That's
why.
the
we
reason
did it.
why.
Oh,
And then
wow.
what it was
What the
2
fuck?
birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They just happened to be in the area.
Now, speaking of foreclosures, like I said, I stopped paying, as we seen what was going, my brother was doing some studying on mortgages and foreclosure, so we stopped doing the payments. And I stopped doing one 5 years this past April. Well, they finally, last October, they brought some retired judge in to do the summary judgment. So a day before the sale, Boris put together a letter that basically to the attorney, to the
Clerk of the court.
clerk of court, yeah, that's since you're the trustee of the record and protector of the public trust, we'd like to see the registration certificate for the judge who signed the order and the attorneys of record. Because how can we give people with unclean hand this equity? I still have the property.
Oh shit.
I sent it to the CC, the chief judge, and the attorney
Really?
general. And the chief judge put the letter with the copy of the envelope into the case, and still in it.
Would that work in a non-judicial state? Like
Yes,
California?
because they're still selling it.
Yeah, but they do it on the court steps and the court doesn't get involved.
Then I would ask whoever's involved with that. I would ask for
The
their
escrow agent
registration
themselves sell
certificate.
it. The escrow agent for the bank themselves sell it. Goes straight out of the court. Good old Arnold Schwarzenegger put that in
Oh,
place.
that's true. Yeah, California.
Yeah.
God, I lost so much respect for that guy. over
I
the
know
last
he
10
was a
years.
good guy
Seriously.
till I found out how bought off he
That's why what
was.
you do to counteract all that shit is you dump it in the federal court under a Siemens suit, and you name every agent, every attorney on there as a registered agent,
Okay.
and the CEOs of the banks that are initiating, their witnesses are going to be registered agents as well.
Here's what you do.
Because they're taking an estate of the United States and administrating it. They act as state officials.
Here's
Well,
what
they
you do.
absolved
You do it-
themselves.
Here's what you do. You sit down and put together a mechanics lien.
Yeah.
And then you do a UCC with the same thing. You mechanics lien in the court, in the
For
clerk.
taking care of their
for-
property.
Yeah, how much you charge for
right.
it? My
Yeah. All the
what I charge is
improvements that I made.
a lot more than even a professional would. I got my value
Heart
of
and
my
soul.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've got what I did with my properties.
But
I've
it's
got
still false because
$150,000 liens on. it.
your local courts and your local counties are basically prize courts, and all they do is divvy up prizes from captured booty. So you.
Well, the crazy thing that happened after they took the house, because we were in the process of getting a modified mortgage.
Yeah.
And while we were in the process, in the final stage of it, they went to the courthouse and sold the house without telling us.
That's happened a lot.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I wake up the next morning and I got a guy pounding on my door, threatening me physically to get out of the property.
I would call the
So-
cops on that.
I tried that. That's the first thing I did.
No.
And they
As far as I
said
know,
we don't get
California-
involved
but here-
in
When
that.
somebody's
Here-
threatening my physical.
Exactly, that's what I
As
said.
far as I know, in California, don't they still have to go through the court to get the possession?
I don't think so.
Yes, I know. We did one guy who had to go through the clerk. And if they have to go to the court in any way, they may be able to get the foreclosure non-judicially and
Yeah.
have their sale. But they still have to go through the court to throw you
Do
out.
the 90
Rid of
days,
possession.
right.
Rid of possession.
So what they
Right.
do, so
They can
once-
threaten all they
the
want.
second they go into court with that writ of possession, it
Then
went up
you
to district
come-
court. So
Yeah.
what you do now is you go up to district court and reclaim the securities and use that to settle up that matter down here, because they have no right of possession. They only bought a fucking mortgage. A mortgage is a special kind of lien.
That's what I thought. I shouldn't have left.
At least Florida.
Because the minute
law-
I walked
Florida
out,
law
they
comes
just stepped in. They broke the door down and took
He was
it.
well trained to get you out of that house.
Exactly.
And Florida law 697.02 is a mortgage is held to be a special kind of lien and not a guarantee of right of or of legal
Title
transfer of legal
to the
title,
property.
nor
Yep.
possession of property.
So people are just ignorant though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well, they play you. They play you,
They have
yeah.
to leave this house and they just leave and the house is vacant.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Or
they-
they-
Well, that's the fucking mob, man.
Or
What
they
you
try
doing?
and threaten you out. We have
Yeah.
one of our buddies had one of the cops down there come in with a full flak jacket and walk around his neighborhood and start talking to everybody and tell them how much, hey man, this guy dangerous, is this and that, and everybody was like, no, but he still got out because he just couldn't handle the pressure.
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Well, then they contacted me and said that there was a case that they needed to go through it. The government is going to make sure that you were handled properly. They fill in the paperwork.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
go, 2
Yeah,
weeks
okay.
later, I get a check for $500. It was a $500,000 house.
Well,
I get a check for $500, and I'm
you
like,
send a thank you letter?
yeah. No, it's going to be UCC. That's going to be my thank you letter.
Yeah, right.
UCC.
What follows that after we get?
I don't know yet because
That's what he said.
because the 1048 they send out the public debt and then they contact you after they find stuff and then it's a process.
Oh, okay,
I don't know the process. I haven't been through it. I just did it.
okay.
So we sent that out, and this is what I was told when I contacted them. After they do the search, they'll contact you with the bonds, and then they'll give you instructions on what, or talk to you with what you're going to do next.
Okay.
You guys seen that guy on TV that shows you how to reclaim stuff from the state, right?
No, I haven't seen that.
But let's go.
Yeah, the guy,
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
what we're doing.
Question
We're
marks
going
all
back
over
and
his shirt.
salvaging what we,
Right. Well, first you got to figure out what's out there, because there might be shit out there you have no idea
That's,
about.
that's why you're asking. That's why you have them go into the water.
Land in Tennessee.
Make them do the
My
research.
cousins, they never told the rest of the family that we own land in Tennessee and have oak trees. Him and his sister been selling these trees and this land for years and not giving us anything.
Uh-huh.
So we don't know what's going on.
Gotta love family, don't
Yeah.
you?
Love them or kill them.
Love
Yeah.
family.
It's been going on for 20 years. now.
oh my God.
Anybody out here have any questions?
We got a guy. I mean, we got a guy out in Las Vegas, a buddy of mine, who's been helping out with us. He's from here. He's in Kansas right now.
Oh, yeah.
But he has a cousin out in Las Vegas who was beat down by like 8 cops.
Nice.
I mean, they hurt him. They internal bleedings and everything.
Nice.
So what we're doing, as I told him, I go do this process on that. 9-210 to the district court, and when you don't get a response from it, immediately turn around and file a Seaman suit against each and every one of those officers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Registered agents,
So they have
As
14
registered
days to
agents.
reply.
They have 14 days
So
to
they don't-
reply.
When
they don't,
And when they don't, and the reason why you name them registered agents, because it creates a fiduciary duty under 49 USC. There's a, I forget exactly what it is.
Well, it links them to that federal court.
But
is
what it
does, man.
is the United States is basically a giant labor organization.
Yes.
So the officers took it upon their own free will
Right.
to take an asset of the labor organization
To beat the hell out of it.
and use it for their own purpose,
Right.
which
Punching
breach of fiduciary duty. That's why you label them as registered agents.
That's what the Civil War was all about, was to creating this thing, get rid of private slavery and make it all public.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Right.
it is.
So they have so it's basically, no, it's not even get rid of private slavery. It's just get rid of slavery altogether.
Voluntary servitude.
Yeah, but usufruct is that voluntary servitude. So you're not really you're either enslaved or you're not.
Yeah.
If you surrender your slavery, which is your salvation, by the way, because they sold it to you as salvation. So it's the that you need money to survive, and that's bullshit. That's
It is
slavery.
bullshit.
That's slavery.
It is.
Oh,
slavery.
Well,
It is slavery.
That's slavery.
I don't even sure it is.
Beach House went in, and well, Beach House, when the psych asked him, how you doing? He goes, good. She goes, did you get a job? He goes, why would I want one of those? She goes, well, how do you live? He goes, by the grace of God. She went like, ah! She couldn't handle it because that wasn't.
Oh God! Oh God!
It is the truth.
Let's see. The last thing I said to that same shrink, it was a court shrink, Miss Foreman. Poor that poor woman. Man. We were sitting out front, and this was the last time I was in that court, and they tried to get me to plead guilty, and I asked, why the hell would I trespass against the claim of God? And I went down that route. They immediately, the attorney got up, ran out, got her, brought her back in, and she did her thing, and we're out in the hallway. And I'm like, why are you interfering? She goes, because I think you need help. I go, why do you think I need help? She goes, because you can't do anything. I go, what do you mean? She goes, I go, all I want is an answer to my one question. You can shove red hot pokers up my ass all day you want.
Just give me an answer.
Just give me an answer.
And what was the other thing Jim goes? He goes, he was getting ready to go to court. She was in her time. He goes, did the name come out of your mother's vagina, or did you come out of your mother's vagina? Oh my God! I love it.
Wow.
You guys, we got something going on down here. What, Jim's got something in August?
Oh yeah, Jim wants his gathering of the tribes down there at
Guys are more than
down
welcome
there
to
in
come on
St.
down.
Pete Beach.
We're at St. Pete Beach. I'm in Palm Harbor.
Some
which
place
is
called the
north of
Shell
Florida.
Haven down in St. Pete Beach. I don't know the address of it.
Yeah, we'll get it.
But
When
if
this
you're
fall?
willing,
What's that?
This fall?
if you're willing,
Yeah,
beach, if you're
when
willing,
is it?
if Beach House needs anything, you have it. Be willing to trade you 2 weeks. Shell Haven.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Off season with
Mr.
1 hour
Barner.
jet ski rental.
Cool. Cool.
He trades for everything. with
When is that,
us.
August?
I think it's the week after Labor Day or Memorial Day or whatever the hell happens in September.
Labor
there.
Day.
Labor Day.
Boris, I got a question for you. You spot out numbers and court cases. And
Don't he
it's
really?
like,
It's
oh my
unbelievable.
fucking
It's
God.
incredible.
My question is, my memory doesn't work nearly as efficiently as yours.
Actually,
That's why we have video cameras.
Exactly.
Right.
We learned that lesson on Skype. We did it
Here's
for
what
6
I,
months and nobody
with
could
every
remember anything,
meeting,
and
with every
finally
meeting we
said we're gonna
had,
record
I
all this.
recorded it.
Yep.
And what I'd do is I'd walk in the morning for an hour or whatever, and I'd plug
Listen
that
to
thing,
it.
and I'd keep. I'll
Muscle-
listen.
muscle
There's
memory.
one that I'm listening to like 7, 8 times now. It's a real good one that really helped me with some of the things I've been going through. And you just keep reading, and
Yep.
listening over and over. That's the way I learn.
What's your strongest muscle?
Just record
Muscle memory.
everything.
Muscle memory. Muscle
Just
memory.
listening to it, because what'll happen is you'll listen to it one time, and then when you go to listen again, you'll go, okay, I get that now, because you heard it a few times. It starts falling into place. So get yourself one of those little recorders.
Well, I guess my other question would be then, when you go into court, right? Do you have to have it all up here, or
No, it's couples questions.
Do they give
It's
you
4
a-
questions.
There's 4
it's just a same
That's
damn
it.
question?
That's it.
That's what he's saying. He's
Over
he's
and over
the, like the
and
14-minute thing that he came in
You
with.
start off with the
so-
4
I don't know if
corners.
Tom was here then.
Oh, true. My bad. Yeah.
On and for the record, I'm here for that matter.
Yes.
There's been a mistake. Now, when you say there's been a mistake in a courtroom, from that point back is all erased. You're starting new. Did you know that?
No.
There's been a mistake. It's all erased from here. Now you're stuck. Where's the proper notice so I can be in honor in this courtroom?
Right.
Give me a good notice. Now they know they're not giving you
In other
good
words-
notice,
in
so
other
now
words,
this
where's the
is any
security
case-
or enforcement?
any
so I
case.
can authenticate-
Any
authenticate-
case.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
Every case is the same. I don't care what it is.
I don't care what
But
the charge is.
basically, what you're really asking for is the security, so I can authenticate and endorse. And that's really what you're asking for. They never give you a presentment for it. They never show you what.
But
they're
if they
enforcing.
did give you security, you
Then
endorse it,
you
give
would
it back to
you
them.
put proof for processing on the front, you flip it over, right, pay the order of the United States without recourse. And they have to deliver it to the district court.
Right.
Thanks for letting me be honorable. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Let's go
Cases
back
all.
to the name. So
Yeah.
once you sign all these documents, this name.
To that name. You're just representing that name. You're not the
You're
name.
not that name.
You're not the
But
name.
until you get that security here, until you get the security, because it's made out to the name of the person
Right.
to you,
And
until
have an
you
account
get it.
to link to it.
No, until you get it, and endorse it, you're going to be treated as holding it.
Sure.
Even if it's not in your possession.
Sure.
8-501, Part D. If someone is issues a security in the name of someone else, and that someone else hasn't endorsed it either in blank or over to the securities intermediary,
Yep.
then they'll be treated as holding the asset instead of having a mere entitlement to it.
Right.
What you want is you want the entitlement to it. The entitlement gives you the ability to go over to the securities intermediary and go, take care of that. Because now he has to follow your orders. But until that happens, you're going to be treated as holding the asset, and since you didn't endorse it over, it's called withholding, and the penalty for withholding is the penalty on the statute.
Right.
You guys remember the nobles in the Middle Ages? They had no bills.
Right.
And that's what you're doing here, because
That's where we're trying to get to.
Right.
No
Yeah.
bills.
Cessian in law, it's a cessian. An cessian is an incomplete delivery resulting in a wardship. And what you're doing is you're taking your security that you would have got, the values you would have gotten, and you're using that as the payment to remove yourself from being in the position of ward and restoring your position of nobility. That's the old common law way of doing it. The admiralty way of doing it is you're basically a seaman on a vessel who has not got paid, so the entirety of the vessel and its cargo is yours until you do.
Yep.
Wow.
Same thing in unemployment.
That's where the mechanic lien.
the worst
Mechanic
thing
lien
you can-
outweighs
the worst
any
thing
lien
an
on that
employee
mortgage,
can ever
even
do-
a
Yeah.
mortgage.
Yeah.
The worst thing an
Yeah,
employee
it goes
can ever do is
first.
join a union.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, that's the worst thing.
I wish I'd seen your guys' videos 2 years ago.
Because if that company goes bankrupt, you're screwed.
Right.
If you're an individual employee and the company goes bankrupt, who's the preferred creditor?
The employees are
Exactly. But if you're in the union, who's the employee? Who's the preferred creditor?
Union.
Nobody.
No, nobody.
Union's not even a creditor.
No.
No shit.
It's a representation
Oh, that's right.
of a labor organization.
The debtor.
You guys, all this, the city of Detroit, all those pensioners are going to get fucked.
Fuck hard.
They're going to get fucked so hard. Ford, when they go do their thing, GM, they're going to screw everybody on their pensions.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're all union they're all unionized.
And it's coming, and they know it.
Right.
This whole fucking thing.
Somebody told me once paying union dues is paying someone to represent you that doesn't have the right to do so.
Exactly.
Right.
It's that messed up.
It's unions are really screwed the employees. You get really screwed them because now you're no longer yourself.
Yep.
And a man is the ultimate creditor anywhere. I don't give a fuck what it is because you're dealing with a system of fiction. He's the living dude who puts the energy in. He gets first priority over anything else. Once he goes in a union, now he's no longer a dude. He's just part of another whole association. And that association is just basically a labor organization. And what they do is they pay the labor organization to represent their interests and their disputes because they don't want to do it themselves. They negotiate their own rates and their own wages and stuff like that. But in the end,
False security.
all the protections of being a singular individual employee are gone. And everybody changes it up for the union because they get more now, but in the end they get screwed.
Right.
They get promises of all the big pensions, but what happens if that company goes bankrupt?
Yeah, they will go bankrupt.
The pensions become
GM.
part of the assets of the company. They're going to divvy up.
Oh, absolutely.
GM just did it. Now watch him.
Oh, well, it's already
Now watch him walk away. Watch them walk away. Watch them walk away from killing people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, absolutely. They're doing it. There's no problem. They're
Just
not going to have any
walk.
issues doing it because it's now a different. It's not GM.
The genius part of that is that means every single issue prior
Yep.
to 2012.
Well, I was just having that
not their
conversation.
problem anymore because that entity dissolved and now
Yeah,
we're new.
that entity does not exist anymore.
That's right. Your
They-
problem
they
is
said
with
they
them,
would honor
not with me. With
The
them.
obligation. I mean, they didn't say they were honoring the obligations. They said they'll honor the warranties on those vehicles.
Exactly.
They didn't say they're going to honor the obligations. And there's a big terminology difference there.
Yeah, and it was out of the
on-
kindness of their own heart that they're honoring the
Yeah,
warranty.
exactly.
Right.
It is. It is.
I mean,
It's
and then you go
literally like
into
in
the court
there.
cases. Every court case is basically a bankruptcy case, a reorganization of an organization to
Yep.
account to redistribute the assets.
Yep.
And the asset you have there is what did I put on here? Should I put it on here? I call it payday cash advances. They're actually getting performance guarantee promissory notes or something like that. And that's for future. That's for they're falsifying. That's how they falsify bounty contracts. And then the judges go in there and make claims on the 1099As, and them and the lawyers just strip everything up, and it goes into their retirement accounts and blah blah blah, all that other crap. But so when they get their payday cash advance, when they deposit into the district court, and then they come back for you, and when you do this process, they're fighting the 14th Amendment now, because this process emancipates the slave, and no debt or obligation shall be held valid, or any debts against an emancipated slave shall not be paid by the state of the United States and shall be held illegal and void.
Does that mean I can get my tax money that I've paid for the last 30 years back?
Oh, you'll have more than that.
You'll have more than that. Don't worry about what you've paid in,
Okay.
because what you'll have in the end will be much more than whatever money you think has been in there.
But it only covers my debt to this point. The debts that I incur after I do everything.
You're not going to have any debt.
Nobles.
No,
You're not going to have any bills.
Really?
Yes, because here's the deal. You're no longer dealing with
It's,
the
I'm
federal-
sorry, it's so hard to grasp.
It is. It is.
It's like so
Anybody
over my
got
head.
anybody got a social
It's
security
so
number?
hard.
Yeah, yes.
No,
I do. You got one there?
numbers that's on the back, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that's a
I
federal.
don't know if mine
It's
has
just a
numbers on the
note,
back, 'cause
right?
Mine's like the original one.
I
I put the originals too.
I just need one. Just
Greg, are you saying you got 6
I do.
numbers on your card?
So I'm clean on the UCC, and I'm to the point that you're at for the 14
Oh, you put
minutes.
plastic on it. There's no
I walk in to go get.
Notice,
I want a new car.
Yeah.
I walk in there, and I.
You see the one beer commercial?
No.
What's it go? Capitalization means
Transfer the car, and I drive off the use of it. But
Michelob?
now I don't make the payment.
They have that one commercial where they come out and they do he's looking at the door.
I don't know.
And he's
Is
like,
it
"Oh,
gonna
they put a
work?
sign on
I'll
the
try
door
it.
just
Heck,
to
I'll
keep
try
out the weak
it.
attendance. It's all in
I
capitals.
want a new
Capitals
Corvette.
means business.
Sounds good for the first.
It's just a weird, it was just a
90
commercial. I was
days?
like,
Yeah,
oh,
There's
that's
three
right
things
there.
that are capitalized you got corporations, vessels, and gravestones. Which one are you?
This was my original issue one.
Now this is no good because you put plastic.
What are we looking for?
Just a regular
Oh, wow, they
Social
don't have the
Security card.
account on the
Anything
back?
that's
No,
issued
we're
recently.
looking for the capitalization on the
No,
front.
I need a recent one.
Where's the capitalization?
There isn't.
All right. Anyway, if you look on the back of a recent Social Security card, there's letters in red.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funny about the middle.
That's because it runs in debt.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Right.
It's dead.
It's
Right.
debt.
They-
Red is debt.
Or it could include. It could be
So
blood.
now-
You know.
Yeah, whatever. But
Are the numbers red?
on the one
Mine
that-
are.
I'm
Mine
not
are
sure
at
if
home,
they are or
yeah.
not.
I don't
But
carry
what
them
it does,
on
it
the
runs
wall.
in
Wonder if
debt.
that had
So
anything to do
so when it runs in debt, now you're running through the Federal Reserve. That's why they're not paying anything. That's why they don't take care of
Look at all the
anything.
cards this guy's
Because you're the account receivable, not the payable. They have the account payables on their side of it, which is all for them.
What kind of business?
Okay, you're just an account receivable because when they do the registration at birth, until you do your thing, till you come and claim your securities, it's an account receivable. It's a healthcare account receivable. Look under UCC 9-102A for account. And when you do that one, read that one backwards too. And where it tells you it's an account receivable, you read it backwards up and it explains what Social Security account is. Social Security account is an account set up for the secondary obligation for you to do your thing with the vessel under charter or contract. And either you're going to be chartered for yourself, which is for, if it's for self, you're going to be operating in that debt world because they ain't going to allow you to touch the assets because you're using it for your own profit and gain. But if you're using it for the profit and gain of everyone else, using it for the feminine aspect, they will protect that. They have to protect that. That's the nature of the system. All these guys have found is an instruction manual somewhere down the road, and they put it into place.
You know,
through their
I was
actions,
watching
you
the
can see how they're
History
doing it.
Channel, and they were digging around King Solomon's temple, and they found this 3,000 foot street there with all these little areas where they had the different merchants and everything. Guess what the name of that street was?
K Street?
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Exactly. I'm like, I said, keep talking, and they stop. I'm like, oh my God.
Nothing ever changes.
Nothing
It's the
changes,
same
man.
crap.
Well, that was
Same
just
guys.
I was
Over and over.
They
watching
recycle.
It's just the only thing that
See?
changes is its form.
Yeah.
News is not
The technology gets informed.
The
That's why I went
technology,
back
this
to
is
the
just form.
primitive Knights Templar in the 11th century.
Right.
I'm like, and I tried to understand what was going on there. And I'm, all right, what does it look like now? It's the birth certificate. When
Yep.
you went somewhere with the Knights Templar, you gave them your valuables, and you were under their jurisdiction during the pilgrimage.
Right.
When you got there, you gave them the receipt back and got your valuables back, and you were no longer under their jurisdiction.
That's right.
Now, when man is born, there's the value handed to the Knights Templars. They hold it till you are done with we're done with our journey through this place, understanding the way we got to give them the receipt to get the value back.
the death certificate.
Yeah.
No, the birth certificate is the death
It's
certificate.
a coat check ticket.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a code check. That's all it is, man.
That's
That's
my
what
coat
we-
back.
So now that you're emancipated and you're
Well, we're not done yet, but
right, when you're finally done, if you go to get a loan
Why do I need a loan?
to buy a
I
car,
don't need a loan.
how do you get the car?
You would just use the account you set up.
You sign
Yeah,
it
right.
over.
Treasury
You go to a
Direct.
regular checking account.
You sign
You do it to a
over.
regular checking account, and
Right,
your
right.
checks
Yeah.
become checkbook money. And
Okay.
now it becomes an order to buy securities through the account, through the Social Security, through your securities account, in exchange for the security that's coming in, which is the debt obligation that was incurred.
So you have $1 in the account.
yeah.
I have $2.52.
Okay, so you have $2.52 in the account. You want to buy a $20,000 car. You write a $20,000 security check to them.
Uh-huh.
What's going to happen?
I don't know yet.
I want to be there.
Not there
I
yet.
want
Like
to
I
be
said,
there.
we haven't gone through the whole process. Like I said, it's just right now.
This is
we're
exciting.
It really is.
This is really exciting. I'm
Dude, you
I'm
have no
just- I'm
idea.
just- it's
You
so-
need to be with us, man.
over
When you're
my
in these
head, man.
courtrooms,
That's
and
what I wanted
You're,
to-
you're there in front of a judge, and
Can you take a camera in the courtroom? I mean, if we followed it, no.
You can take a
No, but you
recorder.
put your phone in. And
We
put it
don't
on
really know
record.
what's going to happen yet because we're still doing all the 1040. We just
Sometimes they
I
don't
just
allow
set this
phone
up this
recorder.
week.
Federal,
And
you
y'all get
You're all right.
No,
No, you're doing this in Florida.
We're doing this in Florida.
Yeah.
I got a buddy another guy who's doing this outside. He's doing, like I said, the guy from up here is in Kansas now.
Yeah.
That worked for us.
Yeah.
That's what they put.
Other states put this flowery language. My buddy read what they put on New Jerseys, and it's like, yeah, this guy worked for us, and he is such an under the Great Seal, and give him all his acts and all this flowery language about full faith and credit. Florida's, this guy worked for us.
Boom.
I was like,
So
wow.
you just need whoever's validated your birth certificate needs to be validated that they actually worked for that.
Yes, and then what
entity.
it does is that
All right.
I
So they're
didn't.
not actually validating your certificate. They're validating the fact that
It was done by the state,
State.
Right.
And under the
Okay.
state seal.
Full faith and credit.
Before you can sign it.
I didn't bring mine in that I got back. I got them back the day we left, or the night before. But what it does is says that they've annexed these into the United States of America, and they give them full faith and credit. And what it shows is that it's their property now. It's been annexed.
And we go back to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, where they brought it into the
Correct.
Washington, D.C., but not you.
Right.
See?
Article
There's a
one
separation.
is it's all about the duality aspect within yourself. Your usufruct of the image and naked owner of it, and in the public you're going to be a usufruct with naked owner underneath.
Caesar.
And it's basically they acquired an interest via Social Security when they paid for the birth event to be registered and recorded. That gave them the interest in the land under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. But they didn't give interest over you because all they purchased was an interest.
Right.
They can't buy you because the United States itself doesn't profess slavery.
Nope.
It's in the Lever Code, it's in the Constitution,
Right.
it's international law. Slavery has been outlawed. They did not register the people. And every time I run into someone who says, I've been registered, I go, prove it. Because I've been screamed at and yelled at by the damn register saying adamantly, we do not register people. And then I tell them, I go, then why are you going into this family court and separating the child from the parent if you're not registering the child using the information on the birth certificate to identify the child?
So
How is that not child and human
Show me you
trafficking?
have title to this child and you can have it. Oh, you don't have title.
We've actually stopped two people I know had CPS coming down the street, and they called me up, or someone called me up for them. And I told them, just ask them if they have title to this boy. Sure, you can take him, show me you have title to him. They will never, ever pull out that birth certificate, show its title. That would blow the game wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have possession of the children. DCS was turned away at the door with court orders. Just
Like
based on the
people
fact that
perish
they-
from lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that is
I mean, we had a
in
lady-
fact the problem.
Let's see, me and Bats had a woman who had a stroke in Scotland, out for 6 months. She wakes up into the middle of a custody battle, and we still got her to keep her child.
Sweet.
Following the Solomon,
Really?
following the King Solomon. Because when it was time for a woman, when two women came before the judge, came before Solomon fighting over a child. And each one claimed ownership of it. So Solomon took out a sword, and he goes, fine, we'll just settle this right now. And we'll just divide it in half. And the lady who loved the child goes, nope, I just want the best for the child, let her have it. And she ended up getting the child. And that's the same philosophy we used in Scotland with this woman. And what had happened was the courts admonished the Child Protection Service people on the floor of the court, made them apologize publicly, and well, I think fired and got rid of them and all kinds of other stuff. But I mean, they basically put them in their place.
That doesn't happen often.
I'll tell you what, when you're flying
And
right,
this was Scotland.
when you're flying right, these courts are, luckily we sent mine into the Fed, I'll tell you, because
I mean, we even found if they claim, like I heard one guy said that the judge told him that I had to take my orders from England. And I'm like, all right, fine. Then Article 79 of the Local Government Act of 1888, Article 79, Section 2 should instruct you very well. Because it says the debts and duties of the inhabitants give the debts and duties of the county councils. Right there, in Article 79. So anytime they say they only follow the rules of England, I whip that one out.
Love it.
I'm like, there you go.
Article 79 of what?
Local Government Act of 1888, Article 79, Section 2.
It's on the
It's
website.
English law.
It's on your website, right?
So whenever they say they only follow English law, you whip that one out and tell them to go down and talk to the county commissioners. They're responsible for that shit. They want to play that game.
Most everything that he's quoted is on that website, IamSomeDude.com.
Yeah,
All
everything's
the
on
documents are there.
Except for this,
IamSomeDude.com.
except for these new things, these last couple things we've talked about, just because
last 14
Like I
minutes.
said, they're 14-minute updates, and I just haven't put them up there.
Which website again? I'm sorry.
I am some dude.
I am some dude.
I am some dude.
.com. I'm trying to make it hard for you.
May I suggest anybody getting those PDFs to go download a program called Foxit, F-O-X-I-T. You can keep all of them open in one little window.
Just move around there.
And you can click
Oh,
around
okay.
from
Yeah.
each PDF.
Oh, nice.
That'd be better.
F-O-X-I-T.
It's a bit
Yeah,
yeah,
everything I've used is up there. Now there's times where I take Skype chats directly from the Skype chat and just edit out the people's and just turn it into a document and throw it up there. I mean, we make everything. I mean, everything is just done on the fly. Everything we've done. That's
Well,
why
it's just what's been amazing is when we needed something, it came
It's there.
out of nowhere. It's just unbelievable, you guys. Just
It is. It just shows up right
It
when
just
we need
shows
it.
up
Exactly
when we
when we
need
need it. Right when it's there.
crazy, right?
Yeah, but-
And I'm like, all right, man. And you know what it is? At a certain point, you just go, I'm done. Just leave me. Just leave me
Right.
through it. I'm done.
Yeah.
The amount of the coincidences just
There
pile
can't
up
be
and pile
coincidence
up
when
and
it's
pile up,
happening.
and it's like,
There's no such
all right,
thing as
man.
coincidence.
I'm like, we're done. Just wherever you need me to go, I'll be there, and whatever I have to do, I'll do it. And this is where we
It's
go.
awesome.
And the beauty of it's 1295A, so that it's a relief valve. If you screwed up, you can't be
You
liable
can't
for
screw it up.
it's
It's an
something that if you
impossibility.
have that in your heart and you understand that, then you have to live with that and go in
And I remember at the same time that a lot of the people you're dealing with have never encountered anything like this.
No.
Right.
So you have to be a
Nothing.
little. You have to be a little.
Even these
patient.
courts haven't seen anything like this. They're used to just get it going. It's kind of like the cows getting herded
Oh,
in
yeah, no
one
question.
lane,
No
man.
question.
The
It's a
problem
fucking
you have
process
is,
for
With
it.
the
every
sledgehammer.
now and then you want to reach across this. You want to reach across the desk to the guy who's
Just put his head on the table. You know.
Oh, you just want to reach over and just strangle his neck like he's Bart Simpson
Right.
and just smash his head. And
The thing I
just
think,
keep smashing it.
one thing I'm going to definitely say, probably the first thing I'm going to say when I go talk to that doctor is I come in peace. I mean no harm to anybody.
Yeah, I intend no harm.
I intend no harm to
You
anybody.
disarm them right away.
Right, you disarm them, and then you come in and you ask the questions, and they'll report back this guy's of peace, and that's where we're going on that lane of peace.
Sure.
And the flag, you got to wave that white flag, and I think by
Genuinely.
exactly. And listen, my bailiff was lied to, so I could spend 3 days naked with a blanket around me with 3 other guys in a cell all weekend.
Nice.
Because the first thing they ask you when you come in is, are you going to kill yourself, or are you suicidal? And I'm like,
And if
what
you
are you
don't
talking
answer
about?
yes or no, then
She marks yes automatically.
So you should have just said no, right?
Well, I'm trying to understand why else she asking me
me
anything.
this?
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm qualifying what you're doing
I
here,
mean,
man.
when I came in, last time I was in, they held me for 3 days, and that's the first question she asked. And my response was, "Do I appear to be suicidal?" And she's like, "I'm just gonna put down yes." I'm like, wow, is that just default? If I don't
That's
answer right?
default, baby.
And then I got the answer the next day when they moved me to another facility, and I talked to one of the shrinks there, and she's like, "Yeah, if you don't answer them with the right question, they do that." I go, "Really? And what gives them that right?"
Exactly. What gives them that right?
Yeah.
What does give them that
It's,
right?
it's like being in a local court. I was in
Company
one
policy.
about a year and a half ago, and they asked me to plead, and I said, "Well, I don't understand what it is you're asking me to plead to, because part of it is I can tell you I'm guilty of that. It was for a rental license on property because I don't have one. But the other part, claiming that I need one, I can't plead to that because I can't see where there's your ordinance says I have to."
We got a guy that put a civil peace flag up and a state flag up in front of his house
In Kentucky.
and he was doing some work in the back with no permits. He was doing a greenhouse, run electric, and the code enforcement came over and said, well, looks like we found somebody that's not getting a permit. He goes, "Permit? I'm a homeowner." "Oh, you need to have one." He goes, "Why don't you guys come up front over here?" And he showed them the 2 flags. They went back to the supervisor, came back to him and said, "Listen, we're not going to bother you. Have a nice day."
Yep.
Jurisdiction was not
Yeah,
U.S.
the civil peace flag.
They're
and
all
the
doing
state
their oath
flag
of
is
office
set
to
on a
uphold it
simple
by
pole,
U.S.
on a
They're
wooden
foreign
pole.
agents. You're
But
foreign.
what he also did is he took the mailbox off the house and he put a wooden pole in the ground and goes post right on top of it. You know, see that? And that's what you have jurisdiction over, that post.
Yeah, that's how mine's sitting out.
So there's little
The
things
piece
you can
of
do
flag
to
is
kind of
which
call
flag?
off the dogs and give yourself a little piece.
Vertical
I keep my flag posted.
I should have brought one. I just had 4 of them made, and I told him, I said, I'm going to bring one of these up here, and I forgot to. But if
What
you
is it?
Google,
The one with the.
I didn't
it's
even
got
know
the
there
blue
was.
stars instead of white, and the background is white. All right, so that's
And the
reversed.
stripes go
up and down instead of this
horizontal
one.
instead of vertical.
Vertical instead of
Oh,
So that-
okay.
Yeah,
They
I didn't
used,
even
they
know
used
there
to
was a
have the
piece
navy
flag till
emblem
about a
in
month
the field.
Coast Guard.
Yeah, Coast Guard emblem in the field.
Yeah.
Because Coast Guard is actually the trustee of everything.
Really?
Yep. They're the initial customs protection.
They were the
They're
initial
now, they're now under auspices of either Homeland Security or Department of Navy, depending on what situation the
peace
state,
or
the
war,
country's in.
Well, yeah.
They're in Department of Homeland Security right now, and the only reason I know that is because what happened in New Jersey when they needed salt. New Jersey needed salt for their roads. The company that supplies it has a salt mine in Maine or up north, but it's a foreign-owned company, and they couldn't barge it down because only U.S. flagged vessels can sail between American ports.
And that's
So
what we're trying to do with
until
this
your
vessel, is put a U.S.
becomes
flag
under
on
the
that
U.S.
name.
flag,
You have to
you're
go
a
to.
foreign vessel.
Yeah.
Because you're a foreigner in those waters. They've already seized it under Title 50. This is all on the website too. They seized it under Title 50, conscripted it into service, put a bond down on it, an amount of security on it. Your UCC acts as a bail bond to bail it out of that situation. Now they know that the cargo goes to the United States.
Right.
Now you're peaceful. Now you can live up to the proclamation that Lincoln issued right before he was killed, which was he removed all the commercial restrictions on the peaceful commercial activities and the inhabitants. All those restrictions were done in the North. They're removed. The guy who came in after Lincoln did it for the South. And that's why they tried to impeach him.
Johnson, yeah. You know, on the 14th
Anybody
Amendment,
who's
Grant
done
brought in
anything
his
like
troops
this
and
has
held
been
Congress
tried.
at gunpoint.
Anybody
to
who has
sign
tried to help the
Amendment.
people out from getting underneath the corporation
Crazy shit.
has either been shot or tried to have been impeached.
Yep.
Every one of them.
Kennedy did Executive Order 11110.
Because all they're doing is operating
Getting rid of the Federal
corporation
Reserve.
under
Yeah.
Article 4,
Yep.
Section 3, Clause
That's all
2.
happened to him.
Which is Congress can do anything it wants to whatever it owns. So as long as you're operating under that
What was
Federal
Reagan
Reserve side
trying
of
to
everything,
sign when he got
then you'll be
shot?
Well, who was
administrated
going to
under
be
Article
president
4,
if he got
Section 3,
shot?
Clause 2,
Mr. Bush.
not as one of the not
And the
as one
Bush
of the
family
people,
knew the man who
austerity,
shot Reagan.
who
Did you know
they
that?
acquired
No, I
an
didn't
interest
know
in
that.
They were friends of
under
the
Article 1,
family.
Section 817
Yeah.
that they
The
now
two
have to
families were
service under
friends.
14th
Crazy.
Amendment for the public debt obligation.
When you read that stuff, it makes sense to you.
Yes.
Like the UCC, I've sat and read sections of it over and over again, and I don't get out of it what somebody said. That section means this.
Yeah.
If I had to sit there and read it on my own, and try to figure it out, it'd be 100 years. Some of it just does not
What I
click.
remember too is I come from Lucifer. I have one word that I evaluate everything
Goes
through.
back to King John who signed it.
And if it doesn't fit to that model, it's gone. All right, I'll see how it, see if maybe I can twist it around or whatever. But most things that I put to that model fit. I mean, right away. And this whole thing started just opening up really, really fast. Once we saw that the connection, where the connection was, where the usufructuary was, where all this security is, once we made the connections, it was just, it just opens up. Like, when I see it, I also have some weird ability to see very abstractly. And bring it into concrete.
That's called IQ.
I mean, I just have a really, really, really easy time doing it. And so when people give me these laws, I can look at it. Like I got a guy out here who helps me, and he brings in the law and it matches it with the philosophy, and he's been great. He's been awesome. And,
Who's that?
Another buddy online.
Oh,
Odinoff.
Batman.
Yeah, not Batman. Batman and I don't see eye to eye on what I do.
Oh.
He still thinks I'm out there making claims and everything else, so whatever. I just see things a little differently. I see it beyond court. I don't want to be stuck going into court every fucking time. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's harassment.
And everybody who's happy with that can be happy with that. I don't really want to do it. I'm sick of it. I don't like talking law. I want the philosophy. I want what I came here to do. Don't hold anything else. That's what I want to do. This just got in the way. This is just part of it. This is what I had to learn to do that shit.
I'd give you some puppy, but your daddy probably would be mad at me.
He just gives you that sad look.
Can you have a Pete's?
No.
So are you familiar with that case of that Connecticut family
Which
that
one?
had their daughter seized by the state of Massachusetts? She had a certain disease that was being treated, and
Was that the one that went? She fled to Mexico.
no, she has not fled at all. The state of Massachusetts hold her, and it just broke the family. And it's
Because
on
if they
file.
refused treatment, that there was being.
Well, the treatment that she was getting was for the disease, but then she had influenza or a virus. So her doctor says, we don't do that kind of medical care, so you needed to go to Children's Hospital.
MMS.
And so they went to Children's Hospital, and the state of Massachusetts seized her. The hospital in the state of Massachusetts
Right.
has seized her, and they've been trying to get her back.
They need to
They're
go in
going
and
through all
put-
these attorneys, so
No, no, no.
they're
You're
going
going to
to...
get to attorneys. She would have to go in. The parents would have to set up their Treasury Direct, claim the minor accounts from the state, and then claim custody of the child.
So is
until
that
they're-
something you can do to help them? If
It's all right here.
okay,
It's all on there.
that's
Just-
all on your website, right?
It's all on the website. And all you, but not actually not all this minor stuff. This is all new. This is all we're going through now. But the first thing the parents have to do is claim their minor accounts to get out of being their award too. Remember,
Claim
their
their own
award,
minor
claiming
account.
award. It doesn't work that way.
No, they
so
gotta
you,
climb
so
out
you have to
themselves.
so you have to claim. They have to pull themselves out, and the way you do that is you go in and claim your minor accounts from the state of birth because they're holding it, and then you go and then
You can add them.
then you can take it and link up the daughter to it and set up a Treasury Direct for her and claim her minor accounts to go underneath that Treasury Direct account.
I understand what you're saying there, but initially, couldn't they just go into court and ask the state to show proof of ownership of that child?
Yes, they
Like,
could.
and if they can't provide proof
Show
of
me title.
ownership,
Bring it
then it
title.
goes
I want my
back.
goddamn property back.
Exactly. Exactly.
They could
That's
right
really
now.
what-
They could
yeah.
go into court and they
Show
could
me-
ask the
show me
state.
title for that kid or give
Show
it
me
back.
title for that child.
No, don't call it a child.
Well,
Oh yeah, go.
Yeah,
Don't
Right.
ever
Shit.
call it your property.
Property.
That's your property. That child is your property. and
Definition
that
of
is
property?
a physical embodiment of an essential element of your pursuit of happiness and makes your life and liberty
show
have
the
meaning.
state needs to provide proof of
I
property.
can't even start the first two words.
Title of that property.
Yeah, title of that
Show
property.
me the title that you own
Show
this
that.
piece of property.
Yes. Because
they
they're there
can't
to protect that
produce it,
property,
right.
not hurt, not take it away.
Game
What
over.
they're doing though is since the minor accounts and everything else are established, they're operating through that to give benefit to the child so they can get paid through the fucking accounts. That's really what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really
her health
disgusting.
is
And
It is
deteriorating.
beyond
it's fucking-
disgusting.
It's
She's
just,
named
fucking
down
hang
now
for that
because
shit.
of their lack of care.
it's just
hang for that.
disgusting for everything that
But
they're doing.
just by
because-
that basic thing, they should be able to at least, if the state can't show proof of property, they have to learn English.
Right, that's my goddamn property.
Yeah.
What the hell y'all doing with it? Why are
What's
you all
the-
administrating my property? Who the hell gave you the authority to administrate
Right.
my property?
Because isn't the first step of that too is the birth certificate? Who owns the birth? I mean, who can?
Yeah, I mean you can do it that way, but what
Yeah,
evidence
I
do you
still have the
that
birth
that thing
certificate here. What do you
identifies
have?
anybody?
Well,
So that's the proof for the family to say that's their property is her birth certificate. Is that
That's not her.
Nope.
That's not her.
It has
That's
nothing-
the state's property. That's an
It's the
account
state's property.
created by the estate.
State.
It's just a bond.
The living being is the property of the parent.
what
the
you
property
do
of the
too
mother
is
and
when you
father.
do that court case, put the picture of your property in there, not the name, the picture, because they own the
and then put an
name.
arrow. This is my property.
No, the name's theirs. That's why the first thing the judge
Right.
asks you when you're in front of him is what?
What's your name?
Ooh, you're our property.
Are
We're
you-
going to do whatever we want with you now. You just volunteered in that
They ask
judge's
what's your
jurisdiction.
You
name?
don't say
Who
what
wants
you
to know?
know. Who wants to know and why?
No, my Jim says, what evidence you have that I claim ownership of one of those?
Yeah, there you go. That's another one.
So that's why in the Bible it says, "I am who I am."
I am who I am. Why are you administrating my property? Why'd you take my property? Where the hell is it? I want to
Wow, what a different
require it
way of
back.
thinking, man. I'll tell
You don't want it
It
back.
took me a good
you
almost
wish
8
and
months to
require it
start
back.
turning the
Yeah,
the
From my understanding,
Sure,
wish and
the other
require
way,
is
man.
keyword is a
Takes a
keyword for
while.
the Department of Family to turn it back, to give it back.
The problem is you're going through attorneys to try to
Right,
do
right.
that, and they're not going to do
They're
that.
not. You do not use an attorney.
And we know they're not
work
going
for
to
the
do that
state.
because the guy, my buddy whose cousin was beat up out in Las Vegas, we turned around and wrote up a one-sentence thing to give to his attorney. It was under 9-210, and we told him, hey man, we want the complete accounting and all lists of collateral. The attorney quit.
He had you.
No, I mean, we quit without saying, they have to give a real reason. He said he quit because he was talking to one of his associates. And I'm like, and his
What was,
buddy's
it, what
like,
was the question?
it was a 9-210. It was, we requested a list of, an accounting and a list of collateral. They call it the collateral assessment, stuff like that.
Oh,
Investigative
the
report
case.
for collateral assessment, shit like that. But it's basically just a request for an accounting and a request for the collateral. And what they do is they have to give it back to you so you can look over it and you can mark out stuff that you don't like and everything else. And then you give it back to them. And then they either accept it or they send it back. It's just a negotiation tool. But if they don't answer in 14 days, they automatically lose all interest.
Right.
It's over.
So that's how you get rid of the attorneys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need attorneys.
Yeah, you get rid of the attorney. Just tell them, okay, fine. You claim that's a debtor. You claim I'm a debtor. 9-210. Give me accounting and a list of collateral that you believe I owe, and that you're using to fund this matter. And then watch the attorneys drop out. They'll just disappear. You do it to each attorney.
Well, because they know they're not going to get paid too on top of it.
No, because it's conflict of interest.
Right.
That would
Well,
include the
yeah.
bonds in the case?
That includes everything because it's a list of collateral. Everything they're using for collateral. And don't do it to the court they're operating out of. Do it to the district court they're operating through. Because again, the circuit courts of the United States, upon taking effect as that, shall be and hereby are abolished. And thereupon said date, the clerks of said court shall deliver to the clerks of the district courts of the United States for their respective districts all the journals, dockets, books, files, records, and other books and papers
That's
of or
awesome.
belonging to or in any manner connected with said circuit courts.
That's awesome.
You go to the district courts, not to the circuit courts. They're just corporations. They're actually lawyer guilds, and they're out running their falsified bounty
Well,
contracts.
there really isn't any, there's no federal circuit courts, are there?
They're all district.
Right.
They're all running falsified bounty contracts, and they're all going to the district courts because the district court said, deposit everything with us that you're going to do, and we'll see that it's been settled.
God, it's such backdoor shit.
So
I'm sorry, man. It's really hard for me not to get pissed off when I start thinking about it. It really is.
But see, that's why I come to you guys, come out here and talk to people, because you guys are going to be the ones that help crystallize the next event, so that when the next waking moment happens, the waking anger can be directed.
Right.
And that's why I need all you. That's why I need everybody.
No, that's awesome. That's great. A great way to think about it,
Yeah,
actually.
the next waking event is going to be huge, and you have to have a directing. You have to have a direction for it, or else the plans that have been put in place will be seen through. And you do not want to see the plans they got in place see through.
No.
I mean, it's going to get ugly and fucking nasty, and I don't want to be here for it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to wish it on anybody. And if we turn this around right, the way it's going to unfold is going to be unfolding on them. Whatever they thought they were going to do to us is going to happen to them.
See, that's the other thing I was going to ask you about, because I've spent the last 2.5, 3 years of my life studying all this geopolitical bullshit and all this shit that goes on and all the illegal shit that's supposedly constitutional and all blah, blah, blah. And
I know.
we do this, we're giving up, essentially, all that shit.
Yes.
We're giving up that fight.
People who haven't or can't
And it's
make that
tough
leap
to,
or can't make that.
it's really tough to think about it that
The
way.
ego wants to hang on to the fight.
It's not, I guess you could call it, I guess you could call it ego. I just
Any society.
get so angry about the shit that they do on a consistent. Exactly. Well, that's just it. Right. Exactly.
And when you look at it, you're not really quitting. It's a different
You're
way
just
of
switching
fighting.
the game.
It's a different way of
Switching the game.
fighting. It's fighting without fighting.
Right.
And all you're doing is like in the movie V. What they do at the end, all the people got on the mask and stormed the army. They didn't fight them. They just walked towards them.
Right.
And the army was like, "What the hell do we do? We're not trained to. We're not equipped to deal with this."
Right. Well, it's the same thing that happened out in Bundy Ranch.
And okay,
Passing through.
geopolitical stuff above and below. Kiev, I mean, what's going on in Ukraine is the same exact thing that's going on in Bundy Ranch. By the
No
way.
question. No question.
Exactly the same thing.
No question.
Russia has a military base in that Crimea.
Yeah.
Been paid for years.
Yes.
Been paid out. Everything else.
And maintained.
Ukraine went destabilized with help of the NATO's and the West and everything else.
93%.
Right.
Yes.
Russia went in there to protect its contracts.
Yep.
Its interests. That's all it did. It didn't go into Ukraine.
As we would do.
Hasn't crossed the border of Crimea or anything yet. All they did was, okay, this is our port.
The port, the pipelines.
Right.
Port and the
And
pipelines.
Kiev said, okay, we're going to be annexed over here for your protection from whatever is going on over in the Ukraine. Switch over to Bundy Ranch. Same thing happening here. Bundy is actually adverse possession of U.S. property, called his vessel, his name. He hasn't surrendered his interest, it's always his. My cattle, my this, my that, his ownership. Harry Reid, or whoever the hell is operating this whole thing, is actually on behalf of a contract that's already been put in place between his son and some Chinese corporation underwritten by the United States.
Right.
So they want to come out on the land and use it. Bundy is forbidden information, so they're out there protecting their interests in that land from an invader or a usurper.
Right.
It's the same thing. Bundy is Ukraine.
Yep.
Crimea is the land they're using. Henry Reid is Putin.
And Bundy doesn't have a clue.
And Bundy doesn't have a clue. And
he's
I
gonna be
have
sick.
contacted people who are contacted with him, and I sent them out audio and paperwork.
Oh no,
Let's
that's
see what happens.
That's
I know he ain't gonna listen.
that's your narrow. That's that.
Well,
Nobody
it
does.
goes
Hardly
totally
anybody
against
does.
it. It's 180 degrees opposite of what.
It's a total 180 degrees.
And I already know that's not gonna happen pretty out there.
No.
That's gonna be another
It's gonna be.
wake up.
It's gonna get.
Oh, what's
yeah,
gonna
it'll
It's
get
gonna be
up.
another wake up.
Yeah.
And they're gonna use the Patriots are gonna use it as a crime.
What's going to happen in D.C. today?
What do you mean?
The American
Well,
Spring.
no, Congress is supporting the whole system.
There's supposed to be 1 million militia people down in D.C. today.
Really?
Yeah.
16th, yeah, today.
This colonel, a retired colonel, called for a demonstration down there.
presumption is still in the
I forget the guy's name, but he called for this and apparently got commitments from militia groups all around the country that they would be there.
Yep.
So they know
saw that on
that they say
Facebook.
they've got a commitment of 1 million people.
What a
They were
tool.
calling for 9 million more civilians
Disseminating
to
information.
show up because the militia can't go into D.C. Because they're gonna be armed. And they can't go into D.C.
Right.
DC is their territory. You're going into their territory with exclusive jurisdiction to do anything they want to
Oh,
these people.
absolutely,
Yep.
These people
absolutely.
are fucking stupid.
Right.
You're
So
all- you're
they
all
were putting this all together. Well, just in the past
Now we
week
can
or
take you and do
two,
whatever
come
you
to
want
find
with
out
it.
that this colonel was working
Right.
with the powers that be there
Correct.
Of course.
to set these
Right.
people up.
Yes,
It's a trap.
Looking to put people into civil unrest. It's a fucking plan.
Remember
man.
Tim Turner?
Let's see
Tim
who
Turner,
shows up.
the Restore America project?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
TRAP. Tim Turner was a trap.
Right.
We knew that as soon as we saw it. We looked at the acronyms. I go, that's just a trap.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, man. You got to get these guys, whoever planned these missions, need better in acronyms.
Is anybody going to a
Yeah.
Tim Turner seminar here?
No. I read a lot of his material, but it just didn't sit right.
You guys, who's out looking? You guys just do it in your house or what?
Yeah,
That was
so
another one.
I mean, we've done all kinds of little things.
Winston
We don't
Shroud,
have
anybody
anything in
go
the
to
courts we
Winston
can
Shroud
show, so
somewhere?
people are asking us for proof all the way. I was like, I don't have the proof I can
Yeah.
show you. I can tell you stories what people have relayed to me when they followed this.
Right.
Like, all right.
I didn't know.
And that's
Yeah,
all I
that's-
know.
that's-
I don't have the proof, and I don't really know all the answers.
Yeah, that's
Like I
a
said,
difficult.
you guys are up to speed with what we're doing now, and how we're approaching it, and what we've done with the Treasury Direct. So as soon as y'all get done, you'll know exactly where we are. And it's not like we're doing monument. We're doing monument, but we're not. We haven't done anything really spectacular. I keep on telling you, I was like, wait until we really get rolling.
Well, yeah.
Are you still going to do the
It's all the setup.
geophysical
Fuck yeah,
dorm
I am.
houses?
Hell yeah, I am.
He's gonna put titties all over the world.
What was the designer?
Actually, Japan has
That's
modular
Victoria's
dome homes.
Secret.
Well, they had some Pontiacs.
the guy in
Back in Pontiac,
1800s
remember,
came up with this.
I know they've got the
40, 50 years ago they put some out there.
Berkey, was that his name?
No, this guy out west that did one way.
No, the original design is from like 1850.
No, it's what's the guy's name? I haven't. Call me Trim Tab.
Trim tab, right? Berkey.
No, it's Sir Edmund.
The Bucky Bell.
Benjamin Fuller.
Bucky
Bucky
Fuller.
And I found, and I never knew about the guy until last year.
Really?
And I'm somebody pointed, and I was reading through, so I was looking for something, and I found some quotes from him. And the initial page of I Am Some Dude came all from those quotes. And I was looking at it all, and I started going down. It was about the mental prison of the Dark Ages. They were all caught in this mental prison of the Dark Ages, and there is no bars, there are no chains, it's just mental. We're all struggling with each other, trying to control it all. We're all just basically tripping over our own hubris, like we know something. And all that shit has to go. Basically, it was just this whole thing, and it all came down to trim tab. And a trim tab is just a little piece on a rudder. And it was you watching the Queen Mary go by. Without that little rudder on the rudder, you can't turn that ship. Because the water pressure will be so great against you turning, it can't do it. So what it does, that little trim tab gives a little tip, and it creates a low pressure system that basically just guides the tail over. And I know someone who have flown planes, and they said you can use a trim tab to fly your entire flight. You just adjust it a little bit here, a little bit there, and it'll keep that going straight and level. And that's all you need. So what it is everybody becomes their own trim tab, or you become a change in you can steer the whole vessel just by sticking out your foot.
That one brown house across the street to the
That's
right.
what this is the trim tab.
The house, the brown one, yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of philosophy
No,
involved behind
you
this.
got it.
But
Which
it's
is
all-
what you need to understand.
Yeah, that's why I do these things, because the talk shoes and stuff like that you hear, the papers you read, you don't hear the philosophy.
Bring it back.
And it's different when you actually hear it, and I go over it with it. You can see it. It's really not hard. It's really not that intricate. I tell people, understand one word, you'll understand it all. One word.
Right.
One word. And we know it's a divine word because all this came from it. I knew nothing before we boiled it down to there. We saw it in Jefferson's little writing one day. And when I looked at it, what the hell is usufruct mean? We looked it up and I was like, oh, look what I found. And we went from there.
How do you spell that?
USUFRUCT. It's a Latin use of the fruit.
Use of the fruit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And ownership in their little civil world has three parts. It has use, fruit, and disposal. So the usufruct is the use of the fruit. That leaves naked owner with disposal. And that's what you want. You want disposal. I don't care about the fruit. They can have the profits.
Protected purchaser,
anyway.
Right, it's all bullshit.
It's all false.
Right.
So you give up so really what you're doing with the reversionary interest is you're surrendering any belief you have in the false profits.
Wow.
You're giving up all the falseness, all the bullshit, all the stuff that allows you to sin. You're just giving up sin.
Well, it's like 2-step 153.
Yeah.
You guys familiar with that?
2-step 153 is the only way you can become a U.S. citizen, by the way.
It's the only way. What does it say at the end? No other?
And no other way.
No other way.
You have to take an oath, renouncing all your allegiances to any kings, potentates, and anything else. You have to do it in a district court. It has to be done before a judge. And I think they removed the other requirement. They have to be a man in good standing for so many years.
So all of us think we are, but we're not.
Well,
you've been adopted. You're adopted into the citizenship, but you're not a citizen. Your person and your property is what's subject to the martial law.
I call it, what's the difference between the Good Tooth Fairy and the United States?
Marketing program.
Marketing program. That's all it is. They're both fictitious entities. One has a better marketing program. That's all it is, man.
But yeah, so when they adopted you, in the end of times, we'll all be known as adopted sons and daughters anyway, of the Creator.
Right.
So
I am a son and I am from the Father.
You and it's the same way. It's Psalm 91, where you take residence up in the house of the Lord on the mountain. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're doing here. You're taking residence in the house of the Lord up on the mountain, and then all the sinners below will fight out with each other who don't take that residence. You're just fulfilling the delivery. Deliver me from evil. So it's just deliver me from evil and deliver me into life.
Who's a Bible scholar? Anybody here? Anybody? Yeah. I think the mountain equates to the government, to the king, is the mountain.
Yeah, it's the house of the Lord where he looks down from up high.
I used to be.
But what we found is what's the opposite of evil?
Who's that?
I said I used to be until the Catholic Church.
Opposite of evil is what?
Oh,
It's kind of
I was a Catholic, right? I was an altar boy, and I'm looking at this guy. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
It's like the opposite of war.
I mean, I still remember what I was
So
taught.
war is a
simple
fabricated,
thing is,
unnatural state.
what is
and what
Caesar's
you're looking
Caesar's,
for is to
give
go
what is
back
to
to
God,
raw,
Raw
which is your
state,
natural state of being. And
Okay, here's
mankind is
Caesar.
a natural state of
Here's
being.
a coin
in
with
peace.
Caesar's head on it. Here, have it.
He doesn't want to
I
be
don't
at
want it.
war.
No, that
It's
is
fabricated. It's a fabricated.
It doesn't say they're
And when he
after
goes to
10%
war,
Catholic Church.
and a society is built on war, that's
Did
the
you
image
just say
he
that?
portrays.
I don't remember reading that.
And now the world becomes that image of war, so you
They
get
got
other
a
beings
heck of
and
a
other
deal
entities
going,
that want
man.
to come by and visit.
And
The peaceful
didn't
ones will go away, but the
Pontius-
warlike ones go vacation.
Pontius Pilate
And that's
was
what we've
the,
had. So in order to change that, you
Pontius
change
Pilate was
yourself,
the
your own
entity
little
who
dot
was-
within the
who was
picture,
charged with
and now the whole
dividing
picture
all
changes.
the
So now they go
Bibles
from a hand grenade to a puppy.
384.
And each one of us will be a little
Into
white
the
light
King
within it.
James
You all seen the
Bible.
pictures of the
was it-
thumbtack
was-
pictures?
was,
Each one of you
Pontius Pilate
is a
was
color within that picture.
No,
And the
Pontius
whole
Pilate
of
was
it
the one
is the
who
whole
was-
of society that's
who,
inevitable by the
No,
interactions
Pontius
of
Pilate
everyone.
was who did
You
review
can't get
on
rid of it.
Jesus
Society is
for
going to
crucifixion.
exist. Get used to it.
Yes.
It's not a fiction.
Who's the
It's
one
a
on-
reality
Because
based
it
on
was
the
that Isaac
interactions of everybody with each other at any one given point in time. And that's going to be what you see. That's the effects you get.
Because they were all
the
killed
wind.
on us. They
The
were all
government,
killed.
society is the wind. You can't see it,
Yes,
but you'll
Constantine.
feel the effects.
His mother was Catholic, and he kind of.
So it's how hard do you want the
Constantine
wind
was
to blow?
charged with combining all the
You want
Bibles.
gentle breeze, or you want the hurricane?
His charge was in 384 to consolidate all those Bibles into one.
I look up your
And to destroy
UCC
all
one.
of
and-
They came
and,
together and picked and
Florida's
choose what they were
Exactly.
going to do.
Secretary of State.
And then on that
I'll
one,
get the UCC doesn't go to the state.
that one religious
The
holiday.
UCC just goes,
Yeah.
yeah, the UCC
Either that or
still
get it
goes.
to
We
it's
do our
right now
send
it's
out
16
for-
gigs.
Because that's what was part of the downfall to
Eric Holder gets
by
to
the
sign
to
temple.
the internet.
Yeah.
So it might
He
have to
gets
burn
the
discs again.
reception of it.
Okay.
And then from
No,
there
a few
on, they
things
kind of send it off to their.
There was a,
There was
would have been 11th century.
I think it's a month after you
No.
put in, it cycles through the system.
No, I mean, there's only, hey, you can duplicate them for your friends, but
Friday the 13th.
I'll get you the first
In the videos, there was one part of
it'll
the
probably be 3 discs or 4 discs.
form.
There's all these things.
Or a
Three,
CD,
you were going over,
or a double.
and Jim interrupted you, you never finished what was
Because
on
there
it.
was
I think
also,
this
I'm
is
trying to
a
remember the,
Yeah, well, you said it came out of
It's that religious
1295A and
That
was it
was-
31?
Oh, 31
The
USC
Vatican
3,
sent out a
31
seal
USC
order that was not supposed to be
3113 is the gift
till-
part of it. And that's why
That
we do the
certain day.
reversion.
And that order was open
as
on that
a
day everywhere.
exchange
That's
for
the
the
only way
ship
they
for the
could
safe
guarantee
harbor,
that everything
as
was
a
happening
gift
simultaneously.
for
And that was
gratitude.
an order that all
This is our
people
gift for
involved in
gratitude for the safe
Constantine's,
harbor, so we can get out of the maelstrom.
to be killed.
We don't want to be part of that. We don't want to be on
So
your
the
own out there.
information that
Because
was
they want to
on the
accept the
website
safe
that
harbor,
came
which
from
is
the
the same,
website,
which is
right?
Psalm
So I'm
91.
trying to remember.
It's
Except
a
everybody
regular
that
Lord
was
on
Putting that Bible
down.
down.
Put together
And it was all
a
done
website
at a
from
certain-
what he
was that
has.
Psalm 91.
I'm
And I remember I was on another talk sheet with Tammy Pepperman and some other people, and I brought it up, and they all just went, rah, rah, rah. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I made, see, I went on one talk sheet with a guy, Kirk Hollenbeck. I don't know if y'all heard of him. And this is what I did. I took the circle, the triangle,
Because
and
the
the
Ides of
eye.
March also goes back.
And if you take the circle, triangle, and the
Caesar
eye,
got killed by his.
you have the 3 forms of
Where
law,
back there?
or the heart,
when
mind, and
Caesar
soul.
got killed by
The
his.
3 forms of law would be a
That
common,
was his
commercial, and ecclesiastical.
You know, beware
If
the
you
Ides
keep
of
those
March.
in harmony, the whole of equity cannot harm you,
Because there's.
and it will give insight into the soul.
I'm trying to remember that.
It's the eye of Jesus, the eye of Horus. Horus is just Jesus, the same thing. So as long as you keep it all in harmony, then the whole of equity can't hurt you, and you'll actually support it, and you'll be the one that gives it the light. And that's really what it's all about. Because they went from Egypt to, just Horus is just Christ. So if it's the eye of Horus, it's the eye of Christ.
Right.
And it's all about raising your consciousness level from the,
There's, I
from
mean,
the
I was.
lower
I
levels
know
of
that
survival
some readings
instinct
I've
up
done.
to the ones of love,
Confession,
of instinctual love,
Jim, and I'm looking.
which is not, you want something in return, but you're doing it for someone else because they're a son and daughter of God.
Sure.
You know, they're
Right? They're son of Creator, they're son of creation.
Sure.
No,
And that's why you love them. You don't have to like them.
I mean, you're sitting there.
You don't have to like any motherfucker out here.
Right.
But I have to
You're
love
reading
everyone.
all the.
That's the only
Yeah,
thing
you're
I was
reading all of it,
instructed to
and you
do
see
was
what's
love
being
everyone as
presented
if they were yours,
You know.
because they are your sons.
That's
They
what
are
you
your
hear about
daughters.
things
Because
that
you are
happening
God.
when you hear the church covers
Each
it
one
up,
of you
it's
is a
like-
son of God.
Sure.
exactly.
I'm a son of God, so we're all sons and daughters. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all the
remember
same.
that.
It's not, but we're all part of that.
Could
same
you imagine we
family.
get everybody on the same page?
Yeah.
Holy
and
shit.
I don't know about you, but you know, my family. I don't like
There's a religious.
Yeah, amen, brother.
I mean, I love them. I love them, and I hope that I wish them the best, and I wish everything about them. Doesn't mean I fucking like
That's
them.
when they were
Right.
told.
But he made an interesting point there. It's not everybody is going to survive.
No.
There are those that open up their minds and their hearts
Sure.
Well, that's the
and
only
are
way, 'cause
elevated
you
in
can predict
understanding,
how long
and then
it
there's
would
going to be
take
those
for
that refuse it. They're
information
just
to get
sit there and
somewhere.
fight
So
each
you
other
want it
until
to
they
And they'll be
get each
stuck in
other
the
out.
river of
Yeah, they planned it out a
Styx.
day.
They'll go down in the marshes, and down in the marshes were
Yeah.
the
You know,
ones
it's
who
not
want to
like
fight
it's
it
not
out
like
for all
these
eternity,
days
and
where
those
you
who
get
were,
it,
those
piece
who
of
need to
mail
repent
across
will,
email.
suffer
instantaneously,
their
to
transgressions.
months
in
and
that
sometimes
march.
years.
And it's,
something to
it's not a
reach-
separation of people as elite and the peons.
Right.
It's not that. It's,
No.
it's the ones that refuse to
Sterling Heights.
open their mind and see things for what they really are. They
And
wanna
whether they're
hold
rich
on
or poor,
to-
it doesn't matter.
Right.
Doesn't
And
matter.
all of this is done based on logic and
Enlightenment.
reason. There is no emotion in anything you do with this.
Right.
So if you have emotions or something, get rid of them.
Yeah, that's my big problem.
Because if you have emotion while you're doing this, they will use those against you.
Yeah.
And holy shit, they will. They are good at it.
The fuck,
I
I've been
remember-
doing it forever.
Yeah, I remember the first time I did.
Up
First
by
time I went to
West
court
Palm, she's in that.
was for a traffic
community.
for writing a check on account closed for a seatbelt violation. So. And we're in there, and the lady, the attorney comes in, because they just want their money. You gave them an account closed check, they just want their money. I go, you're goddamn right. I asked y'all for a remedy, you failed to provide me one, so I made one up. and they went in and did
Pull
the
it out of his
incompetence.
ass.
Yeah, that's something to pull out of my ass. But that was actually it wasn't that I wasn't done. It was because there was another public defender before her. When I was actually in the jail, he came out and talked to me, and I go, why did the clerk deposit in their own operating account instead of with the court treasury like they're supposed to under 28 USC 2041? And he just looked at me and it's shocked. He goes, where'd you go to school? I go, doesn't matter. Why'd they do it? And never saw him
know
again.
where you went to school with.
Yeah, never saw him again. So they did this one, but what happened afterwards is why I never brought a loved one with me to court. Mom was with me. We're sitting there, and the attorney's talking to her, telling her how screwed up I am, how much help I need.
Yeah.
And if y'all have never seen this, it's really weird to see
I could have
it.
told her that.
But from one corner of the eye, up her me again. She goes, why? I go, they just tried to use you as a weapon. You didn't even know it.
Yep.
And that's why that's why for years I would go into courts alone. People are like, you going alone? I was like, yeah, I go in alone. I don't want them to use anything against me, anybody or anything against me, because the rule of Miranda, anything you say can and will be used against you.
Mhm.
Not if we feel like it.
No, can and will.
It will. Everything you say and do can and will be used against you. So if you have your emotions tied up in something that you're so emotionally attached to, you're screwed. Because your emotions will take over, and that's where your ego kicks in.
Yep.
And that's where you're lost. Because that's the feminine energy within you. She's emotionally, evilly driven. You give up that when you give up this. And it turns over that emotionally ego-driven shit to them to take care of and frees you from that burden. And that's the purpose of your wives too. They're supposed to free you of that emotional burden, and you're supposed to take on her material needs and make sure that she's safe materially, so she can be the one that keeps you safe emotionally, so you don't have to.
Where
go
do you
straight.
find her at again? Or taking applications.
But that's the real purpose behind it. Is they're supposed to support you that way, so you become, you fulfill her wishes by taking care of her material needs, because they are materialistic. Women are just flat out materialistic. They're nesters. That's what they're designed to be. So if you can fulfill her wishes there, then your emotional security and all that comes from it will be your wishes will be fulfilled in the long run in the end, because now your dreams can become reality, because she'll believe in you and believe in your dreams and allow them to become reality.
How old are you?
42.
Your wisdom is far beyond your years.
But yeah, that's also another thing I went over the site. I took an AHA video and I dubbed over it. Take on Me. Take on Me is all about it.
Is that on the website?
Yeah. Yeah, Take on Me. The guy, what it is a video. It's done in Storybook, and the dude comes out of the video and reaches out to the girl, and he's take on me, take on this dream, and I'll show you the music behind it, show you the reality behind it.
Yeah, he was drawn
and then
on a
I'll
sheet
give
of
it
paper.
to you, and then I'll send you back in the real world. And once you believe in the real world, hold on to it, despite what everybody says, I will become real. The dream will be real. And it's up to the men to dream and the women to bring it to life. They nurture it.
Great video. I miss the 80s.
Yeah.
They don't
So I
even
remember
really
that.
make them
It was-
anymore.
It was one day we're on the Yahoo group and we're
Look on the
talking about
website,
this
it's
duality
not-
thing, and I went and I sat there and I went, aha, and I was like, holy shit. And I went to the video and I went, then 30 minutes later that came out.
Nice.
So I mean it's all these little things that just kinda happen, and you realize that they've been telling you the whole time.
So
I mean,
they're
Bugs
basically
Bunny.
Yeah, yeah.
1955.
Yeah.
I use cartoons to teach, because that's where they were telling you, man. You go come as a child. They were telling you, come as a child. In other words, go back to what you remembered as a child, because we already told you. That Lego movie that came out, have y'all seen it?
I heard
Yeah.
it was.
Have y'all seen the Lego movie?
No.
Go see the damn Lego movie.
Listen to the.
It's a 20-pound fish in a face.
Yeah, really.
It tells you exactly what's there.
Listen to what they're saying. It's amazing.
And what it is resistance is futile. Nobody can resist this. It's futile. And I keep on telling you.
Truth comes out of art.
And I look at it, and I'm like, dude, I want to dress up as Borgs to that Lego song, man. Everything is awesome.
Where you got the movie? What was it Inception?
Inception's
Oh,
good.
Inception
But
was
Adjustment Bureau. You got
Adjustment
Inception.
Bureau.
You got,
Adjustment Bureau was
Interstate
excellent.
60. If y'all haven't seen that one yet, I highly recommend that
Fantastic
one.
yeah.
That's a fantastic movie. Stars you wouldn't believe were in it. They
It
never
was
made it
that
to
one.
movie
I
theaters.
forgot that one with.
Really? But it's on Netflix.
But
So
it's Truth, 100%. It's just like, wow, man, this movie was never in theater. That's Kurt Russell, Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox, Gary Oldman.
Really?
It's got the Pink Power Rangers in it.
Which movie is this?
It's Interstate 60.
I've never heard of
I
it.
know, Google it. That's yeah.
Interstate 60.
It's a phenomenal movie, man. It's just
As good
it's
as
another one of those.
as good as
fiction
Back to the
fixes.
Future.
Better.
Actually, yeah, part of it he does go back to the future.
Does anybody?
That's funny because at the beginning where Michael J. Fox is in the movie, he goes back to the future.
That's funny. He does.
And he gets his wish fulfilled.
Does anybody have a specific or particular question? We don't want to keep Boris here all day. But
Not like we're out. I don't think we have anything to do. So.
Well, they got my
How long are you guys
protocol
here for?
On Wednesday morning, early in the morning.
Okay.
So if you guys want to meet for dinner one night or something, or
Yeah.
whatever you
Yeah,
guys
yeah, it'd be
would love to. That'd be great.
I don't
Like I
even
said,
know
if-
yeah, I was going to say if the forecast is decent, I'll throw some shit on the grill and
I can bring some shit.
What do you got, an acre here?
huh?
Acre?
About an acre.
Yeah. I got a lot like this. It looks about the same.
It's been so cold and rainy here. Though,
Yeah, it got nice for a week.
You must live in Michigan, isn't this kind
Yeah,
of
right.
Here you go. This is the 1611 or 1911 Act that abolished the banks, and a little bit what we went over. 28 USC 2041's in there. Gives you an idea of what you should be doing with your court cases. Don't go to your local, go to the district, and then start claiming the securities and stuff that were issued there. If there are no bonds, then there was no claim, because then they're unbonded down at the local level. And if they're not out there fulfilling on an actual bounty contract, then they're falsifying.
Oh, okay. So the local court should have posted the bond.
Yes.
And you said it's not that hard. It's really easy to get any local case moved to a federal.
Well, it's
it'll be district.
it's paperwork. No,
Yeah.
You got what you got to do. Well, for the rules of court for Florida is you take the court and you take everything in the court case and you scan it onto a CD. Then you come with a notice of removal and a notice of filing, and you deposit it into the case you're moving it from, and then deposit the same into the court you're moving it into. And what we did also is, because we had this thing on Monday, we did an emergency hearing. We put a motion for emergency hearing and put a brief in support. So if you have something in the court that's pending, like they're going over something or something has to be done, you have to notify the
Get a look
district
at it
court
fast, yeah.
and get them to do a hearing over it to do an injunction on it. And even though they dismissed it the next day, it still got the desired effects because they talked to the lower courts, and we know they did.
No.
Because of the reactions of the judge and the fact that he was before the same judge Thursday and he wasn't supposed to be before that judge, supposed to be a different one.
It was a whole different atmosphere.
So, I mean,
That's cool.
Unbelievable. He goes, I don't know if he said, he goes, now, any other judge would have put you in
Yeah.
jail. I'm thinking, okay, so now you're
I
being
thought it
nice
was weird
now?
he said something like that
Belts
too.
to the end, right?
But I know in my case, even when it went on for 9 years, that judge protected me the whole way. Every single time. He did nothing but honor and that whole thing. Even though I would sit there, it was funny at times. I would do accept it and take their summons. I'd write accepted on the back of it. I go, here, I accept your offer upon proof of claim, and I look forward to finishing our business next we meet. And I'd sign it and send it back to him. Come the day of the court, I'd walk into the middle of the courtroom and just stand my ass right in the middle of everything. Just like this. And not say a word, just stare at the judge. And all you hear in the background are attorneys doing this. And the judge looks at me, and I would look at him, and we would both smile and shake our heads.
You understand the claim, though, the importance of asking for the claim? Because there's a claim against me.
Right.
I
Me,
mean,
the person.
There's one on the name.
Name,
but
sure.
me-
Me, the person.
Right, and a claim is just a right of performance. Right to enforce a performance of something. And it's never against you. It's always against that person.
Right.
And the person is actually, when you're done with this, will be United States.
And
So
who
now
owns
they're
the
actually-
person?
Now they're actually coming in as a
State.
creditor of the United States.
Get out of the way.
And if they can't, and there are no such things as creditors of the United States, because
Right.
they're all false creditors.
Right.
So the second they come in as a creditor of the United States, it's over. But under the law of agencies, if you go to CG, agency for corpus juris secundum, it also states that once you do a general transfer of property from a principal on the behalf of the creditor who was a signee, the moment the transfer takes place, it renders the agents without authority. Well, when they go in their court cases, it happens at that point because they're all probate. Your reversion takes place at the point of the administration of the estate. So when they go in and you're using it living, but then they go into court and it flips over and turns dead, it automatically, that's a U.S. interest now, and the agents lose their authority. it's over at that point. And that's why we do the reversion. It's just another layer of protection we put in place to prevent anybody from getting injured.
Right.
Get rid of the presumptions.
Because we don't want people, we don't want to continue any injuries. Our job is to stop the battle, not punish the wrongdoers, because that's not your job to do that.
Right.
They were doing their job. They were doing what they were sent here to do, which is make sure that the sons and daughters of God are refined to they're pure, not that there's any impurities left. They've done their job. And that's how I look at it. So I don't get pissed off at what they're doing.
Well, they've
I
done their
understand.
job. We just haven't done ours.
Right, we haven't done ours.
We haven't
Right.
fulfilled our commitment.
They set
Right.
it all
You're
up.
just
Now we
pissed
got to
off yourself.
finish
You
the
don't know
delivery.
yet.
Right.
So-
Right.
And when you watch what is it, Highway 60, Interstate 60, you'll see the delivery and everything. It's kind of
It's a really, really interesting.
it
movie.
really is, man.
Could you add a list to your web there of movies that?
It's on the list.
Is it on there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That
Videos.
website's
I'm still-
very,
I'm still-
recommended
shit.
stuff.
I'm still doing the
Yeah,
videos
some
on
stuff on
YouTube. I've been through them twice.
videos? The
All
ones that-
11 of them.
Colorado.
Way over my
All
head.
the gym-
I'm
the
still
beach
like,
If you go to the website for the articles I wrote up, the first 6 articles I recommend everybody read on the articles section.
yes, I've downloaded all those.
First 6,
Yeah.
those first 6 are key to understanding because it goes over some basics. The website itself is designed to get people to stop thinking get them to start thinking in the military term. Because that's what its focus is on.
Right.
When you go through those, I make everybody go through those first 5 or 6 pages. Everybody goes through them until you get to the advanced one. Then you can bookmark that all you want. But I want to make sure everybody goes through those first pages because those are the first things we've ever done. Those are the foundation of it all.
Now the book, the 600-page book,
What's
you
the
recommend
600-page
the first after trim tab. You go to here's the steps and the download the PDF. It's a book.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 or 3 books. on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
There's
200 or
a
300
few of them that are books.
Yeah.
Those are just for your knowledge. But the Way Out to England Without Fighting Her is an essential one.
Okay.
That'll teach you what the Civil War was all about. By the way,
Okay.
the whole Civil War is based on an economic raping of the country. It had nothing to do with freeing the slaves or anything else. That was just an after
Well,
effect.
it's
We
funny
were
what the
talking
fuck they
about this
teach you.
morning.
Just like
It
the
was-
housing,
it was-
just like
it
the
was-
housing
it was-
bubble.
It was a means to an end. Is what it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still running slavery today in the world.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
still there, and they're just guys that capitalism, whatever they want to
Yeah.
do,
Mhm.
religious fucking caste system, whatever they want to call it. I don't care what they call it. They can justify it any way they want. It's slavery. Done.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting one above another. That's slavery.
Exactly.
You're making somebody else do your bidding that they
But
don't want to do.
the one document out of that book I want everybody to read is the letter 12. It's called the currency question. I call it the carry currency letter.
And what book is that?
It's Way Out to England Without Fighting Her.
Okay.
That's on the site too. I think I actually put the letter 12 up there now instead of the whole book, so you can read that. But there's pages 4 and 5 of that book. I believe there's 2 paragraphs that really just outline everything that has been done and what we have to do. And this is where we went. We found that and found out that it's still the foundation of the banking system. And went, okay, now I know what I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else has just been a discovery of it.
Awesome.
So you've been on this journey now for 9 years,
More than that.
Well, Northern, I was gonna say,
1999.
yeah.
and it sounds like you might have 9 more years.
No, it'll be hot and heavy now.
No.
So for us who are just beginning this journey,
Lucky.
He's already done the labor.
Yeah, he's done
done-
all the legwork.
We just have to catch up to where he's at right now.
Right.
Would it make sense to actually have a I don't know how we would put a real group, I guess to say, or just
It helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Because I mean I was studying this since '99, but only in 6 or 7 years, or 6 years, 5 years, something like that, I've been talking with them.
Mm-hmm.
They found me, they tracked me down. Other than that, I was alone. I was just doing this on my own, and this was just all coming to me because I don't study it. I don't do it. It's
you
just
just
like
work on it as it comes.
I did it. Just like I tell people,
You lived it.
there are times I have Skype recordings where I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, woke up, went on Skype, found a group, said talked for an hour or two, went back to bed, and had no idea what I said.
You're living it.
And it's like it doesn't. Like I said, it just kind of comes to me, It doesn't. I don't control it.
Right.
I just get it out because if I don't get it out, I go nuts.
Sure.
So that's why I found these guys, and they gave me the outlet and saved me from insanity. Because nobody wanted to listen. I was going to Yahoo groups. I was going up. Nobody wanted to listen. I'm like,
They miss your genius. That's what it is.
huh?
They miss your genius.
Almost like an Edward Casey, though. Is
You have to be willing.
almost what it reminds
You
me
got to
of.
be willing to receive it, though.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
You gotta-
saying?
yeah.
Anybody who has an addiction has to first realize they have a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And most of the people in society right now, we have an addiction to federal government programs.
Yes. Yes.
And realizing that and just like you said, there's another way right
Well, they
now.
have addiction to a drug called money.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that is the addiction.
That is the addiction.
We had that conversation the other day. It's just a fucking
Yeah.
addiction. These 1%ers, it's a fucking addiction.
The first thing you have to do is realize that
You know
you
what's
have
funny?
a problem. The second thing you have to do is realize you want to make a change.
You know what's funny is, of all the people in Occupy Wall Street, you know where the value was? Sitting outside on the ground.
Yeah, the people.
The people.
Yep.
They didn't even see it. The
Well,
the
they're
one
being-
percenters in those buildings.
Not a fucking clue.
They're the only reason they're 1%ers is because they understand.
Right.
The other 99% don't. But 99% of the value of the country that was
On the street.
value in that area was sitting on the street.
Yep.
Actually, they were probably sitting there laughing, saying, "Hey, you know, you can sit there and do that, but we got the value controlling over you right now because you're not claiming it,
Yeah, you're not claiming it. And look at you acting
and we're
now.
using it."
I mean, look at what you're acting now. You're acting like little fucking children, little spoiled brats. Why
Minors.
do you think we keep it from you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't proven
It's
to
the
us
ball.
that
It's
you're-
the two children and the ball. And I look at it like, if you have
So you
two
can
children
use
fighting
Solomon's
over a
principle.
ball, what do you do with it? You take the ball and put it on the refrigerator and force them to work together to get it down. And then you end the argument.
or you could use Solomon's principle and cut it in half, and then nobody.
Yeah. Well, he never cut the baby in half. He just threatened to.
Right.
Yeah. He wanted to
And
see
the one
which
that loved
one.
the baby said, "No, don't do that. Give it to her."
You know, it's
I'd rather
also
that.
akin to the little old lady and the businessman. When she gave everything, even though it was very little, he gave 10%, even though it was a lot, who was protected.
She was.
She gave 100%. He only gave 10.
It's all around us. We just got to recognize it.
Yeah. So what
Accept
you
it.
do?
Accept it.
What we're doing
That's the
is
key,
we're
right?
giving, where you give equity to get equity. So if you get 100%, if you give 100% equity, you're going to get 100% equity in return.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to give it. Nobody can give it to you. You have to give it yourself in order to
Right.
get it. So that's what we do with all this. Is we're just claiming it to give it back.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not at all blinded by the money by it. I mean, I hear tell that it's upwards, 30 billion, or 2 trillion, or some numbers like that, and I'm like, okay,
Just zeros.
just zeros. So
Right.
I'll give it all back, and y'all can have it, and
Enjoy
I'll give
it.
it to you, and you just take care of whatever I need, like it's supposed to be, and we'll just go through the Treasury Direct, and whatever I gather, we'll go to all the titles, we'll go to the Treasury. Now you can use those to pay off your loans at the Federal Reserve, and now you can do things the way it's supposed to do. All the people of the country are supposed to go through their treasury, and then the central banks control the international commerce. That's the way
Right.
they wanted it.
Exactly.
But they brought it inland. They brought it down to the people and sold it to everybody else. And now everybody's using Federal
that's
Reserve
just
notes, and everybody's
exactly.
considered an interbank.
They sold it. They sold it.
Sold bullshit.
Yep.
And everybody bought it.
Yep.
What was it? Works done in years ago.
All works are done in blank's name for blank's glory, for if blank receives the benefit, blank also bears the burden or the disadvantage. And if you do those works as if you were to receive it, then I don't give a shit who blank is.
Nice.
That's divine law, written down in one sentence.
Nice.
All right,
That's
let me
the
make
law.
you guys available Tuesday night? It looks like the weather's supposed to be good, sunshine all day and stuff. Why don't you come over about 4 or 5 o'clock? What time can you guys make it?
I'll make it. Well,
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock I can do. I can go.
Right,
Yeah,
let's
5:30 I could shut down a little early, but
Okay, let's say 5.
no problem.
Cranking those wrenches.
You guys make it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a recovering workaholic myself.
I wish I could recover.
Yeah,
I-
but
I-
my
I-
whole
I-
thing is
I-
17
I
years,
can't wait
7 days.
till the
I
information
think
gets
it
down
would
into
work.
to the 18, 19,
Yeah, I got
14,
shit I gotta
13,
get done.
that type of
I'm not
age.
done.
group.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Exactly.
once
It's
they
a
start
sickness,
seeing
brother.
it, then they can be, because
I
they're going
like
to be
it.
the ones that change everything. I ain't
Absolutely.
gonna like shit.
So what do you?
That's like
That's one of the things that keeps
I
me
get
engaged.
54 units.
Not much longer on the
I'm
planet,
down
you
to
know, as
20.
far as productive.
I've got a 12-year-old at home.
So what are your thoughts of documenting this? You know, I created a game, but turning this kind of into a game so
was
the
thinking
13-year-olds would want to learn to play
I think
the game.
if you
called
sat
Monopoly.
down, if we actually sat down and talked to them like they were adults,
They get it. They get it faster.
They would listen. They would
Yep.
appreciate the fact that you recognize the fact that they have a brain.
Right.
And right now, nobody appreciates that fact.
What do you need in your hand?
Remember those days?
That's why all your kids who are getting into trouble now are the smart ones.
Just the dice.
They're bored.
Because they're bored.
Right.
I went
Bored,
through,
I went through it
too.
We all went through.
I was bored in high school
Gotta have
and
it
even
in
in
your hand.
college.
I was bored all the way
I
through
did.
every school.
And nobody
I
listened
could
to us.
do just the minimum
Why don't you buy
to get a C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would find out what was the least amount of effort I would have to do.
Oh no, I was worse than that. I was worse than that. I found the system only and learned it only to game it.
You move it 6 times.
Whatever system I
Now,
was
are you the battleship in the game?
being
No, yeah,
oppressed
I mean,
by, that's all I was. That was my game. Was figure out what system I'm under and how can I game it. Because everything else was boring.
I mean, I did that with teachers. I did that
And
with
you would
systems.
tell them that you were doing that, and they wouldn't listen. Nobody would listen to you. Nothing you said mattered. You know what I mean?
Book home twice.
And then who runs the game of
I didn't go to school my senior year because I took all of my
Yeah, I kinda
classes.
did that thing during.
All in junior year, I had enough to graduate. So they tried to play me, and I said, okay. I took a full schedule. I went in the first day and dropped
Teachers
everything.
after a while say, Greg, you no, let somebody else do it.
Got a job.
Right?
Got a job by I got a promotion by the time I graduated from high school. I already was a foreman at a plant.
Nice.
And I'm like,
If you give a socialist system,
that's how you do it. You know?
Because all you're doing is removing the cost from doing anything.
Where'd they come from?
And now people can do anything. And you give the people the ability to do anything. Anything they want to do, they're going to do the thing they love.
Exactly.
If they
They're
want
not going to
nice-
look for escape.
No.
Because everything out here, everything that's right now in society right now sells escape.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's all they're selling.
Bullshit.
No
Vacations,
meat and
name it.
potatoes.
Everything externally.
The
They're
new
selling it.
Lincoln doesn't matter. It's a fucking
You
escape.
have this, you're good. You do this, you're going to be
Yeah.
pretty. You put this on, you're going to be happy. You go
Yeah.
here, you're going to have a great feel. You're going to feel better
It's all
about it.
bullshit.
All that. But that's all they're selling is
The hospital
escapism.
wrote down the value.
And then, you know, like I said, I talk to these kids.
There's no
You
substance.
get to a certain point, you start listening. But, you know, I can't get to them all the time.
Well, some of the problem is going to be when you go to the kid and tell that if the parents aren't supportive
Person is
of
created
the
by
ideas, the
state,
kid, they can tell
fictitious
this.
entity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't even talk to him.
Yes.
Craziness.
Letters on a piece of paper.
No, but you also have to read it.
Yeah,
Don't listen to
you
them.
gotta have keep
That made me want to listen
It's our
more.
value.
form
Like,
support
that
around
hospital
and
took my
understands it
value,
enough
and they, I
that
don't know
they
what's
say,
in
"No,
it."
yeah,
but
Awareness.
you-
Awareness.
Is it
Awareness.
worth
I put the
marketing
name,
this?
James M, and
What do you
I
mean?
put address,
This,
Providence Hospital, 8 miles.
What do you mean, like
The ideology?
Money?
No, No, this is not about money. I don't want a fucking penny. This isn't about any of that. But if we market it,
I don't know what you want to market it as.
the ideology behind all this, because in some, in order to get a tipping
Here's what I
point,
tell people. I give you all the knowledge, you'll do it how you want with it.
well, I'm looking for a tipping point. Because what we're living right now sucks ass.
Yeah.
Okay, and how do we change that?
You change
I've been
yourself.
changing it by
One person at a time.
in the face.
You change this.
Right.
From inside.
This is
Yes,
done.
yes, I agree.
But you can't mark. What you want to do with it is market it and get it out the campaign.
Why not just spread the word like the Bible
Yeah, but you
said,
got to spread it like this.
Here's how I
rather than market?
You're not going to change them until you show something that they get out of it.
Exactly.
Once you start showing the results, and once you
Right.
start crystallizing out this
Right.
and into this,
Right.
then you're going to get the converts. I'm not worried about people coming over. I'm not worried about this because I am the last refuge of a scoundrel. Everybody comes through this door.
Govern yourself from within. Sure, you'll be governed. So he was saying there's 2 worlds in front of you.
I know
Which
it.
one do you want?
40 what?
I know.
When you get to that point, would you consider going and giving talks?
No.
You remember
No.
the movie?
No, I do these little
Spreading
things
it?
here. I do these little things here.
Oh, you didn't see that at the end where they let him go and
because I'm not out selling it. I'm not here to wake people up. I'm not out here to instruct them on how to do it. I'm just here to give them what I've done.
He went through
And
this thing.
everybody
give this
here-
philosophy of like, look, if you want to wake up, wake
You've
up.
got to do it for yourself.
You gotta do it for yourself. I'm not out here selling
I'm
it. I don't plan on converting other people into it. I don't preach it. I don't even go out and talk to people at bars about it. I'm like, I've already learned my lessons.
What is that?
You know, I get.
That's just frustration.
I get into it so much it blows everybody. It just.
Right.
Our buddy Beach House said it the best. You're like a fire hose. When people just want to drink, you give them a fire hose. I'm like, I can't stop it.
Yeah.
I am that way. If you want to drink, go someone else who can put it in the bottle for you like that. I can't do that. This is what I've done. I just go through
What
it.
is it? Why is it?
And my job is to get through it so I can show others, how to do
What
it.
can be done?
Because one day I went on Skype and they're all like,
So my question
they all,
is,
it was, they're all bitching and moaning. and this going off. And I said, fine, I'm out of here. I'll be back when I'm done. Click.
I'll go through the court system.
And I haven't been on back on 90% of the groups. I have like 4 or 5 people I still talk to. I just got sick of it. I got sick of discussing it every day. I got sick of talking about people who just want to go, yeah, but, and just you know, talk about it into the dirt. And I'm like, dude, if you want to know, go on, fucking do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Because I've already done all this. I already know. I've done it. I went through this. I went through the whole bullshit. I know how to handle. I mean, I have an idea how to handle shrinks. It's becoming predictable in how we do it. And you know, I see how to handle the court cases. And
Shrink is protocol. They learn from
shrink is just protocol. That's it.
Right. Well, I kind of see it the visual as humanity's on the other side of the wall, and you want to bring them over on this side. There's a doorway, just a single doorway that one person can come through at a time,
Right.
and nobody can walk you through it. You have to walk through it yourself.
Right. That's the only way. Like I tell a lot of people, I can talk to you 24 hours a day. I can write all your letter, all your paperwork, 365 days a year for 10 years.
Don't understand it.
If you go, but I'm not the one who's going to go perform it.
Right.
I can't make you perform.
Gave it to the state to hold.
I can't do that. I'm not a string puller. You know, like that Verizon commercial. Verizon
Yeah, right.
Still fucks with me. That's an insane commercial.
It is bizarre.
Each and every woman has strings attached, and so does the children. Then you're not going to be free. And it's just a horrible commercial.
There's 2 of them, so that's
it freaks me out every time. And the wife that's pouring the liquor is like a useless bubonic bitch. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like,
You almost wonder if that in the credits if the CIA was there.
Yeah, right.
like, wow. That commercial.
Well, yeah, wait until you get that article, by the way.
Oh, the CIA?
Take the check and get the coat that has the value on it, and now you're warm out in the cold.
All those things you heard.
Things we didn't finish doing.
Thank you very much.
I wish I was more up
the
to
delivery
speed
and
on
the
it
things you
myself.
went
Well,
through.
I don't
It was a guy,
It's
you know,
just
catch
phenomenal.
the.
I don't expect people to because a
Just
lot of this is
fantastic.
a lot of, like I said, a
I
lot of
knew
stuff
there
come
were
from me and
some
channel.
huge gaps.
It feels like I'm
The more
channeling it, and it just
grown
kind of flows through, and I'm like, and I just have to keep up.
Yeah.
And if I don't keep up, then I go, then it
Well,
drives me
when I
insane.
wrote you, I kind of envisioned 3 or 4 months down the road, and I thought I could get these guys up to speed with the videos and your materials and stuff. So when you called me a few days later, said I'm going to be up there
I
next
have
week.
so much stuff on the Kennedy
Holy shit!
But let me tell you, being a virgin at this and having watched the videos and done a slightly bit of reading and realizing how far over my head it is, listening to you today
And if these people are getting
refired what I want to learn. I'm going back and I'm going to now understand a whole lot more. So it did help.
All you're really doing is everything you've learned
They
from
have
all
a job to
Patriot
do.
groups
They're
still applies
workers
here.
there,
You're just
and they have
turning it
to
around
learn
and
now.
switching it over the
I have to get through
Yep.
them.
They were just
to get
looking
to
at
the
it
other
through
side
what
to
was
where I'm
taken
doing
from
God's
it.
will.
I'm like, no.
You haven't asked for it yet.
Right. Look what was given to you. Look what was put into place before you start judging it. Learn the, I mean, you talk to these guys and it's like, do you even understand the operation of your own damn
Whatever the
country?
aftermath is behind me, that you
No.
No, I sure as hell didn't.
Now you're
No.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't.
And I mean, I've been listening to that. I'm halfway through that Jefferson Art War, and actually,
You don't need to be
these were actually his memoirs,
See,
and how,
because you learn in
and
here,
it's
you
just
govern
amazing
yourself within, and
what actually
it'll
was going
send
on.
it
It's
on
like
the
you're
300th
saying,
anniversary of Jamestown.
not to actually really read their,
First
listen to
settlement.
it, because I'm listening to it.
Why did they
Listen to
make
their
it
own
so
words and actually what was going on. It's like exactly what you're saying.
You don't
Boston Tea Party and all this other stuff, exactly what it was for and what it happened for, is not really. It's just like Lincoln.
History
It
is
wasn't
not.
about slavery. That was it. The slavery issue Lincoln had to do to get to win the war. That's the only way he was going to win the war, by to throw in the slavery issue. If he did do that,
And they even, in actuality, the United States actually lost the war.
Yes.
Yeah.
They lost that, and they had to put everything in the trust. The Emancipation Proclamation is a trust. It's governed by the Lieber Code, and it's now been taken internationally under the Hagues and the Genevas and everything else. But it's actually the Declaration of Independence on an international.
And the reason they lost, because the book I'm listening to right now is George Washington. They're reevaluating his art of war, basically what he did, his strategy, and really it comes back to the old
Yeah,
British times and how the war was fought.
let me buzz you
If
back
you
here in a minute.
won
I'm
the
in a meeting,
war,
and I'll call you back.
if you won the confrontation, because it took so much time and so much money to raise an army, even if you won, but your losses were catastrophic, you lost. Because you couldn't replace your army, and that's exactly what happened in the Civil War. Our losses on both sides were so catastrophic internally. One side won, the other one we lost. We as a country lost.
It's just a good thing that
What they actually did is they put the whole notion of the nation, the declaration,
And they had the
that
chip
thing
that
was
they
put
were
in
going
the
to sell to
trust,
China.
and that's now that's an international trust that all that everything was, that all nations are bound to protect. Because that's where every man has the right to go in and be a king without bowing down to
It's
someone.
Adjustment Bureau.
Right.
Remember?
Well, it's a good thing that we weren't attacked
Adjusting this whole thing.
directly after the Civil
You'll see
War.
it.
Oh, no,
that's why we
Everybody
brought Russia in.
in the
Yes,
thing will be
that's
like
exactly
this.
what
Because had we had to stand on our own 2 feet, we would be not. We would be somebody.
All right, then they go.
Yes,
Oh, it's
that's
just,
right.
dude. It's
That's-
like.
Where
That's
did we get
you've been
Alaska
around it.
from?
You don't
We
realize
got
that
Alaska
everything's being
from
adjusted.
Russia. The reason we got Alaska was
was getting
for
rid of
the
the Federal Reserve. They
payment
needed
of
that in
services
place.
from the
Right,
Russian
Because they
Navy.
can't appropriate it
And he wasn't
legally
looking
through
the
the
way
Constitution,
they
so
were.
they had
Yes.
to do it through
So that's how he did
actual
it.
lands.
So the Russian Navy
then
was sitting off our
first time
East
I
Coast
heard
and
the,
West Coast while we were
from
resolving our
everything's examining
issues.
all the question, no one-
And Lincoln didn't have the authority to pay for them, but he had the authority to make a purchase.
Right.
So he purchased.
They didn't
Russia
want
didn't
him
want Alaska.
Waking people up.
He authorized the purchase of Alaska for X amount of dollars. So the Tsar, who at that
But see,
time
we're
was
going-
favorable
we're
to
not
the United
out there
States.
pushing it. We're
Well,
not out
was-
there
yeah,
selling
the
it.
United States.
If you- like,
Russia-
hey,
Russia is
all
one of
they
the
do,
oldest
they come up,
allies we have.
we don't
I
charge
know.
before
Is
they
that
went
crazy or
You
what?
never know it.
And you never know
use
today.
this
No,
No.
before they went dark in 53.
You don't charge.
Wasn't it 52? When
No, I thought it was in the 40s.
Or was it when the Tsar? The next
What
They
do
were
you
Tsar-
taking over Germany.
I don't
No, no,
think
no.
it makes the law.
World War II, actually, it happened.
No, the Tsar got
Bolsheviks.
killed. No, it happened
The
before that.
Bolshevik Revolution was
Yes, the
basically
Bolshevik.
the downfall of it all.
Yeah,
Right.
they came in.
After they ran out, was it Nicholas?
Nicholas.
Well,
Nicholas.
they ran him out, but then they came and they killed his whole family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They ran him out and killed his whole family,
Family.
and
That
that
was
was
it.
the downfall of Russia.
Right.
He was
What
the
year
last
is
And
that?
right now, it appears if what I think is going on is right that Putin is the next rise of Russia.
Yeah.
Is spearheading that. So whatever is going on over there is all pointing towards the destruction of Israel and fulfillment of prophecy.
Yes.
All of it.
Yep. Yeah, that I believe.
And that's what we have to
That I
stop. And that's basically, I
That's
believe
all
that
bad.
that's all man-made bullshit.
Yep.
That's all bullshit, or just working it behind the scenes.
Because
And
this-
the world will be spared as long as we can do what we do. We won't have to go through that because we don't want to go through another. We don't want to go through another world war.
No.
Not one of the caliber they're planning.
No. And that's the problem.
That's a 95% population reduction. That's
Yep.
going to be nasty, ugly.
Georgia Guidestones.
There you go.
That's going to be horrible. You thought Ellsworth, you thought, oh man,
Yeah.
you know, it ain't going to be the amount of
Because,
chocolate in this one.
That's the problem. That's what they're planning.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
what's
problem.
left will be slaves?
Yep.
Oh, it goes back to the old European style. You have kings with
Feudals, all
servants.
this shit.
Well,
No,
you
the
have
people
not-
that survived the war, we will all be slaves.
No,
To the
kings.
kings. To the kings.
Yes. Well, they'll be lords. They'll be lords. Then they'll be the
well, they'll
peasants.
be considered gods.
They say
in
the
their own
people
eyes.
inherit the earth, right?
Well, they'll have all the technologies they've been hiding this whole time, and then
Oh, yeah.
they'll be like kings in the eyes of the people who are,
Yeah.
who are suffering, and then the people will continue to suffer, and they'll just go back.
Well,
to
it
being
goes back
Gods.
to it goes back to the underlining philosophy of Stargate.
Right.
Ancient Egyptians, they thought they were gods, but they just really had overlying technology. I mean, it's like you said, you can learn a lot from movies as you freaking
Yes.
listen to them because they've been throwing out stuff. It's just like in the last Captain America thing.
Yeah.
They made a reference to Operation Paperclip.
Yeah.
They just declassified. That's the book
Yeah.
I just finished. I gave to
Yeah.
Ron.
We just
What
talked
is
about
that
that this
without
morning
labor
at
for
breakfast.
our firm?
Operation Paperclip.
No, he's got the book right now.
Great
Oh.
book.
No,
Great
it's-
fucking book.
It's a real.
I'm only on the second CD, and I'm like,
No, it's there's.
Oh,
blown
you
away.
listen?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, I gotta see
I
it.
gotta
See
do
it.
that too. I'm a lousy
Borders
reader.
Borders had it on
Hate reading.
clearance. Or not Borders. Barnes and Noble had it on clearance for $20.
Ooh, I'll have to go check it out.
Paperclip, it's called.
Operation Paperclip.
Operation Paperclip.
These
The
are all
Nazis
declassified.
escaped Europe through the Vatican.
Yeah, I saw
No,
that.
They didn't escape.
Well,
There was no escape, and
They
they
got
were
locked.
actively recruited by the American government.
Yeah,
To go to,
exactly, but they went through. They went through the
Argentina.
Vatican. No,
No, they didn't.
They all ended
No,
up
we-
in
we-
Argentina.
No, that was the real Germans. They planned their own escape.
Yeah.
The U.S. government took almost 1,000 Nazi scientists
1,300.
1,300.
The final total at the end that you don't have yet is like 895
And we put them
scientists
down in the basement working on all our high tech stuff, right?
Fort Bragg and Fort Benning and a lot of other.
And we're the flying saucers, right?
So World War.
No, they don't talk about that at all.
Well, what
That's
was
a
the
different
result of
program.
World War II? What was the final? What was the result of it? Israel became a country, right?
That didn't happen until 63.
Yeah.
No, 48.
They didn't talk about that at
48.
all.
Well,
48? I thought it was 63.
48.
48.
No,
Was it
48 sounds
ratified in
right.
63? What the hell was it
No,
in 63?
60. I don't know what was going on in
No,
63.
the end result of the World War II was the final punishment for the Germanic tribes for their transgressions back 300 years ago.
But not only that
Yeah.
though, that
Germanic
Israel.
tribes back 300 years ago end up becoming barbarians by barbarious in the eyes of the rest of the world, because what they would do is they would invite people over
And kill
and
them.
give them hospitality and then kill them.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's right there in the Law of Nations. They go right. They go
That
right.
sounds
into
like
it.
the season finale of Walking Dead.
Now,
no shit.
now a technology I'm interested in finding out about, the Bell Tower that the German Nazis made
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
supposed to be a time traveling device.
They didn't talk about that one.
They don't talk about that one?
No, they talked about
Because it's stolen from the idea from Tibet, where they go and they meditate inside,
And it
and
raises it.
they go into the transcendental state and travel,
That's
right?
the wormhole.
Well,
To me, that's the wormhole. My
Yeah, yeah.
My understanding is
break
they don't
through
have
here.
Arizona
It's
has
in
no
here.
Well, it makes sense to me.
places that you could
Yeah,
drive.
but they had that we found where they were making it, but we never found the craft. We never found anything to do
But
with
it's
it.
not a craft.
Right.
It's yourself.
It is yourself.
It is yourself.
You can leave yourself.
We're so
Every
out of
sentient,
whack
every
now,
sentient
though.
species
We're so
you'll
out of
ever
whack,
encounter
though.
has the ability to develop that within their own mind.
There is. What's
And
the
what you
name
do
of
is
that
you
drug?
deprive yourself from all the senses.
DDT.
So you cease
DDT.
judging your
DHT.
environment
No.
based on
DHT.
around you.
DHT.
DHT.
DMT.
And
Some
what it
D
is
something.
your
That's what
brain,
I'm saying.
produces
Really?
a
Crazy
chemical
shit?
that can induce hallucinations. But those
I've seen a couple
hallucinations
docs on it,
Can
man. I'm
also
like,
be controlled, and you can actually teleport.
Our buddy got some, man, and it was.
How
That's just advanced. That's you got to
Yeah.
train yourself
Really?
to do it.
It's a lot of
But it's
deep.
not a craft that can do it. Technology cannot take you back and forth in time.
He wants to know about
It's the brain,
DMT.
it's the mind, it's yourself that can do that. Because you're a being that can go infinite forward and backwards. Time is not linear either.
Yeah, because
It's a circular.
That's how
That
the
goes
Bible
back to
people
Einstein's
were,
theory of
the
time
age of
travel,
200
because the
years,
body,
they didn't
all
say
mass
they-
is
they-
approaching
they
the speed of
said
light.
they
Speed of
said
light
somewhere
needs to
else.
be
Yeah,
so it has to be no mass.
You have to go at the speed of light to be able to reach time travel, but Einstein proved through his calculations that as mass produces the speed of light, it becomes infinitely
Infinite.
weighted, so you can never.
you can never go that fast.
But like he's saying,
That's
your
a
mind
consciousness.
has no
Yep.
mass.
You have the
associated with it.
physics don't apply to the
Look at-
to the body.
Exactly.
itself.
Perfect example is
exactly.
hockey. Perfect example is hockey. This guy in his fucking documentaries, the things that he does, the first thing he says, he's stuck in his wheelchair, he can't move, can't talk, can't do shit, can't wipe his ass, can't do nothing, but he's completely free. Where does he come up with that? He is completely free. He is a completely free human being. How does he come up with that?
His mind.
It's in his head.
Right, he can transport.
I mean,
I've had
that's
the most-
that speaks volumes to me, man. That's crazy.
Coming
where it's
out
all
of
at.
laughing gas, I've had the same repeated experience now for about 4 or 5 years, and it's as if I could pick my universe
Yeah.
as I come out of laughing gas. And one time it was almost as if I could pick a spot where there was nothing, and I could have chosen not to come back out. But it's something that's happened continuously. And I talked to my doctor about it, the mom, and because I've been going to the same place for years. And the last time I was in there, the doctor did the work on me instead of her assistant, and she described her husband having the exact same experience that I've been having. Her husband's been having the exact, and he's into actually self-development. It's interesting the parallels
Sure.
in our psyche for us to have the exact same experience coming out of being
Well,
a
we're
nitrous.
so ignorant as a species to ourselves. It's just
Yeah, we just been dumbed down. I think what it
Yes.
was is something came here to interfere with our growth and development. We've been under siege ever since.
Yes, I
However
agree
long
with
ago it happened, don't know. How long it's been going on, don't care.
Right.
All I know is it's time to stop it.
amen to that.
Because if not, we're gonna keep going through these bullshit cycles.
Just gotta quit getting angry. That's the only thing I gotta figure that out, man. Somehow I gotta figure that out because I get pissed.
I figure that
I
You?
get pissed.
Well, you think you're the only one? Are you
No, I
kidding?
know I'm not, dude. Fuck, I'm not gonna be that vain.
Gandhi.
Just get tried.
I got
just
no
drive me
patience,
crazy.
man. It's just, and I get like.
Turn the other
I don't
cheek.
know.
I just can't stand seeing bad shit happen to people I know are good people for the reasons that
That's-
they're happening.
That's
It
the
just
lack
drives
of
me
knowledge, man.
It is.
It's
It
the
really
lack of
is.
knowledge.
And you can only point them in the right direction.
No,
You can't-
absolutely.
You can't make them do it.
Absolutely.
You're right, man.
So I can do-
You know, there's a lot of things we
That's what you
introduce to
gotta
people, and they're like, "Oh no, because I did this other thing, and I don't." You know, this guy's getting his household. I said, "Let's do it exactly what I did. Put the letter and everything." Oh, I don't know. I did those 1099s, and I just finally got out of that. I'm like, "What's this got to do with that?"
Right. That's all you can do is try.
Yeah.
That's what I do, man. Give me
That's
something,
what we
because
do.
I'll do it.
Right.
We can sit here and talk about it for 6-7 months or something like that.
We don't
Or
do
can
that.
talk
We
about it for
apply
6 or
it,
7
baby.
minutes and just do it.
We
Do
apply
it.
the
And that's what we
pitch,
do.
man.
We talk about 6. Okay, that's what
Let's
we're
do
gonna
it.
Let's
Yeah.
Let's do it.
See what happens.
do it.
Yeah, nothing gets done until it's done.
That's right. That's why we know. That's why we do things. We've done.
Everybody's always looking for an end, but nobody wants to
You know,
start.
when I went in
Yeah,
that
we've done a
federal
lot of-
court, did
lot
that
of
Article
trial
168,
and error.
Clause 17, and walked out of there, I'm like, you know, 2 years later, I'm driving, and I'm like, most people get 3 years for that. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, it's just, you start on it like, wow, man, luckily I met this guy, said, here's what you're going to do. I sat there for 2 days and memorized it, and it just went up. That's all I said.
Right.
That's all I said. I questioned jurisdiction, and they go, oops, I guess we
when I
don't.
questioned jurisdiction in my federal, they went to incompetence.
Yeah. That's to protect them, though.
Yeah,
That was
because-
protect
because
them
what
from
I
your
did is I put
federal
I put a little counterclaim in there, and it just was pretty heavy on showing them what they were doing. And I said,
Accusatory.
Yeah, accusatory. It was very accusatory.
Not you.
But, but then when we went up to the jurisdiction issue, they went right into incompetence.
Yeah.
It was like, if they're going to go where I'm confident, then I'll be like, all right, fine. Then I have this Treasury Direct account, and I have this, and you're the trustee of it. Go take care of it. It's all set up now. Everything we got is all in place.
Right.
They gave me 90 days, and this is what we did with it.
You plugged in, baby.
Yeah.
Plugged
Even
in.
if they
They
award
gave
you-
him an extra month. He pulled a continuance out of his ass one day, so we didn't have to go to trial. And then the next month is where we found out
Put everything
about the
together.
semen suit and everything else. We put everything together. They gave me a month. Okay, that's what we did with the month.
Awesome.
I went up there. They didn't answer one thing. You know, he's like, well, you know, we're going to go to jury, you know, selection on Monday. I'm like, wait a minute. I haven't received anything from them. Not a word from them. He looks over at the prosecutor. I said, I need a continuance on it. Otherwise, thank God, because that extra 30 days.
Right.
I'm sure that judge is saying, why did I give him that continuance?
I mean, you give me a little bit of time, I'll figure out what to do.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for years now, and you know, as long as the people I do it for just listen and we get it in there, you know, like Dave, God, can't do it for him no more.
Yeah, some people just, you know, there's some people that you give them a book and they can memorize that thing, but you give them abstract thinking and they can't do it.
No.
They cannot
They
abstract.
can't think outside the box.
Right.
That's the only way.
Well,
I never read directions. I
Right.
just grab it and I start going,
That's-
don't make me, that's you, exactly. I don't read directions.
Right.
I'm looking at it, I'm like,
I don't want to see the directions. Because I don't want to see that. I want to see why. I don't care how. I want to see why.
Yeah.
What's that? Why does
Why,
it do this?
exactly.
What's the why? Why? I'm always asking why.
how did we get here?
Right.
How did we get here? That I got a judge that can do whatever he wants with this thing.
Right.
What did I do? How did I sign? Did I sign something? That's where I've come from. I'm like,
Oh,
you know,
cold.
what the hell's going on?
Amazing.
Yeah, so.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for your time, Boris.
Oh, you're all welcome.
Yeah, by all means.
That's all I got. You know,
Something happened.